one. Right. All or nothing is like pick up portrait. All or nothing. All or nothing demon CEO. What the fuck? Okay, okay. All or nothing. That sounds so evil though. The forbidden all or nothing CEO, that would make sense grammatically speaking. Oh, it's forbidden, just forbidden one. All or nothing, the forbidden demon CEO. I don't know if I want forbidden.
Hello everyone. We have a lot of stuff going on. Today is a Maxx ADHD stream. You're probably wondering, San, what does that mean? What could this possibly mean? What are we doing today? We're going to have Duel live playing as I do some kind of productivity in the background as we're live reacting to this video. Chat, today is Maxx ADHD. How are we doing? Before we start you know what? Let's start a little bit of the ADHD first. I think what we have to do is we're gonna have to mute Macedor. Unless you'll also want to hear Macedor at the same time as the Knots talking. At the same time as me talking. Look, I don't want the flame to be stuck on Kevin, okay? I would rather it be like, I think... It's all in this video. Also, like, I'm pretty sure they edited it down to, like, a video, but... Is this the right video? Wait, this is 4 weeks ago. This isn't the right video. We need to watch this one. Pause, chat. We're not even on the right video. We're so doomed. Okay, 5 days ago. Now, this is the right video. You forgot it had good music? Okay, well... Okay, it's gonna take a bit for Swole to show up. So as Macedor plays in the background, let me say hello to everyone. How is everyone doing? LDS fam, congrats on first. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Phoenix. 1 second too late, perhaps. Hello, Krishanti. Hello, Twami. Hello, Hello, Julio. Hello, Frostbite. So, you're probably wondering, Stan, what are we reacting to? Well, we have 3 hours worth of content to react to. It's going to be a long react to the react. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh. Kind of loud? Is it too loud? Chat, tell me if it's too loud. Tell me if it's too loud. Yeah, we're reacting to a podcast. Exactly. This is exactly what y'all want. Y'all want me reacting to a podcast. Shout out, Soul. But yeah, how's the volume? I know no one's talking yet, but like this background music, you know. Like, he's gonna start talking soon. Opinions, thoughts. So I have stuff to do in the background too. Oh my god, did he stop the music or did my video stop playing? He's trolling me! I'm being actively trolled! Oh my god. I will never forgive him. How was my day? My day was great. Today's gonna be a good day, chat. We have lots of productivity. Let's bump this up to 250. So y'all can read our to-do list. Not that y'all can read, because you're card game players, but like, you know. Hello, Bushin. You can read, you can swear, you can... You know, LDS always has the fams up in the background. I believe him. I would try to do that, but with my interwebs going on, you know, I don't wanna risk it. Bushin, thank you for the 24 months. How has it been, Bushin? This is Maxx ADHD. Less than 3? Wake your heart, Kevin. What did Kevin do this time? No, we're not bringing this up. We're not bringing this up. It's fine. Look, I think Swole and Caleb are in this one. Okay, we might need to skip ahead. Swole, you're starting... Okay, wait, he's coming. Wait, he's on his way, chat. He's on his way. Surely he'll be here soon. Surely. Bozo keeps changing the music. Bozo keeps changing the music. Oh, pause. He's here. Look, chat. Look, we're reacting to the video. Okay, wait, pause. Is he too loud? Chat, opinions. Is he too loud? How is the audio balance? Because we also have Master Duel going on. You saw his video? Which video? I'm gonna be honest, I haven't watched any videos in the past week. Okay, no one said that he was too loud, so we're gonna go back to the video.
Hello. Listen, I'm looking a little rough. It's a little early for me for some reason.
Hello,
Mr. You
Mr.
can't tell, I literally just got out of bed. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hello, how's it going? Hello, everyone here. Morning, Swole. What's going on? Cobalt, let's go.
Okay, Swole's gonna say hi to people for like 5 minutes, but he might be a little quiet.
Good morning. So, apparently, Soren, hello. There's a ban list today.
Okay, well, we'll bump him up a little bit, but like, we're reacting to the video, right?
So, okay, there's a little bit of things to do.
So here's the thing. So while he's talking, listen to me. I was going to pause
first
and react to everything they say, but this is a 3-hour-long video, and I don't think we have time for that.
Big thing and big change from the last event to this event was,
I don't think we have time for that.
Being back. Equilinks to 3, Kinleo being the 3 were pretty big. This ban list they released.
Oh yeah, no, I did hear about that. He's been trying to talk to SLP.
It was interesting.
I hope he finds something for his
most powerful celestials in history. Format and deck warping and deck build it warping for all players. It also, in a lot of ways, didn't change a whole lot. There's a lot of top decks that were still very similar, still very much the same. And like many things, you try to change something, and maybe things don't change at all. Wooly, Blizz,
this is a true statement.
Had a super high representation. Shoutouts to Gwen, to Cobalt, and of course to the winner Adam.
Shoutouts my horse Adam. Shoutouts Penthouse. So if you want to know, chat, in Alestro's we recently had a very unexpected ban.
It was
which resulted in a second emergency ban list.
And
you're probably wondering, well, Santa, why would there be a second?
What can this list have now?
Thank you for the call. You're probably wondering, Santa, what would cause this ban?
The preview in the picture has Like a Void in it.
What could possibly cause an emergency ban list?
Is on suspect.
Well, because the first one just wasn't good enough.
What's going on, champ? Good to see you.
Good to see you, chat. Let's say hi, Adam. Congratulations, Adam.
Hello.
That's Michael. That's my horse.
Huge. I don't know what to expect here on this one. A couple things.
It is. It really is a second emergency ban list to get to. Hello, DSC. Hello, Elmo.
I guess
we did ban little guys. Like, all we ever do is ban. Oh no, not the advertisements. I can't skip these.
You have to
oh my god, this duel was like 10 minutes long.
A lot of the top list.
Holy.
Frost, big suspect on it. We've seen
big suspect.
So much Frost.
I agree. In my opinion, chat, they didn't hit Frost enough. They needed to hit Frost even more than they did.
Is Iwooly? Is Blizztrix? What do we?
But don't worry, chat. This is about the newest updated ban list. So surely Frost is getting it.
Lockdown didn't really convert. It wasn't really doing a whole lot, but it is the most.
Hello, Bo. How are you, Bo? You heard the E ban list was taken back from a previous ban list.
Do we hit?
Yes, this
solar?
is true. This is true.
People saying solar is still good, but solar is still not doing well.
The people have spoken,
right?
and the
That's
people
kind of
had
the big
said,
thing, is that
Alestros,
we
please,
just have a lot
please,
to
please,
when it comes to the ban list and when it comes
ban
to
one of these
what,
cards. That you
potentially
will
can
find
be
out
adjusted.
in this video
And that's the weird
when we
part
get
for
to
me
it
is
in
when I sit
3
here and think about
hours.
This list.
3
this upcoming list.
hours. So y'all gonna
like,
have
what
to hang
is-
out
Like,
in the
what can
meantime.
we do?
Max
Like, we're going
ADHD,
back to Jodeci.
pause.
What can we do? What can I say?
What can you say, Swole?
Yeah, let me hop on with the other astronauts. Everyone say hi, Josh, hi, Caleb.
Hi,
Let me-
Josh. Hi,
just in case they pop
Caleb.
in and they're like,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
so anyways,
chat,
let me
it's
just-
gonna be Josh. Let me update this text. Let me
Probably
update
give me
this
a moment.
text.
They're you guys won't be able to hear
What did
them.
I want this text to say? Wait, I wanted this to say something.
Hello.
Swole, you're distracting me.
Hi.
What did I want this
I muted
to
y'all
say?
on. That way I didn't pop in and y'all said something like, we have to kill. Oh, let's go. Best card game. Tight. All right, let me unmute y'all real quick. All right, say hi to everyone. Hi.
Hi everyone. Hi to everyone.
Hi
Play
to
with
everyone.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
there we go.
Like,
Like,
actually,
clearly this text in the
that
top
one's our
will like
our iPad baby time.
will tell people what we're
Exactly.
doing.
I
I
don't-
feel like I
don't
had
remember
something
for the,
else I wanted to
well,
put
I
in
think it
the
was, like,
bottom
first
here.
Bandless React we did. I did a little like virtual cam for my webcam, and in the corner I had what was it?
Oh,
Nubby's
she's
number
sorry if we're
tracker.
not remembering it. It's not important, right?
A live Nubby reaction because I was just playing.
Oh,
that
this is
over here.
unfortunate. Y'all can't see when Josh
Eliminate
is
together
talking.
strong, true,
Like,
very
okay,
true.
pay attention to the
Um,
foodies in the corner.
Let me
Josh
pop
will
over to the
occasionally
Duel scene real
talk.
quick. We have some
Y'all can't
shenanigans.
see it, but I promise. I promise
so-
it matters.
Ban list, I guess.
list.
Kind of neat. I don't know. It's
So they were
strange.
reacting to this video
Um,
live when it
What were
came
they?
out.
What were they thinking?
There was a banless announcement video, chat.
I don't think they were thinking a whole lot, quite frankly.
So this is the old
Are
one.
you talking like the old one or like?
I guess both.
One?
Like I guess both, because like the
Thank
old
you for
one,
the head
I
tats,
think,
Boo.
and I actually was not that big of a not fan, I guess, of the
You wanted
old
to
one.
say ban Maxx
like
C
Void was
fun.
format warping.
If I don't remember, it
still
wasn't
is.
important.
But I feel like the other changes were
Ooh.
pretty good. The big thing that I know that people were saying is that they omitted a lot from this list, or they had some.
We
things
have
they
to
declined.
plan a layout. We
Uh,
have to
But
plan a
it
layout.
didn't change anything. Like it brought in some stuff, but it like the format as we saw from the last tournament, like Frost still cleaned house.
Yeah.
They just didn't actually hit it meaningfully.
So I think that also has a lot to do with like Void's returning.
You're probably
like,
going
if
to
I had
say,
a nickel for
Dan.
every time that Blistrix won an event when like a Void was legal, I'd have 2 nickels. And
Josh is so real for that. You're probably
Ridiculous.
wondering,
but, like,
Sam, what are we
one of the reasons that
We
like,
are
I even
planning
brought
a
Blistrix and
layout.
Firestorm when like a Void was
Plus-
around because I just
plus
didn't
the
want to
plus.
deal with it.
We have
So,
to
like,
plan
that's
the
real.
layout
It-
while
it's
we're
a great
reacting.
way of dealing with the 6 is just putting up a bunch of 7s or higher.
This is true.
6, 7.
So I'm not entirely like surprised at Frost's representation because
What if they
of how
limit
well it
Maxx
does
C in the
with Lyca Void.
TCG?
It kind of
I mean, isn't it already at 1 in the OCT or something?
Yeah, thank you, Adam. I'm glad you agree.
I was gonna say, I literally was gonna say, I
That's
was
a
doing
lot of
my
numbers.
research
Thank
because
you
I'm
for
pretty
this
sure that
candy.
Adam said almost exactly that as to
So
why they
basically, to
placed
catch
Liz
y'all
on
up on what's happening
Yeah,
with
a
Alessio,
champion
like,
champion connection, really.
Yeah, it's really
there was an
weird
emergency
'cause,
ban list.
I know I only got to hop in for like 10 minutes for the last ban list, and I'm finally here for this
You're
one.
probably wondering, San,
But I
San,
do
what is
think
this
that,
emergency
like,
ban
when
list
coming back
about?
was the problem, even if people
It's
don't
already
think that
banned in
it's
the
that big of an issue. When a
Thank you
singular
for-
card warps deck building so much,
Yeah, preach,
that
George, preach.
doesn't mean that it's healthy or okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to go
Yeah, I
to
can see
collect
that. That's kind of like
and grab the
I
card,
think
so y'all
with
know what I'm
the-
talking about.
in regards to the other changes in the list. Like obviously race, we didn't see race really do anything.
So
Tadflow and Tadpuff I think were good. I'm not the biggest fan of limiting stuff like this. I just like a ban. Like
there
it's
is
too- just
a
take it out back.
card.
Bat I think was maybe my favorite hit on here because it was like addressing a.
This is
similar
like
to
a
the
void
Unk limit,
champion of Autumn.
R.I.P. Unk. It's like.
Like a
you
void
have
champion of
play
Autumn
pattern that you're changing
reads.
that has
Chat.
tangible
It
results
reads. When
with
you
how the
cast
deck would
this
like to
like a
play.
void,
I don't
aka
think
when
that
you like
changed
play it,
enough
when you summon it,
about
right?
how the deck played.
You can special
more
cast
process
any
really
number of
crazy,
rare
even-
pup from your
even with
deck
that at
with
one,
Lunar
but, like,
Suppress.
Equilinx and Kinleo.
That's not really important. Just
But do
read
you
that
think,
you
like,
can
that
cast
Like a Void
any number
box
of
has
another
cards
card from your
regardless?
deck. The second
the
part
other
of the
thing is
effect
partially
really
both
doesn't
boxing
matter. It does a
and
cute little kind of like
improving their power at
DPE
the same
thing,
time.
but
Yeah.
I thought it was really strange.
it
that
can
a lot
pop
of
a guy.
builds that were
The
talking
more
about cards
important
weren't
thing
like a void.
is this card
thought it
says
was really
summon
strange.
me
That-
and summon as many other bodies
Yeah.
from your deck
Like, people just don't wanna play
that
something
are
that sucks
legal.
to play.
Yeah, I'm with.
What,
That's
Void
like the
had
bow
what,
thing, right?
40% representation?
Yeah, it was to
So,
look at
you
the
know,
the stats,
really
it
that's
was
a little bit of a problem.
40%
Like
of the decks
that.
total.
Y'all can see how
played
this
the
is a
Werewolf.
problem, right?
1% extra played
Chat,
the
you
Werewolf,
can
and
read a
seen
card,
like-
right? You can read
Yeah.
a card at any number.
And I'm curious.
At any
for some
number,
people
chat.
that
Y'all
didn't
can,
play, like,
right,
Void out of
right.
principle,
It's not just
like,
me, right?
I
Y'all can
had
read
one of
this
those
card and
had I
see
played
why
the
it's a
event.
problem.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, in
Summon
some
from deck
capacity, I
is
think
always
that,
a good card.
like,
I agree.
Like a Void was both the best and worst thing about the deck that I was playing Lakagon with or like
How many rare pups can you have? So fun
with the Void
little
engine, and it was
thing.
good. My build was
Interesting little
very
thing.
rudimentary.
Alestios
Trevor and I played
has
together,
this
like, the night
thing
before, and we're like, all right, let's run.
Called titles. You
And
see
it's
how
like,
this
I
says
think
like
with
a
even some
void
refinement,
champion
the deck
of
is scary. The deck
Artemis.
is good, but
This is
the
a
worst thing
really
that you could be doing
important
was like
fact.
Void. Which sucks to say because that also means that like
Now,
I just
this
quote,
is
unquote,
like a
had this
void
mandatory
champion
deck
of
inclusion
Artemis.
to make the deck weaker, but also it's,
There was
it's
also
sometimes it
like a
matters,
void,
it
which
was
is
in the
functionally
tournament
a
every single
different
time it dropped.
card. It has a
Um,
completely
Perky,
different
even I had a round
effect.
against
And
Perky
for
where
the rules of
Perky
the
went
game,
where pup set 3.
because
It's like,
one of these
alright,
has a
well,
title,
this is our
you
game.
can legally
or-
run
and then pass
both
back to me,
equal
I go
to
where pup
as
set 3.
many
Alright, this is what we do.
copies that
It's-
are legal on the
It's just
ban
the
list. So this
crazy part
means
about it.
functionally you can run 6 copies of Werepup
But I don't know.
and
I,
Werepup Champion of Artemis because they're, oh my god, we're getting advertisements. I can't skip this one. Okay, there we go.
in a weird way, I do like Equilinx
Anyway.
back. I do like Kinleo back. I think these
So
cards
like
are
a
cool.
void
I do think these cards are very strong.
and like a void champion of Artemis, there's
Kinleo in
Werepup
particular is
and a
I
Werepup
think
champion
there
of
isn't a lot
Artemis.
with Equilinx, but the ability for Hestia to go.
Now the Werepup
special
champion of
cast
Artemis
Hestia
is not that
next to pop
important.
And then hard ascend into like Leonite or something, or just go for a second.
However, Werepup is
a
kind of
second
important.
Kinleo. Like I think that.
So
I don't
this
know
is
if this something
Werepup.
that should have been the premiere. But
He's a cute little
Bo-
guy,
I think
right?
actually, Bo might have played something similar to this, but
Werepup's
Bo's
effect, for those of y'all who don't know
layout
Alestios,
being
says
list.
when you
It was
normal
like
cast
Hestia,
Werepup,
Kinleo,
you can
Sparkus.
switch your
Like,
deck
you can
for
just
a
play that
Lunar
shit,
phase and
and
add it
it's
to
nasty
your
as
hand.
fuck. Because you just say, all right, I'm gonna hand rep on a pop every single
Now read the
turn.
second
I'm
part
generating
of the
card
effect.
advantage in like a really unfun way.
yeah.
Read the second part of the
I'm
effect.
actually Black Rose here actually makes a good point. Like we don't need a ban list. We need more cards. I think we
When
need
you
both. I think
cast
that's kind
Lunar
of a good,
Phase Full
a
Moon,
good point to
you
start
can
at. But I
special
think
ascend this
generally,
Werepup
I'm
to
usually in
like a
favor
void
of
from your
the-
hand or
this
deck.
is such a
This is
meme,
functionally like
buffs versus
tribute
nerfs
from deck.
type of mindset.
Now,
but
do you
Illustrious is
remember
pretty
what
new. Illustrious is
like a void
limited card
champion
pool.
of
We are
Artemis
starting
does?
to
When
grow
you
in a
cast
way
this
where
like a
the
void,
balance changes need
you
like,
can
are
cast
mattering
any
along with
number of
the action.
Werepup
That's kind of
from
the
your
concept
deck.
with like an early card game like this, but
And what
we
does
definitely do need
Werepup
another
do?
ban list though.
Werepup
I think we were playing another
switches
couple events in this
full
same list with like a
moon.
void.
And when you play Full
and as the
Moon,
grid is, it's
it
just-
turns into like
There's
a
so
void!
many small things to adjust to
Also,
instantly
man, this
make
pendulum play is
the deck
really
building,
taking
the
the plot
gameplay, and some decisions make
Anyway.
a little be a little more meaningful.
So
in my opinion.
TLDR chat.
Not less enjoyable for me personally.
Read
but I
card
know
that
for a lot
says
of people
summon a
that's
bunch of
not
guys
true.
from
A lot of
deck.
people just are
Usually
also
good
not
card.
very happy with like certain things that pace
Crazy
things out.
card, because
True,
Little
so-
Dog is one
No,
card.
I think ban
combo.
list is necessary, but it's more like I think about it like a balance list. Like it's like not necessarily like trying to take away things. I guess is the best way of putting it.
So that's what we ended up.
I think the my hope for this is that there is a big shakeup because I feel like this is what I hope today is what the last list should
Sort
have
of
been,
pass it
is
to the
bringing things
opponent's
a much
field to
more
get the
even
first
playing
bars.
field,
That would be
because I don't think there's enough to bring everything up to the same level.
Hello,
So
Ralph.
as a result, for things
Did you
to
know
feel
the
balanced, they
February
have to
pack
come
we're
down.
getting the other K9?
I'd love for everything to.
I don't know
play
what
at
we're
the
getting
same
other than
speed
K9 in the
as
February
Ivory,
pack.
Bakugan, whatever. If we could.
I'm not super familiar with
Like, some people might
stuff
disagree
in
with
the
the fundamental
TCG,
pace of that,
so-
the speed of that, which I could
Well, so
understand.
Alestos only
Like,
has
the
4
games are slower,
zones.
but if everything could be fast,
But the
then that'd
dog
be a
is
fun
functionally,
as
like,
well.
it's
The
functionally a
just can't
plus
do
6.
that.
Yeah. Everything's just not
Yeah,
designed
so,
for
like,
that.
you know.
Yeah, agreed.
You can clearly see
Yeah,
why
I
it
think
was a
this is
flop.
also important to note that, like, I think in general, what happens
So-
with stuff like this is we see it all the time. Even before like what got brought back, it was just like, oh, here we go, more frost again. Or, oh, here we go, solar again, and it's like
So what they're
that
going
was
over
kind of the
right
sentiment
now
for a little bit is these decks that ultimately, I don't know, maybe more interesting
so
than
after
just,
the
you know,
ban
some
list
Blitztricks
before this
or
ban list
a
that we're going to
Lycovoid
react to, right?
stuff.
They
Still people particularly
unbanned
aren't very
Lycovoid,
happy
which
about
was banned
the,
prior.
overrepresentation of certain
And what they're looking at
strategies,
right now in the
Lock-on,
video is we're looking at
more
how many
frost,
Alestos, the
etc.
top
But
12
I think right
represented
now there's just-
Alestos.
it's kind of a hard
From
position to be in. 'Cause
the
then
most
you don't want to
recent
revert the game back to
tournament.
5s. I think that's something that I
And
personally,
so
I wouldn't want.
41%
Or-
of decks were running Rare Pup.
Yeah.
I think that there's a
And
nice
40% of
mid-ground that we
decks
can
were
reach.
running Lycovoid Champion of Tournament.
Fives with actual game plans. 'Cause that's
Which
kinda
makes
like
sense.
what Bakugan has become in the post Tadpuff to 1. Most
Yeah.
people are just playing the Afro stuff at this point.
And so when they talk about
It's weird,
Tadpuff and
like, I don't-
April, for those of y'all
I
who
don't
don't
ever know
know,
if we're
like,
gonna go
you-
back
I mean, not you,
to
Alestos.
a
you.
5s game state, or like where good
Prior
stuff
to
piles, like, the
unbanning
best
the
you can be doing,
Lycovoid, one of the
just because
most
gameplay
dominant,
decks
one
have
of the
gotten
most dominant
so
decks in the
much
meta,
better.
which was
Like,
being
I look at,
hit
like, the
in
Hestia
this
deck, I look
ban
at
list prior to the
Hermes,
emergency ban list,
And I think that they would wipe the
is
floor
a
with,
deck called
with a 5s deck.
Lycovoid.
In a
It is a
heartbeat,
very
just because
high
of what they are
tempo
allowed
deck
to do compared to, like,
that not
a
only
good stuff
pushes
file
out
placed every element
2
together.
spirit bodies, so kind of like tribute summon monsters, right?
Well, I think that there's
Like
good
level 5 or
between
6
fives
monsters.
as, like, a
It also
general
presents
gameplay
a
of,
very
Pull
loopable
up the chart.
gameplay,
Well,
on
it's
top of
absurd,
also
'cause there's, like,
popping
there's
cards on the
fives
board.
in the good stuff
And that's
deck
very
archetype,
strong in a
and there's
game
fives
that
in
plays
the,
off
like,
tempo.
what has had a bunch of tops at the
So,
last event, Aphoros. Like, I think that that's pretty
They
close to
hit some
fives. You just
cards that
plan
enable
like
the
a-
Locagon
an
sweat.
efficient and kind of wide 5 stat line every
Basically
turn,
cards
and then using
that
interaction to make sure that
would
going wide is
basically
like, you could
enable
argue
you
that
to get off the
Warfrost is a
combo
fives-like deck, because
whenever you
it
want.
goes wide, it plays around the 5 stat
Which,
line,
like,
and
granted,
it
you
just
have
uses
to
cheap
find the
removal
card,
and cheap
right?
guys to continually put up
But it
pressure.
becomes a continual issue, because,
I think
like,
that's
what if your
kind of the
opponent
thing
just
that-
opens the nuts
and that is
they have the
definitely giving
cards and they just
verbiage
win?
to, I think,
So,
at least for me,
they
my
had
issue
hit a
with that sort of
couple
gameplay is
cards
it
that
feels like
contributed
then
to
the
that
best thing to be doing
strategy,
is
where,
just
like,
like control.
primarily
cool.
one.
Don't get me wrong. I just think that the type of control
And so that
is
deck
inspiring from a
Did see
like 5 control
like
control
a
the
dip in
space with, or
representation
control the tempo with
post
shield
of that ban,
PTAs.
and
like, I
it
think
did
that
also
makes
see
sense
a
for
dip
early Lustrals,
in, you know,
but I feel like we
conversion
move
to
past
top
that to
cut.
doing more interesting things. I would like to
which-
see if control decks
I will say
were to
part
be,
of
like,
that isn't
prevalent or
entirely
just
just
good,
because of the
they do
ban. I
different
think it's
things. Heal,
also
I think, is a
because
great
like a
example
lot
of,
of
like, a
players
control
probably
deck
left playing
that
the deck
is
because it
like
got
adds
banned.
a lot of variables.
So anybody who
and
was still
interesting
left playing the
mechanics,
deck either didn't
that Illustrious
properly
has unique
adjust
to
their
it,
list,
versus just
or maybe aren't
feeders.
as familiar
And
with the
that's-
deck as some of the people who like were
It's
more
sick.
versed with it.
I do hope on some level.
I can't
maybe
quite
with
say if
Sunstrike,
that's,
maybe
like,
with
the
future
case,
set that
but-
heal can come back in a capacity. I think that'd be kind of neat.
And so they're talking about right now different
Heal stall.
strategies
No,
in
Adam, it's
Alestos.
control, damn it.
So fives and heal
I
stall
won
are
every
names
season.
for
My top
decks
four, I
that
would go to time- I went to
are
time exactly
common
one time.
strategies. Though I have
Is
strong
it heal
opinions
aggro?
on
Practice.
fives as a
That's hard.
deck
Yeah, it's heal
because
aggro.
I think people
Hoping
misunderstand what
the day the game
modern
comes powercraft
fives
enough for
is.
people playing decks like
Fundamentally,
sixes or sevens or
original
threes.
fives in Alestos is the concept of playing a deck that only plays. Oh my god.
Exactly.
That
It's,
only
you know,
plays
I mean,
Alestos that
yeah, it
have the
almost
stat line
happened.
of
I'll
5.
tell you that. So there's
And
also
you're
one
probably
thing that
wondering,
I
well,
think is
Sam,
really
like,
interesting
why
here
is that
too, by the way.
important?
So Lycovoid
5
and
is a
Warpup
really
were
strong
obviously big
number.
standouts for the
Because similar
top
to how you
couple
could
of
only
Lustrals
normal
from the
summon
last
one
premiere.
Splatoon
The
and
premiere before
Yu-Gi-Oh!
that,
You can
It's
only
also the
normal
exact
summon
same
one
cards,
Splatoon in a
just with like some
Lestos.
getting boxed out.
So
because
if
of
you're
the-
going to just normal
the
summon a guy with a
frequency of the
5
pups.
stat line, it's unlikely
Um,
that it could be
we have
touched by
cards
anyone
like
with a 4 stat line,
Synector,
which
which
is
has been
efficient.
there. Galaxy's still there.
And that's really
Obviously, the
important in a
A-First
game
package is
like
still there.
Alestos, because
Lobulith
Alestos is
and
actually a
Spectaris are all
resource-based
still there.
game, where you have to
which all
use
thoughts on like
spirits, which are
stuff that's
functionally
not
mana to
specifically
play cards.
Pup Boy.
But the twist with Alestos
Like, the
is
representa-
that
or
your
either
mana,
representation
aka your
like,
spirits,
Is there
doubles
engines
as
that we're
your
hoping
life.
to get hit
So
or
every
adjusted?
card you
Like, what's-
play,
what
you
they'll say,
take
cross-
damage.
I'm gonna pull up my tweet. I
So
want that
functionally, you
entire
want to
list.
play a 5. Traditionally, we're playing like the
what is
highest
it,
value
1, 2, 3,
card
4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards
for what
banned.
you could play. So I played a lot of 1 spirit cards that had
You
really
need to
good
pull up your list. I
stats.
can't remember what you.
And that's just reflective
So
of the game
It's
being
like
kind
the
of
Void
like at the
Champion
time
banned. I want
older.
Nog banned.
Yeah.
Farrageist, Chronodile, Eruption.
What we're
Solar
listening to
Burst,
right
Isildur,
now, this is
Searsword. I
this is
want all those
Caleb's
banned.
wish list. The
Limited
video's going
is
to start.
Asphowl. I have
We've been
Ivor
reacting to
twice.
the prior
My
like
bad. It's only
aftermath
Chris
of the
Allen.
ban
Say hi,
list, right?
Chris Bethel.
We're going to see the
and
actual
Crossfall
ban
Lockdown
list
all to
soon.
one.
So
And then we can
fives
unlimit
in
if
modern
there's a
times
platform.
can
And
be
I think
one of two
the argument has been
strategies.
made. I think that we
Fives
can,
either naturally
put,
becomes mid-range
Lycan form to
control
one set.
because of the way that the deck wants to play
That's a
with
good mention.
Temple.
I think
It can lean aggro as
Should
well.
go to one.
it's
Rhoda
Or
that.
fives like functionally just
like Rhoda's
becomes like
ridiculous.
Rhoda,
a
you
low
cobalt.
body flood deck.
someone prevent him from saying
And
chat
so
messages.
when people say
I
like
don't know what the number list is.
fives,
What's the
they
number
think
list? Is it every
of
card
the
turns
deck
till
being
we're-
like a
we're in limerick
tempo
format?
deck based
15 limerick
on
counter runes?
being quote unquote good stuff
I needed
turbo.
to finish my education.
And
I chose Purdue Global because the faculty understood
they
the
think
different.
I am a man
Wait a
because they're
minute. Never mind, I
recommending
get
me
down with that.
military ads. Anyway,
Also ban Widget. I agree with that.
so
I've come back around. Okay.
people think that
I-
fives in
not hear
Alestos
you
is
streaming and
defined by
being
a
productive.
concept
I-
called good
so I can
stuff
say this,
piles.
and he
You
can't
take
do
the
anything
best
about it.
cards in the game and you stick
I
them
have
all
come
into one
around
deck. That's a good
to-
stuff pile. That makes
to the
sense,
Kevin
right?
theory of
And in the
ban
early
Legion,
part of the
and I'll tell you
game,
why.
some of the best cards were
It's only
fives because they
and
were
I think the
good
card's
value
good,
cards.
and the card's cool.
But now
yes, it's
modern
committal,
fives
yada,
is
yada.
not the same.
It's
It's
just
just
the fact
sticking
that
a
when
bunch
it
of
resolves,
readers.
when Wingen
decks.
resolves, it's just disproportionately
That is a type of
affecting
five
the
you
game.
can
And I think that's my
encounter.
line.
But in my
is that stuff
opinion,
like
the
that
fives that like
says,
to
oh,
play
when
beaters
resolve,
in
it's
modern
not auto
Alestos,
win, is
it's not the
or
same
close
as
to,
good stuff
is
piles.
very
So when
hard to
people
justify.
say fives, they usually actually
I
tend
think
to
that there's a
mean
lot of
good
cards
stuff
like that
piles.
just need to get hit.
And in my opinion, like, that's just not the same. You shouldn't be calling it fives, even if they
So-
have like a
so-
similar gameplay style.
Unless anyone has any other.
Because they
cards
are
wanna see
fundamentally
hit.
different decks,
I'm
pushing
curious what y'all
different
don't
like
wanna
game
see
plans
hit, 'cause
and
I feel like
different
I've got a
advantages.
lot that I'm
Because if you're
really
playing
worried
good
they're
stuff
gonna hit,
pile,
but they shouldn't.
sometimes the good stuff is a completely different game plan than just one out.
Worried that they're gonna hit.
So that's why I think that
Sickle
they're
Sky Band.
fundamentally different decks. Like I don't know, call me out on semantics or something.
Get those
Um,
15 printings out of here.
Sorry,
honestly,
I need to also be
We got
Wolverine.
CTS format. We don't need it legal.
This is one that
So-
I don't know if they'll touch because it's been such like a hot button issue before, but I really want them
With
to.
that in mind, we're going to see
And
like
again, I've come
you know,
around to it, but it's only in like the worst
there's
way.
supposed to be like
Correction.
a
I
what's
think
the
that
word?
like this is like my
There's supposed to be
I talked to every burn
a
player. I
little
talked to him Descent
thing
earlier. Like a titled form would be kind of cool. I think
in
there's,
this
like,
video
room
where
to
like
grow on
apparently
this
we're
thing.
getting
We have
some
Tuga,
insight
we
from
have,
Alestral's like creators.
what's the like we can
The
search
creators
out
of
the
the
new small
game.
Tuga. We can add it back with like a bunch of different
to like
Celestials.
hear more
Um,
about like
what's
their
the,
info
what's
and
the
that
Shraz,
kind of
the
stuff.
Super Tuga?
And you're probably wondering,
We have,
Sam, why
like,
are these
Tuga.
pink
We have
ones
different
on the
builds
board?
that I would like.
It's because
to
I'm
see
blocking out the
prosper,
format and draft, but I don't want to plug in
in
my
the sort of burn realm.
what's the
and I
word?
think
I don't want to
Eruption just kinda
plug
limits
in
a
my
lot of
drawing
stuff
tablet.
to,
just
like,
yet.
Either too good splashability instead of fire, or you're just forced to play like old school.
Hello,
And I
hello,
don't know.
Samuel. How are
Like,
you?
I do hate that Eruption is.
What
very
is
much
my
just an
favorite
auto
card in
3-0
Yu-Gi-Oh?
every
It
single fire
is
deck, just because
either
you have
Penguin
to.
Brave, Stealth
to.
Bug, and Tendengo Acute Turboist with Dragon Nail. Sorry,
Yeah,
you.
that'd be kind of. I think that
In
I
Alestos,
don't know
it's
if-
Sundial.
again, it's been this way for a while. It's just something that is going to be out there until it isn't. But I'd like that on some level. And Unk back, they need to bring back Unk.
They should bring back Unk. Thunder is about to be the best fucking thing you can do in this game, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with it. Things that they won't
actually-
hit, they'll leave.
Mm,
I don't know.
you're probably wondering, Sam, what
Oh,
are
like,
you
are we
doing?
talking like more
So
onions?
what I am doing is For those of y'all who
More
don't know, because
unhits
you're
or
newer to the
moron
channel,
hits?
I actually have an Alestral's
Which-
blog.
'Cause we
I
can talk
know,
about both.
crazy, right?
I
I have an
it is noon.
Alestral's blog.
I think
It's noon.
it's noon. Oh, yep. Yep.
Oh, jeez, wow.
It's an ad.
And oh my god, they're getting an I'm getting an ad from their ad!
Great list. Great list.
I had my ad block on.
He has ad block?
Playback speed.
We're
We're
gonna fast forward.
Kevin.
Oh, they're gonna fast forward for us?
Kevin
That's
Tech.
amazing. Let's
He's
go.
not here in voice, but he is here in spirit.
Oh, sorry, the ghost of Kevin.
So we have 80 seconds. So yeah, you talking moron or more unhit?
More unhits.
Anyways,
More unhits.
I agree with Josh. We needed more unhits because there's a lot of cards that were banned
I
last
don't imagine
year
they're gonna be unhit
that were still on the
this
list.
I don't
And in my
imagine
opinion,
anything
I
other
think they
than
could
Viscerous
easily
is like,
yeah.
yeah, that,
See, what
I
we
think a lot of
find when
people
we
share that
Viscerous
opinion.
unhit.
Ban Adam. I agree with Perky. Let's go.
Brew bar.
Oh, don't ban Adam. Anyway. I don't know what I was expecting from this ban list, but I was really hoping for a reversal of some
I
of
don't know
their
if I can
original
hear
bans.
the audio from the.
From the stream.
There is an
That's what it is.
archetype called Morphos in this
I'll
game.
turn it back.
I don't know
up.
if I could hear it.
And
beforehand,
it does
but-
a lot of
Okay,
things.
I ignore my captions too.
But one of the
I- I-
problem cards is a card
Okay,
called a
I'm just deaf,
Morphos
maybe.
Lycan form, which is kind of like Thunder Dragon, but not. You discard Morphos
All
Dragon
right.
form in order to, Lycan form.
Banana list.
In
time,
order to
banana
search
list
2
time.
Morphos from your deck
I'm, like,
that aren't
nervous.
Lycan form.
Dude, me too. This I
So
really think this
Morphos is
very
a
big
deck
make
that
or
uses
break
titles,
moment.
like
Is
how
this
you
the
saw
1
that
hour
there's
video?
2 rare
It,
pop
it
and
could
2
be. Maybe the 1 hour video,
right?
actually.
Oh,
Finally.
geez, yeah.
There's going to be enough spaces.
That's the best part about this being a premiere. We have no idea how long it's gonna be.
I mean,
Hello, casters, and
Oh,
welcome.
I think it is.
oh, here we go. And we're also doing a new thing where we have like a podcast style,
Hat's
like,
banned.
it's like a podcast style, like,
I'm Ben, but you probably know me as Ridiculous Hat. That's
so
my
this is
online
Mr.
brand,
Dan A.
and
Drive
also,
and Mr.
who I am in
Ridiculous
Discord
Hat.
as the community
And
director
they are
for Duel.
Alestral staff, and
We're
they're
here
going to
to
be
tell you
telling us their
How we're
reasoning
banning
on the
cards,
ban.
what we're doing, how we're limiting stuff, all the changes we're
What's
making.
my favorite
And I'm
deck?
here with a very special co-host. You may know him.
My
Dan
favorite
A. Drive.
deck,
How are you
guys,
doing
it's
today?
probably
I'm doing great, man.
Timbangle,
I'm
but
actually doing really good.
Penguins
I'm
is a
excited about
close
this new
second.
format.
Ghost Root
I think
is
this
really
podcast
cool.
style video is
I
going to
really
allow us
like
to
Thunder
get
Patrol
into a little bit
too.
more of the nuance and you know, kind of go into a little bit more of not only why we're making decisions, but
Yeah,
how we
John
got to those
Alestral's
decisions.
on the screen.
And I think
So
it's
this
gonna
is
kind of
really
be a
interesting
huge
and very
step,
cool to see
for
from
Alestrals in terms of the
Alestrals,
dialogue
right?
that we have with our community. And
They
I'm
are
super
going
excited
to be
chat, 'cause
really
it's fun. We've
transparent
done this a few times now. We've
as
had a
to
lot of
why
chats over the
they're
last few
banning
days, and
certain
we're gonna do a
cards.
lot of recapping
And
of the
so,
things that
an
we
issue
found
that
and the
came
conclusions that
up
we made. So,
in the most
I
recent
appreciate
ban
everyone's
list
time
prior
today
to this
watching
emergency
and I
ban
look forward
list
to a really
is
healthy
they
discussion
banned
as we-
certain
as we
cards.
move forward.
And then they
Yeah,
tried to
we've
tell people
been,
why
we've
they
been
banned
trying
those
this out,
cards
and really the whole
without
team has been hard
properly
at work at
defining
figuring
some of
out
the terms.
how we can make sure
They
that we
said
turn
stuff
Alestrals
like,
into the
oh,
best
this
game
deck
that it
is
can be.
too
Now,
fast, so
we
we're
should
gonna
probably
slow it
address,
down.
Hey,
Or
Dan,
this
what
deck
are we
is
doing,
too
and why
resilient,
are we doing
so
it
we're gonna
now?
try to
Because
stop its
we just had a
resiliency.
bandless update, what, 2
But
weeks ago, 3
then
weeks
what
ago,
they
sometime in
did
December,
was
I don't
hit
remember when, but it was not
cards
that long
or
ago.
like
We
unhit
released like a
cards
break,
that
and now we're here with another
didn't
update
exactly
with a whole lot of
reflect
stuff
what
to
they
talk
were
about.
saying.
Walk us through,
And maybe they
how we
did
got here
in
and why
some
we're making
way,
this
but
change.
not in the way that
so
the average player
when
would
we launched the live
interpret
stream
this
format,
with.
we saw a lot of developments that were really positive for the game. Game plan decks becoming a focus, some really cool combo strategies, and as always, we're listening to feedback and
That's
monitoring
awesome.
results to kind of keep
So they're
things more
listening to
aligned, shift
feedback,
things
chat.
up
This is
from
why
time
we
to
have
time,
the
and ultimately
emergency
try to
ban.
deliver the best gameplay experience. And when we approached this most recent list of releasing Like a Void back from Tartarus, we thought we were actually doing a good thing to create more diversity in the game, but ultimately it seems we missed the mark there. And you know, like I said,
And this
our
is a
goal
true
is always
statement.
to
They did do this
take in
with the
community feedback
intent.
and try to make the best game we can. And
They
after
did this with the
taking
intent to
sentiment
try to
and
like
seeing some
spice
games
up the
take
game.
place,
I saw
it
their
seems as though we
logic.
missed the mark a bit,
But the
in
problem
terms
is
of
that,
how we
like,
wanted
I'm
to,
sure that Like a Void could
turn
potentially
live stream
exist
into
with
a
some
better
of the new
format for
cards,
people, and I think one
alongside
of
the newest
conclusions that
set,
we made in our
Sunstrike, which will
discussions
come out
coming of
later.
the reactions
But
of our
without
fans
any
to
proper
Bandless was like,
insight into the
we're
new
so close,
set,
we really feel like all
completely
the tools are there,
unbanning the
so how can
card
we
and then just
kinda
leaving
take
us
another
to
stab
fend
at
for
this
ourselves
and
because
really
none of the
optimize a
other
little bit
cards
better
in the
to
newest
give you
set can
guys a
keep up
better
with
and more
Like a
fun
Void,
game that I
outside
think
of maybe
aligns
one or
with the
two.
expectations of
It's
Alestral's players.
crazy.
So, that was kind of the heart.
And
of it.
so their thought
You know,
process is that, well, there's no
intentions
way
were
people
always
would
good,
play
of
Like a
course,
Void. It's not
and we did test
splashable
and
enough.
make conclusions
But the
based
problem
on
is
that,
it
but
is
we
splashable
really
enough.
missed the mark
People
a
are
little
willing
bit.
to dedicate almost half
Yeah,
their
we are
Spirit deck in
committed,
order
of
to
course,
make sure that
to
if they
trying
open
our
Like a
best and
Void, they're
making
gonna
sure
push
that
so much
we
advantage
don't
in the
shy
game
away
that it
from
doesn't
taking
matter
risks,
what
but
else they
unfortunately,
play.
looking back at the results
And
of last
sure,
Game,
not every
some risks are
game
just a
that
little
you
bit too
cast
much.
Like a
We
Void
had
will
some very
instantly
soft
win the game.
nerfs to decks, some soft limits, but some
But
pretty
it does
heavy
make it
unlimits that ended up
extremely
distorting the picture of
difficult
the format.
sometimes
We
for
ended
like
up
an opposing
underestimating
player to catch
exactly
up.
how Like a Void would warp game plans, and generally speaking, we did say that we were happy with live
Because
stream
not
being
only do you
faster
have to
format,
get rid of the
but
Like a Void, which is
we
already
aren't
kind of
this
difficult.
okay with it. It's a little bit too
Even
fast.
if
The
you get
game's
rid
a
of
little too
Like
much
a
of a
Void, they
nice
still
edge,
have to
where
be
a
other
lot of the
guys
question
on the
is,
board.
Very
And,
true.
like,
Very
even
one,
though
two,
Rare Pup's
yeah,
not
do
a
you have
big
the coordinates?
Alestro,
Do you have the
that's
answers?
still
Do
a
you hit the
concern.
threat? And it's a little bit
A little bit of go fish, I guess, is kind of
short
their
of a
issue.
window for players to feel
Yeah.
like all the cards they play matter, and it ends up keeping the format from allowing the really cool live stream game plans we created to exist, especially after there were some in the previous
I'm
ban
gonna
lists that
turn it
were
down just a little bit.
intensely
How do you underestimate that though? I'm assuming it's how do you underestimate the Like a Void impact is what you're saying?
Oh, see,
Or is
someone
it
in the
more, how do you
comments is
underestimate like,
talking
the
about
speed of
that.
the format?
The Like a Void format, if you enjoyed playing it, you're not wrong for feeling that way, but we ended up hearing negativity from folks we don't normally hear from at all. It was more pushback.
I
more
was one of those
conservative,
players
more
who
universal,
decide I
people
normally
saying,
chat.
This isn't quite what
I
signed
love
up for."
Alestros.
It's not always just about
And
balance.
sometimes when
Even
I
though
make
Like a Void didn't win the
decisions,
last event, we heard
I
from players they
understand
were
that
having
their
trouble having
vision
a
for
clutch line.
Valestros
Yeah, I
isn't
think you
exactly
touched
the
on a lot
same
of
as
really
my
key points
vision.
there. And one thing that I just want to take and kind of mention is like, never
like,
is Alestral sitting here and just.
Sorry, Dan, I'm turning down a little bit.
Some of this stuff
How
is
do you
just
underestimate like what
like,
impact
you know,
most of the community caught it into immediately? So
it,
this gets into like a really
allowing Like a
difficult
Void to be
question with
around,
both,
right?
like, testing and then also
creates
like,
a
intention.
gameplay meta that
I
people
don't know
enjoy.
exactly if it's like a grading criteria.
It's not that you
how
can't beat
the-
Like a Void, chat, but in order to
generally
beat
how the
Like a
Alestros
Void,
team
you
tests,
have to deck build in a
we
way
don't really know
that
how that
players
process works
in
necessarily.
the community just don't like.
But what
I would
what
be
would probably
fine
have
with
to
a
happen
Like a
is that they
Void
tested to bring it
meta,
back,
only
and then the
because
pocket scenarios in which
I
they
think
bring
I'm
it
one of the
back.
few
Well,
players
let's say
who
Lunar.
kind of
It
like
sounds like what their intention was to buff
don't
Lunar
care
as like a
how
deck,
bad a meta
but
is.
not necessarily or
Because
I'm
I
not
already
sure where the
played bad decks in Yu-Gi-Oh!
underestimation comes from.
So I'm already
is
used to playing
is
from
how
behind.
splashable than other strategies. How does that impact?
But
like,
other players
the
don't
other
enjoy
decks
that.
even aren't playing
And when
Pup.
the deck is so like the engine
Like
is
Wood
so
and Warpup are definitely-
splashable. It's like a
and
five
as an engine,
claw
it's definitely like a,
commitment.
you must be this tall to ride this
Well,
ride sort of thing.
6
too.
now,
It's-
'cause they
it's-
have
it's
another
both a
full
skill
one,
check
but-
and a game determiner.
Like a 5 claw commitment
So-
to go like
I think that's probably the part that was missed. Not necessarily
to
the card's
sometimes
powerful,
swing enough
but the
tempo to
card would
just
have
win the
impact.
game if your opponent
Just
doesn't
maybe,
draw
like,
the out to like.
Hey, we're gonna bring this back for
And so
Lunar,
that forces
without
whoever
recognizing
is
that it's
playing to make
no, you
sure
can put
in
leads
their
into
deck
everything.
they have multiple outs to
I think
like
that's
avoid.
probably what was missed ultimately.
And sometimes that
But-
creates
A lot of
that just leads
players, I
deck
feel
building
like,
into
release
a
and
gameplay style.
seem
Not a
like
lot
they
of people in
weren't
Alestials
considered
want
in
to
a
do
broader
because
context. Like,
they want to be able to play their
I do
game
not
plan
think that
decks.
the A4
And if they
package is
can't
ever
fit
considered
like
outside of
stuff their
Aphrodite,
game plan
just,
deck
like,
is doing in the
that's-
deck, because they have to
it
dedicate
doesn't
half
feel
their
like it
deck
was
to
considered
playing
in
like a
context.
void, and then the
How it's
other
considered.
half to like answering like a void.
Yeah, there's
I think there's also
it's,
completely a
you
world
know.
that like a Void was also completely fine if the what is it, Lunar Eclipse
It makes.
wasn't printed. So now it's good going first and second to break.
Oh
boards.
yeah. So Josh brings up another point.
I think that like with
They
it just
printed
being
a
fully
new
full
card
moon,
that so the
I
original full
think that there's a
moon
world that like Void actually
that
might have been
Rare
okay.
Pup switches.
yeah.
Sure.
That's
Full
something
moon is a
one
counter
thing
move.
about it too that
A
I
counter
thought
move
to
is
myself, like, if you
functionally
don't
a
ban,
trap
like,
card. That
you
means
ban
even
Lunar
though Rare
Eclipse,
Pup switches
just
full
as like
moon,
a
you still have to wait
formality of
at least
bringing
your
back
turn
the
till you
Bolt.
get like a void.
And
Which is pretty
it would
strong
definitely
because like your
curb the
opponent
power
can't
level. Would
set
it
any
still
cards on the first
hurts
turn.
like on turn 1, yes.
However,
But
they
it's definitely
printed a
it's definitely
new
going second,
Luna
I think that
phase
gets you.
called Luna
With
Phase
the speed
Luna
of the game
Eclipse.
currently.
And one of the
So, I
effects
don't know.
on
I think
Luna
that's like
Phase
maybe my
Luna
other thought about like
Eclipse
Void right now
is
maybe
that
we
while
ban
it's
Lunar
on the
Eclipse
chain,
and we say
it counts as
like,
full full
break the
moon.
board.
So that one's a
maybe
spell
that's
card,
what
which
I'm-
means you can use Wrap Up to switch Lunar Phase, Lunar Eclipse, and trigger
so we're
your
keeping the
Wrap
game
Up
plan,
on your
but
turn.
we're not trying to go back to a
Lunar
good
Phase,
set
Lunar
meta.
Eclipse also
Some of you
does like a
want
little
treacherous.
added
Summarizing
bonus
what
of
Dan was
popping
saying
back
there, 'cause I was
based on
kinda
how many
reading it,
lunar
was that
levels you have.
TLDR
But the
is,
bigger problem is functionally that you
we've
can
come
just
to a point where
auto
spirits are starting to maybe
push
not
off
matter as
like
much, and they're
avoiding
looking
enemies.
to reclaim that as a as a mechanic.
This
And a
is an
thing.
emergency speed ban list. So,
So
we
like
have to make
Josh's
sure that
point
we're
of like if they
intentional
didn't
about
put the
messages we send
second
and
card
about
and
the
it's
changes
only
we
a
make.
trap
So
card,
we
maybe
have
it's
two
still
things that really
alright.
stand out to us
But
in
now that
current
there's
formats
two ways to
that are
guarantee you can get
overrepresented.
like
There are
rare puppets or
hyper-efficient
like
threats, and they're cards that either create,
it becomes a
compound,
problem.
or both
Game.
repetitive game states. If we end up having
That's my
really fast
my big issue.
ascensions, especially
Yeah.
Is
twos,
repetitive.
that come out
gameplay.
quickly,
Yeah, and
stay in
repetitive
play,
It sounds
gameplay
like you
becomes
actually-
everybody
like,
plays rare
or they
I know-
pup.
I know
come
with
back
the-
over and over again.
The buzz has been.
And
this has been
honestly,
like a-
chat, rare pup becomes kind of like the
a
cash
list.
killer
Work
engine.
very
Large
closely
list?
and we work
Hello,
together
Valkyrie, welcome on in.
with
'Cause
internal
I
I'm
don't know if
watching
Legacy
Duel
specifically
Live.
touches
I am
on
working on the
to make
layout
sure
for
that we
something
will
I need to
fully
work on in the
understand the
background in the
impact of what
top
we're doing
It
left.
applies to me
In the
that,
top right, we're
like,
watching
repeatability
a
currently
we're
is something
reacting
I
to
would-
a
like,
ban
lockdowns
list
no longer
video
repeatable, so
that's
the only other
reacting
thing
to a
that would
ban list
the most
podcast.
indicate repeatability.
That's the
So
Um,
we're
I
reacting
would say
to the
lockdown
React
is
video
huge.
to the ban list.
Like you still get to do the thing. Like once it's established, if you don't break it, you do it again and again. And again.
Today's a very chaotic stream.
I mean,
My
that's
streams
really
are
what
not
I'm
normally
saying
like
is
this.
being able to go from nothing into it a second time.
Normally my streams are literally me
Tap
sitting
up
in
once.
silence and drawing for 4 hours.
Oh, and if I could just say too, RIP to the El Paso regionals recently. Y'all had to play with the old list, Lamau.
Whatever that means, RIP.
Everyone has to play with the old list technically.
But anyway.
I'm pretty sure that all regionals will still be played under the old list. It doesn't go into effect until the 19th.
Thank you for the follow. You're probably wondering, what is this card game? This seems fun. I don't do this all the time, unfortunately.
To talk with the judging staff over.
You're probably wondering, what is this card game we're reacting to?
It would
This
definitely
card
be
game is called
something,
Celestials, and you're probably gonna ask, lady on my
I've
screen,
had
why do I
some
care about
conversations
Celestials?
with
Are you
people
gonna
where
make
I
me
think it was
play
like-
this card game? And I'm gonna
it
tell
was
you, look,
something where I was like,
I'm not
hey,
gonna
the
make
new
you
ban
play the
list,
card
there's a
game.
local-
You just need to know that I'm a world's competitor for this card
The
game,
no
so
ban list
clearly
is
I
like you
have to know
could,
what's
but
going
you
on with the
just-
ban.
it wouldn't
And you're gonna
be for
probably
no
say, well,
prize.
Stan, why don't you just look at like a blog post or like a informational graphic or something? Surely someone has put out an image of this ban list. No, that makes far too much sense. We need to watch this 3-hour React video that's reacting to the podcast that's telling us about the ban list. So we know about the ban list.
I disagree.
Also, like, these people are my friends. I'm watching. Look, chat, I need to support my friends. I need to watch their content. Chat. Their watch hours depend on me. There's like 5 Celestials players in the world.
Oh,
There's more than
8 bands.
When we're talking
8
about a
bands,
ban,
chat. Let's go.
think it's healthy for Lestrals in
8
any
is a
event.
lot of bands.
We have some cards
That's what
that
we're
we
up to
tested at
today.
one,
If
and
you're
it
wondering
felt
what I play in
really
Yu-Gi-Oh,
impactful
I
when
play
you
Yu-Gi-Oh
got
exclusively
lucky and saw the
casually.
card early.
I'm not a
It was
bad
still really
player, but
impactful
I like
if you
to play
went and
bad
looked for it with
decks.
a search.
I play
Oh,
Team
it's elephant.
Game.
If a card stands
I
out,
play
It should
stuff
be
like
very early.
or if you get it late,
Penguins, though I don't think Penguins
I
is a
missed
bad
Arctic.
deck.
True, me too.
I play basically Pure Thunder Patrol.
I'm pulling up my list.
I'll play anything from Marine Sets to 2023 Vika Sun, Avalon, Wood of Vendred, Maya Kashi, Ghost Grid, Super Quantums, Red Resonators, well, I guess what
that we
Vika.
want to de-emphasize, and we'll make sure
Moki
to
Moki.
I like that thought process.
I have a handful of more meta-leaning decks. This year I finally learned how to play Pirelli. I have a Val Monica deck, R.I.P. Baguska. I know how to play Trap Twitch. I have a deck called Sapphire Surprise, which up until the Apple hit, which I think my deck is dead now. Up until they hit Apple, the concept was basically Crystal Beast become the entire Tribal Raid engine, which ends on Apple set Revo with a Saugus on board, which we use Saugus to grab ourselves a Brandon High Spirits,
it could still help your game plan.
which will allow us to summon an Albaz and go into Mirror Jade on my
And we
opponent's
also
turn.
expect people to go search these
I
cards
also
out.
have a
So
deck
limit
where
makes
Rescue
sense when
Hedgehog
cards are
becomes the
really
entire
powerful in
Dragon
multiples,
Link
but a
comp.
single helps aid a game plan in a healthy way. And that's
Okay.
what we hope you
So
will
now we're going
see.
to see.
We have one semi-limit. Now
There's a
semi-limits are weird.
semi
We try not to do
So
them. I
only-
don't
only
think
one
we'll do
semi-
a ton of them in the
one
future.
One
Cards,
semi-limit.
some
What's
of it.
happening?
It can be for cards that have a lot of advantage if they compound in
What'd you
multiple.
semi-limit?
But also we can
What
use
do
this
we
to
semi-
explore
It's just
change.
re-announcing
Maybe
this.
We are
We're We're semi-limiting fire.
Semi-limiting.
To match.
to make about the shape of the format.
Yes.
We said the OCD makes me uncomfortable.
So in a list similar to Yu-Gi-Oh, you have up to 3 copies of each card. So there is banned cards, limited cards, and semi-limited cards. Limited cards being at 1, semi-limited at I
If we
believe.
feel it's time for
I like PK's message in chat. Philosophical bans? Oh,
rather than going full 3,
Philosophical
there's an
ban.
opportunity
they're
for us to
banning, I think, therefore I am.
and that gives us a little bit of a buffer
No
to
way.
its impact in a larger
Alright.
scale. So again, we'll be very
So,
much so used seldomly.
Hopefully we
It's a
can
good
pick
tool
up
for
as
us
to
have
what
in our
they're
tool
saying.
belt, and I think you'll see today that we've put a lot of thought.
They need to give us some names. They just keep talking around it. They need to. So
Let's talk
push-
into the good stuff, right?
So they're gonna do it now, but they needed to lay out the criteria.
Let's
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they needed to.
Rip the Band-Aid off. I think
Yeah.
we're
All
gonna
of that
start
I like
here.
preamble needed to
We're gonna talk
happen.
about each one. Some cards we'll talk a little bit more in depth.
So I'm
but
gonna
I love
need
the little void.
offline.
It's not gonna escape.
Yo!
twice.
Ah, they actually hit it, chat. They actually banned Like a Void.
The Like a Void.
Again.
Me too, Dan. I want to leave it legal. Ban Eclipse.
We're gonna send this one. back,
Honestly,
and
it'll probably be
this
fine
is a
next
tough
set,
one
right?
because-
Oh,
Like, we can just-
so reasons why they're not banning Luna Phase, Luna Eclipse as opposed to other
It's
cards
just one set you
Yeah.
guys.
And it's really taken
is
us
because
back
there's other
to
cards in the game that can use
wasteland
Luna
sort of
Phase.
decks because
Again,
it
I,
is just
I I agree with this take. I think it's,
Also,
I think
like,
it is not that strong, but I do think it's a
The-
once
the
again,
current
like
problem
you
card
must be
is
this
the-
tall to ride this ride sort
We
of
also
card.
talked about
And
some bans being
it's- yeah,
for
makes sense.
design reasons. These
too
next
tall.
2 bans,
It's too
they're
tall.
friends, and they're both banned for both power and design reasons. In that
Law,
they
what are you
just
doing in the
play
official
a
chat? Get in
way
here.
That's a little bit too easy to bypass the rules of Illustrals. That's Tad Puff and Tad Flow.
Ooh.
Let's
Yeah,
go!
I like that.
Okay, so
The first
I like
emergency
standing on
ban in
business.
live stream.
pause. Okay, I said we wouldn't pause, but this is really important. You're probably wondering, San, what are these cards? What do they do? In Elementals, you can only normal summon once per turn, just like in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, Elementals also has tribute summons. They're called Ascensions, and they kind of work functionally like Pokemon Evolution. But instead of being locked into evolution lines, you can just summon guys over guys. Tad Puff and Tad Flow are built to enable yourself to get to your second ascensions, aka your level 5 and 6 monsters. They're basically monsters that say that, like, Tad Puff says basically take 500 damage and special summon it in an attack. And then you would tribute it for like a monarch or something. Tad Flow, on the other hand, says if you have an ice, a frost, but let's just say for the sake, it's an ice guy, right? If you have a frost monarch in your hand, an ice monarch in your hand, take 500 damage and tribute into that frost monarch from hand. And there's been a lot of cards that will allow you to also special task Tad Flow. So special summon it from grave and a whole bunch of other stuff. These were very problematic
Got rid of Rise from the Ashes, among a couple
because
others.
very few other
That
decks in
Water and
Celestials
Frost
have the
really started
ability to
dominate
push out
in many different
like.
ways,
I know
and the
Julian's
Tad
higher
Flow
really
class
beautiful from
guys
the
out
Tad Puff
there.
band.
So the
So this
Tads
was big,
show
chat. This
up
was
when
really
you want to
big.
bypass
It's sad
the
'cause,
normal
like,
Which
Tad
is
rules,
really
They're
unfortunate.
cards,
and
but
they
damn,
don't
they are
require
Like,
too
they're
strong.
cool cards, and there's a lot of cards
Well,
that
not like
benefit
this
from
lock
using
gun
them in
really
the
play
strategy.
that it creates
right?
too much variance. It's too fast, and
But
He's gonna really struggle.
elements
the
that
other
are-
decks
Yeah,
just,
Death Frog was
it's
the
the best decks that are utilizing
Get
it.
into the issues, but
You
we
know,
need people to work a little
Caleb,
harder
you
on
say that like when
The best decks that are
Lock-On
utilizing
was
these
not
cards
that
are
tough.
just a little bit too strong.
When I played the lock deck the last premiere I played in, so obviously
There's
that was
obviously
like
other
void and
decks that
stuff.
have the ability
Like, I think I played
to
Tad Puff
expedite that
maybe
process to
twice
Ascension, but
the whole day.
Specifically speaking, in
Like, I think
Water
Lock-On is still
and
going to be
Frost,
fine.
rather, it's been challenging because
That's
it's really
really
constrained
interesting.
design.
I'm
space
really
in the
glad
future,
that they
too.
decide to
Tad
actually
Puff,
hit
I can
these.
speak to specifically, has been very problematic as we create new water-related 2 costs. It becomes very hard
Just
to
play OG Foamy.
balance those around the idea of Tad
Oh my
Puff because
God,
it becomes so
explode.
easy to get these 2 costs out. And if you look at the spread of water 2 costs, there's actually so many that are viable, and Lock-On is the one that people are utilizing the most right now.
So
but
they printed
that
a
lineup
card
runs
in
deep.
this recent
It
set
really does.
I think what Dan's talking about here
that
also
discards
goes back to
itself
something
and
that,
switches
that
any water
that-
2-drop in the game.
that Josh, you said a while back, which is that because Foamy is in the format.
And
they
in
do have to be a little more
Alestos,
careful
you
on
can
designing
cast guys
water
on the
two drops.
board
Both of these elements have
with
Yeah.
your
plenty of
spirits.
other
If they
things
have the
going on.
right
Hi,
spirit
Matt.
color, so like the
Yeah.
white mana color, they have the
Yeah,
right
I would
thing.
rather see Tadpuff go.
But if they don't have the right
do
spirit colors, they don't have their effects
and not be
until
able
they
to
do
turn
have
around
the
those
right
two
spirit
drops,
color.
then
Kinda like Gemini
having
summoning,
Foamy
but not.
Kind of
and like having to
that I think is going to be
change the design
And
space
so-
of every single water
As you
2
start to
drop in the
digest all
future
the
because of its
pieces,
existence.
you're gonna see less
Being
people
able
down
to
next
switch
to
any
it.
water
How
2
the
drop
Maxx
goes a little crazy. Because a lot of the 2 drops like gimmick is that you can get to the 2 drop. It lets you get to a
Surely
3
this
drop.
also makes spiders viable. True.
That the community
Oh,
many
who's
will be
talking
very
about
happy with, and of course
spiders?
some will not
What's
be
on?
happy with just based on their favorite
Uh-oh.
decks, but I think this is a necessary
Thank you for the
step for us.
purchase set.
It's time for
Oh,
Sentinel
yeah.
to go.
Oh no, not the ad. Oh hey, wait, chat, look, it's in the Lestrals ad. Okay, goodbye.
So
Whoa!
we're going to
Okay,
ban
okay,
go.
go.
Please.
Go.
Willy Champion of Chaotic.
Let's go!
Oh my
Okay, so you're probably wondering, Sam, what are these cards? The green one is essentially Light Sworn Wolf.
Version. The card as
Oh, cool.
made.
I'm
just does a
very
little
happy
bit
to
too
hear
much
that.
and
I
doesn't
love
have
I
input
Will
cost.
Champion of Keon, but it
Happens
is
multiple
way too
times.
strong.
I shouldn't play Yu-Gi-Oh while reacting. I'm not
Is that
playing
banned
Yu-Gi-Oh.
too
I'm
much?
watching Yu-Gi-Oh.
I think
No.
that I
This
Will
is a
at one
fundamentally
is so
different
fun.
coin,
Like,
just
I-
to have you.
On my list it's at one. That's because
Hello,
I
hello,
love this
Los
card,
Vedas.
but I
What's
think that
snapping? We
objectively,
have
when I
Max
think one, it would
ADHD
be
on
so
this.
sacky.
Well, here's the thing. This layout has 4 slots in the like
There's so many ways you can do it.
1,
You can change it
2,
to just
3,
and on
4,
cast, so it's not every single
Yeah.
5.
Give it a
I like
cost.
that.
Like, there are
I will
so
say,
many things
this
that you
is
could do.
This is a card that could come back one day.
5.
Yeah.
And it'll be like 3 sets down the line.
6?
And so
Oh, we need to
having
make
one
space
sooner,
for
I think,
6 shoes.
would be really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I
guess
don't
that
want
makes
to.
sense.
If we hop down
Actually, bring
to here,
back champions. That would be really cool as well. It like motivates the champion.
I think they'd have to hit lock effectively, where it's like.
if we break it out
To me, the
this
idea is like
way,
if
so
the
how many do I
repeatability-
need?
This is, I think,
I think
I
I
will
will
be
be definitely strong
I'm
when
not gonna call
it's.
Cedar Source
It's more like
because it's
I think
actually
that
very
like,
loud.
once you rank the
Five,
first one, problem,
But
but
I think this
the
is
ban is
more
fine.
about,
7 is at the
what we're
bottom.
looking
Cedar Source cool.
Six.
This makes sense.
You hit
What we're
one,
looking
you
to
hit a second. before it turns
8
out. That's
can
the
be
thing
at the
about it.
top.
Yeah.
I've played 4 I Willies in one turn
6,
before.
Cedar Source, people call it the
Yeah.
bread
7,
lamp.
8,
Um,
9.
Cedar Soar is definitely one that I know that Josh, like when it was released,
Ten?
Josh, you were like, this card's on.
Let's say functionally
Frame
10.
I
So
will
1,
solve this by
2,
making
3,
every
4,
card a hit.
5,
Too
6,
good.
7,
Cedar
8,
Soar
9.
adds additional hits no
I
matter
had a lot of
what.
discussions
I
talking with
don't
Hat
need
actually
all
about
of
Cedar
those
Soar
cards.
because
it's
all I could think about, and this is just like he hasn't been around since then, but
there
there's a point in time where you just played like Norland Cedar Soar, and if you didn't need to go Blitz, you could just be playing 6s and 8s beat down.
Today's a much different
I
Sand
feel like
Sally
people
stream.
forgot about that really
Lot of-
quickly.
Shoutouts, Firestorm.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
No, I agree with
So,
that. actually. I agree
Alestro's
with
chat, if you're wondering what these 2
Jubilee.
quads being hit on.
I think that's Yoku actually.
Alestro's
Helios,
functionally
I
has,
think-
like,
no,
low
no.
tier light sworn in the game.
I can't believe they'd hit Centarbor like this.
Y'all aren't ready for Ectoplasm on my Blizz list? Ooh.
And so, basically, what happens is that there was a
I think there's
self-mill
also a
deck
world
in
too,
the
like if Cedar wasn't just
And Cedar Soar is
so
Light
large,
Sworn
like, the
Wolf.
defensive stat line,
It is a
just, like,
2-drop
like,
Alestro.
if it was like
And so, Alestro's
1,
doesn't
3,
have a
or
lot of
something.
cards that special
Yeah, if it was a
summon.
lot closer to Ectoplasm.
So being able to mill
Yeah.
cards and then summon a
Yeah,
2-drop
Ectoplasm's again one of those other cards that like in the
Pod.
future it's like, oh,
from the
this
grave
is
is
gonna be
pretty
bad.
strong. Even
Even
if the stat line is
But
only a
it's like-
4 attack, the
stats
fact that
can
it can do
matter in the
2
game of
damage
Celestials.
is kind of a
it's kind
big
of another
deal.
thing.
The other card that got banned, which is the actual elephant in the
like an
room,
Escape from Tartarus form, or just
is a
full-on
card
Cedar
with an
Sword, like,
insane
champion or
stat line.
something,
It
and
is a
that's just, like,
7/5.
maybe something similar to this.
And-
effect. I don't know. That'd be kind of neat.
I think the big
It
thing,
mills
I
4 cards
worry-
off of your deck,
I-
which
I-
plays
half
into the
worried that
self-mill
Escape from Tartarus
strategy,
has
right?
led them to
But for
not-
every
they have
1-drop
banned things
frost
needed to
card
ban.
that you mill,
So I would
you
worry that
have
they
the
do
chance
make
to
the
summon
FTCs
it
they don't
back
really need to
from.
make
They
because they can
printed
come back
Soul
later.
Charge on
Cedar Soar
legs.
is also
They
really
printed
good.
Soul
They don't
Charge
need to
on
come back
legs.
anytime soon. But it definitely could at a certain point if we reach an acceleration of the game.
So it's not two elements fast. It's like
I'd be very hesitant.
it's like
on
low
EFT for
power
all of
light
these so
sword.
far.
But it's like low power light sword, while people are literally still saying Summon Skull is the best card.
For it. It also feels like something that deserves an EFT since it's a champion.
Yeah,
You have that in your
EFT
mind
was just kind of a
as a
neat way
weapon.
to like.
Okay. Have
if it
that
didn't
in your
fit
mind as a
thematically
weapon.
with something, or if it like again.
Which,
we
like,
have an
sure,
edge
they put in a
ready
couple other
champs
decks that are like
can't
equally
form, so
strong.
I think it's a cool, like, design.
The issue is a lot of the one-cost fast
I agree
Electros
with
that you
And
can
also,
cast
Feels like a good
generate a lot of card advantage, will also continue to mill. Hello,
I'm really
Tiger
happy that
Mofo.
they're swinging
Welcome on
here,
in.
though. This is awesome.
We have some Maxx ADHD going on. I'm reacting to the ban list in a card. I'm reacting to a reaction video to the ban list. I'm finding out about the ban list. Like, no! You can't hit Tornagin! Why I wanna? Why? Okay, pause the video.
No,
They don't hate you, they hate me! Okay, I have a story for this one. So I got top 16 at the first event of this format. This card was in the list. And so, one of the best elements in the game with recent card updates is Solar. But no one's playing Solar because it's an extremely difficult deck to pilot. And so me and two other people in this video took basically almost the exact same list. Minus a couple cards. Mainly the side deck was different. And the spirit deck. We don't talk about that though. And so when we were testing, the list was really strong. I was helping Josh Bean Soldier with the list, testing it out. And I was looking at his, I'm like, wow, this is really strong. I feel like we're missing something to really push it over the edge. And so that is Tornagin. Tornagin is the ascension of a card in the game called Winjin. Alestos has a mechanic similar to MTG's Scry and Yu-Gi-Oh's Excavate. You look at the top 3 cards in your deck. But prior to looking at the top 3 cards of your deck with Winjin, if you call the right card, you add that card to your hand and you immediately ascend into Tornagin. Tornagin's effect allows you to take 500 damage to your life points, essentially. Call 3 different cards in your deck with different names. And you randomly add one to your hand. It generates a lot of card advantage. And so you're probably thinking, well, Sam, like, there's no way you can just blind call stuff without playing other cards, right? The problem is that Solar has multiple ways to foretell, which is look at the top cards, before you even play Tornagin. And so this card got really out of hand. But I like this card because I play this card in Absolute Jank. And I use it to find all the cards where they're like, Sam, there's no way you're gonna get off the 5-card combo. You're not gonna find all 5 cards. And I say, well, I'll just call them and add them to my hand. So I'm a little sad that this card is going. I understand why they hit it. I'm really sad that they hit Tornagin. That's my quote. That's my horse. And the horse deck will never be the same.
Fuck this card. Get out
Gosh! You can't say that!
Good.
You can't say that about Tornagin.
God.
For nothing.
Winjin ad.
No.
That's
Dude.
crazy.
Dude, no. My vaguely Middle Eastern representation, no. Oh.
Dude, this rocks.
Why not Winjin? Okay. Tornagin.
Hello, LSM Max.
I guess they're explaining it.
We're doing a Maxx ADHD stream. We have Duel Live going on in the back. I'm trying to format a layout for graph. I'm not doing really good. I'm reacting to a React video to a ban list that's coming out for the card game.
And also mention, I've been told not to.
And
look
it's
at
not
it.
going very hot right
I
now.
will also mention we do have a new Tornagen coming.
Oh.
in
Oh,
Sunstone.
okay, we have a new
It's not nearly as
Tornagen
busted,
coming.
It's pretty
Fine.
good, but it's not nearly quite the same power level.
Alright.
And that'll allow it to still.
I still
work
feel like with
alongside
another
the game.
Turnigen,
So, Winter
Winter's
is
gonna
gonna
be
Ascension
insane.
lists for
Like,
some time here.
let's be honest. I think
Remember,
it'll still be
we are
really crazy.
so back. We are
That'll
so
be-
It's
back.
fine, chat. We have a
If we're
second
back,
Tornagen. We're
Like a
safe.
Void banned,
We're
Tad
safe.
Puff banned,
So
Caesar
safe.
banned, I will leave
Second Tornagen.
Immediate
Asian
and
man.
sustained advantage, especially
Now,
if
for
the
those of
tech
y'all who don't
is
know,
much
you're probably wondering,
faster
San, why is this
and
important?
Okay, but like,
What's the lady on my
in a world that
screen?
we are
Why do we
trying
care
to
about
create,
this obscure
Now,
TCP?
solar
It has
like,
nothing to
like,
do
all
with
these
you.
hits
a
are
couple of formats ever since the rise
are
of the
insane.
Hmm.
Solar-
Y'all better remember that I am a world's competitor for this card game.
Wenjin is the thing that puts solar
It's gonna come
well.
back, it's gonna come back.
I know we don't
And
stream it.
Justin had like a build of this deck where it was just like Partisan Tornagen was your win con. It
Everyone
wasn't
else who
even,
wants to try to go for gold is gonna have to go
Oh,
through me
yeah.
first in a
Hardest
couple
end,
of
and
months.
it was
Oh,
good.
was it the Hermes Tornation deck?
It was the
Or, like,
alias thing.
Aeolus?
No,
you
not
played
the
the
Hermes
the fucking
Tornagen.
whale. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you, Sanjia.
It was really cool. It was really cool.
And I think I think that's maybe why I didn't like the Winjin ban. You could still leave that strategy an option, but it makes sense. Tornagen is too big, and if we get a title form, cool. Neat.
Tornado was one, and Lavalith was another.
Wait. What's Fire gonna do?
Oh,
I can't believe they banned Lava Leaf.
So good.
Okay, so
So
it's
this
really
was
hard
banned
to
when it was
explain
first
this.
limited, honestly.
But this
Number
card
one,
is
number
really
one,
strong.
Literal
It is a
number
2-cost fire card.
I do want to
And
shout
people
out
would
Alex
literally
saying that
dedicate
their testing, their team found this card after all the bans to be very
2
strong.
cards.
So
Literally
I-
2
that's
spirits
awesome.
out of you get only 20
That
spirits.
is a great
People will literally
information.
dedicate 2 spirits to play no other fire card than
Hold back
just
on it.
this.
The
You're probably wondering, well, Sam, what does this card do?
Face downs, I think
Basically, if your opponent has more 2 or
EFT
more
Lava Lith
enchanting
targets
spirits
on
on
face
your
down.
field,
Equilink should have targeted face
you
downs
can
too.
essentially Cyber Dragon this guy out. You can normal summon it
But also
straight
still
from your
do it.
hand without having to
good hit, good
tribute
hit, good hit.
summon.
Yeah, this is
Then when you summon
this
it,
is like a
you
weird
can
necessary
destroy
thing to hit, where it's
a
like,
wound, so like a spell attack,
it's
on
both in
field.
stat and effect. Lavalith is
and
just
it's
like
really strong.
just like
It's a
always like,
6/4,
true.
and like
It's
6 is
just
bigger
like
than
a
5,
where
which
it's
is usually the
the
max
spirit
number
investment's
for
not that
most
high.
1 cost.
if you see it,
like,
you usually win.
Essentially like
or
your
you're so
normal
far
summon
ahead.
level 4.
winning, and that
I don't know. Wait, Unk is
Very
the best
strong
lift now.
card, very strong.
True. This is an Unk buff.
Holy, Octolyph is the
True.
best lift now.
game the way you want to play it because if
Wait,
Get revenge on them.
hold.
Play Shizu.
now obviously there's other ways to remove runes.
I'm not going to play
Rip my stellar lava lith.
But they also don't come with a
Rip Josh's Stellar. For y'all who aren't familiar with the list, also
The
hello,
number one
Ward.
lava
What
lith.
the hell am I supposed to do with this stellar
Sorry for
lava
the
lift
crash
now?
out. Oh.
our next card.
You're telling me.
The hell, man.
That's what y'all get for
I had the
investing in
number one
Stellars.
lava lith.
Alestos
I
has
had
serial number
half of mine. I was
cards.
like, you know what?
Most of them are X out of 99, but some are as low as X out of. Oh my god! No!
Thank
Okay.
God.
Okay, chat.
Huge.
I
So-
called this card out in our ban list
Yu-Gi-Oh has
about- this card
Pog, which
needs
is
to go.
part of
This
greed.
card's being played in
Alestos
every
has
ban.
Nog, which is
Oh.
Nectar
That's all
of the
the bans,
Gods.
right? They
And
only
Nectar
say
of the
8.
Gods
That's been
is
8.
their
Is that
version
all
of
them?
part
That's
of
what,
greed.
Like a
It's
void, the Tads.
take 1,000
Or
life points worth of
Lava
damage
Lith.
in order to draw 2 cards.
Tornado Nog. That's 8.
Nog.
Yeah, that's all of them.
Okay, Tornado. Yeah, that's
So
all
like,
I-
of course they're
Okay,
hitting part
so
of
I feel like they have missed some really big elephants in the room that will need to be addressed. Chronodile new best deck unless the next hits somehow hit it. Like that deck is crazy and it is functionally unhit.
No, Caleb. Don't tell them to ban Chronodile. I love
And they draw into another Nog. And they're up in so much advantage at that point. It's enough to try to get through a back.
Why did I
Pepper,
pick this
you don't
game to
un-
play
you don't
competitive?
understand. You can still search Sippy Cup.
I actually started playing this game not competitive
Not
at
to mention
all.
again
A friend
the
asked me to
string
play
together
with
these
them.
pieces that can go so
Um,
tall or so wide so fast.
R.I.P. to an
I'm
era.
essentially a
So,
floor
but I
judge,
guess, like,
but not for the
Technically,
game.
like the nectar hit.
I
does
host
also
demos
fit
at
the
my
consistency of
con
some of these, like,
Hello,
decks,
food.
like Crocodile.
I just happen to apparently
Also,
be good
like
at
some of
this
these
game.
super
for some
fun
reason.
strategies. I'm just trying to.
But like for the
see-
most part, I really like
Rip
building
Trifarnal.
gangs in this game.
Yeah, we'll try for
My favorite thing to do is
This
torment my
is a- this
friends
is a
by
hit to,
taking their
like, the Bear
favorite
Bomb
list,
Turbo deck,
turning it into gangs,
Like-
and then piloting it well.
which
I also think
This is a hit to Cryolink.
But I suppose every time you put me on a real deck, I like get taught
Not my
16.
pot agree again. True, Jay. True.
That's no fun. That's no fun at all.
Right, those cards have more interaction.
Rip Scorch.
So I don't know.
Scorch is still powerful
I
on
just
its
have a
own,
lot of
but
fun with
also,
it.
yeah,
We used to
Nog
play
would
One
definitely help
Piece
curb some of these decks that are just like, I can afford the spirits.
I think I just really like the
There's
game, and
also,
I
like, the
happen
new
to
version
be
of
good
Solar.
at it.
This is a card that is just ultimately unchecked, and I think it'll be to the benefit.
Who actually?
And I'm still
okay,
having
I
a
don't know
good
how to say
time.
this, but Josh, we definitely like talking to the penthouse about this, right? A little bit. I still think Bear Bomb, like
Shout outs,
Bear Bomb list
Penthouse.
without Nog, still wipes whatever deck, right? That's true, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, completely. They don't. They're not ready for it. Yeah.
I mean, what? That list.
It was like
bands.
I think
I'm pulling on my old Bear Bomb list.
personally, the games are not determinative of Nog. I don't think you resolve Nog
Oh no.
once.
Is that when you
Monolith-
stun
Monolith
off?
was also like the worst card in that deck.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I ever.
There are
Monolith
two
in there.
actual
Or, like, when I saw it,
floodgate
I'd already
cards in the
resolved Bear
game.
combo, so I couldn't Lava
But they
Limits.
require you to have other cards on the field to enable
More
the
Frost.
floodgate.
More Ross, as the caption said.
And
More
no one really plays
After
them
further
because of that.
investigation,
Every
further
time you
testing,
see
further
Yu-Gi-Oh, you remember
sentiment,
a funny
we got that one
clip
wrong.
of pot of greed into
There was a
it.
better approach for us.
Oh
Like
man.
goes to 1 and then back
Welcome
goes to
on
3.
into the group.
So JJ is right.
Wait, what's JJ
There's a
saying?
short that A Drive's like,
A-Drive gotta take
Like,
down his
my
short
game
about
has pot of
Alestrals
greed.
making a
It's like
balanced
this-
pot of greed. Oh my god, wait! Pause.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. So we'll get to the ban in just a moment. Apparently, Mr. Dan A-Drive, the creator of Alestrals, has a short where he's like, guys, look, we made pot of greed, and it's balanced. And they just had to ban pot of greed.
I think this might have
Okay,
been
this
the
is
first
this is
one.
exactly what I wanted.
Hits the spot.
So prior to this emergency ban list, people ask me, San, if they're going to hit more for us, what card do you think? Pay attention to the wording. What card do you think that they're going to hit? Not what card do you want them to hit. What card do you think? I wanted them to hit Lycan Form, but I knew if you asked me what card I think they would hit, I knew that they would hit that form. I'm actually a little bit biased towards them hitting Chimera form, but my priorities of ban is hit Lycan to 1. Or hit Chimera to 1, or hit Bat form. But in reality, Alestrals would only ever hit Bat form, because they probably thought that if they hit Morphos Lycan form, hitting the consistency of the deck would make people feel like they didn't want to play the deck anymore. But the reality is that you only really need to resolve one Lycan form for it to matter, if you're playing it right. And you can play other cards in the game that naturally allow you to recur the Lycan form, so it's always the proper ban. But I knew that they would hit the Bat, because they thought the reason why people didn't like Morphos is that... So if y'all don't know what Morphos Bat does, Morphos Bat says when this Morphos is discarded, you can special cast a Morphos that is not Bat form from your underworld. So Morphos Chimera form is a 5-attack Morphos that has the ability to discard a Morphos and then draw a card. So this is one of the discard engines, which allows you to use Bat form. Since Lycan form can switch you any 2 Morphos, right? You use Lycan form from hand, you discard it to swords, because it's basically Thunder Dragon. You grab Bat form, or you don't have to grab Bat form. Hypothetically, you grab Bat form, you grab Chimera form, you play out Chimera form, you activate Chimera form's effect, you pitch the Bat. The Bat's effect activates to bring back Lycan form, and you draw a card. So, not only does Lycan form get you 2 cards, Chimera form therefore replacing itself. Chimera Form, it bins the deck for 2. Because it switches 2 more for us. Then Chimera Form allows you to draw yet another card on top of that. And then Bat Form floats a body. So off of the 1 Lichen Form, you're basically going +3 in value. And that's a big margin. But that's not what makes the deck strong. Morphos is a very interesting toolkit archetype. So having multiple Lichen forms means you can scope your hand in the middle of the game to however you want.
Cthulhu's
Just
less fraud.
by finding the card. But if you only have 1 Lichen form, now the Morphos players have to actually think of what cards they
just run a
yeah.
small package.
And they have a
Morphos,
couple
and then
cards that
throw
will allow
whatever
them to
other
add
you want in whatever
Morphos
deck
like
you were
in
doing,
combat.
or do the
Yeah.
Willy thing.
But at least it's not
or
like
do
a,
the,
oh well, my
the
opponent
Bioware.
opened
We
2
wanted to see what it
Morphos
would
like
take
in
to
form.
make sure
I
that
guess I just lose
Morphos was rewarded for doing Morphos,
because they just go
opposed to every
+4
other
in
deck.
card
Like the
advantage.
Morphos deck
tourists and just
itself
swinging by
is playable.
just whenever they wanted.
Pot of greed. It's first of all human greed.
And
I
although as
agree.
well, we did test the Chimera limit.
I agree.
It was devastating.
Hello.
It was way too much. We just wanted to see what we could do to
Hit
Chimera-
Eldritch and
Morphos
Actus
has nothing
both
with
walking.
Chimera.
It's
Fine.
wrong, but yeah, it's like the only
Yeah,
thing it's
so
not
it's
going
just
for.
one of those
Moving to
things
like
that
a
was
wall,
like,
wall.
Morphos as a win without
It was just
Chimera,
very-
it would be
feels more
fine.
relevant to the next deck, even if
True.
We gotta put you in jail, brother. We gotta
it was
put
one of
you in
those
jail.
things, chat, where like,
You're not gonna
thank
have
you
that
for the
second
vote.
Chimera
Personally, I
It's
don't
one of those
think
things,
so.
chat, where like,
That
it just
means
made the
you're not
deck a
gonna
little
have
bit
that
too
might be me, that's-
consistent for the
Okay,
current
see,
point of the game.
that,
Maybe
this
in
is
the
a-
future one day,
by the way.
Lichen Form can
This
come
is-
back, but
I have to sit
currently,
there with, like,
if you
they're not
don't
gonna have
hit
the search
Morphos after
often.
hitting
This
all
is
the
a
top decks,
good
Morphos becomes a
philosophical
little bit too
consistency
strong.
of like
Though I will say it is one more.
Real
Oh my
quick with
god,
AI
Virginia.
in
It's one of the more
Acrobat Studio.
balanced ones.
Select any text from your PDF.
Because the
Like,
playstyle
if
for
you're trying to hit
Morphos is
repeatability,
still low
this is
enough
exactly
to the
right.
ground that
Personally,
they
would I
can't,
still
like,
have loved Bat? Probably. But
if you
like, this is a
happen
good
to be able
one.
to generate an equal amount of card advantage,
Okay, ooh.
then you
Bioware
might be able to
one
do
is
so. But it's still a
strange.
rough matchup.
I don't
No,
know.
I
if
like
this
that a
makes
lot.
Sense.
Cryoburn is
Explain to me, 'cause
limited
this doesn't make
to
sense to
one.
me.
No.
Okay.
So Josh is gonna
So-
explain this, but I have an explanation
Okay,
as
hold
well.
on, Let me just think
So there
about
was a card in the game called Cryoling.
So this,
Cryling's effect
going
is that
to
when it
one,
hits 6
you can't
attack,
do the Infrost
it
bring back
immediately
Cryling
goes
anymore.
into Cryoling.
If you do play the Cryling,
I mean,
in your
Cryoling
deck,
goes into
after you
Cryoling.
resolve the first
So
one,
if
now
you
two
have
bricks in
a
your deck.
Cryoling gains attack for each
Okay.
frost
Okay.
Like I would never play
spirit
through
you have in the
Cryling.
underworld. So
Well,
if you
it's
play
not that I
like
wouldn't
a
play
bunch
through
of frost
Cryburn,
mana,
but like
and you expend
You
all your
deal with
frost
the
mana for
Cryburn.
damage or for your card effect,
you no longer
you
have
slam
to
down a
worry
little
about,
guy
like,
that
frosted
immediately
stuff.
goes
I think
into
that
a
this is
big
good.
guy.
We looked at what it looks like to have a cryo verdant one.
7-4 is a
I
pretty
feel
solid
like
stat line.
I
The
agree.
problem
It's
is
weird,
that
for sure.
Frost has a
Yeah,
card
I don't know.
The
I
second
haven't
Frost
one
sold
Stick.
on it yet.
In Frost 6s,
The
you can
second
discard
Cryburn
it,
It's
take
true. I
2
think
It
damage,
really is though. Like
and then
It's also
cast
like-
another
really game
Celestial from
scenario
your
that they go
underworld.
Cryling and then if Frost sticks back.
So
get a
if you
second
bring
Cryburn,
back the
and then you
Cryling
just,
like Josh
die.
is saying, right?
Yeah.
Because the Cryling turned
Yeah,
into
I just
the
read the
Cryo
Cryling
Burn.
semi-limit. Like,
You
still
bring
just
it back
takes
within
one
4
back.
6,
Like, I
and
don't
now you
feel like
have
that-
2 7
It really
4s.
hurts exactly the scenario
Essentially
you're
for
talking about.
like
That's fine. It also
not
make,
for
it
free,
makes it
but
like
like
to
Which
where
has been happening a lot.
Cryo Ling is not as brainless. Like it's to
for very
kinda
little
like Kevin had a little
investment.
bit. Like there is
It's a
there
very
is some
strong
consideration that some of these hits are like you do have to pick and choose.
And so
when you pull
limiting the
trigger,
Cryo Burn to
and
1 makes
Cryoling
it so
was
that
effectively
like
you could just do it. You could just do it like for no reason. You could be like, oh yeah, my
you
my
have to
last one
think a
got
little
hit.
bit more of
Here's
like
another
when
one.
you want to summon.
And it's just
the
like
Cryo
always
Burn
it's always
because the
morally
incentive.
correct to have a.
The other thing
summon.
about
So it's
Cryoling
like-
is that if it has 6
I think it's a
attack,
nice
it either it must ascend or it will
Frost,
die.
we don't.
I like Frost.
So
Okay, so
With the
everyone
exception
goes
of
to
a
that,
full
they're
like
saying they hate Frost, they don't like Frost.
basically when it hits 6
Check on
attack
your
and it's
fans,
your
everyone.
main
Check on your
phase, you have to either
fans.
turn it into the big
So,
guy or
if
it
you look at
destroys
an
itself.
emergency ban list, and you put Like a Void and Cryo
Like,
Burn next to
you
each
know,
other, those are not
Cards
the
just
same
go big.
level of
Cards that
emergency.
easily
I
go
don't
into
know
big
if
cards
it's
are a
emergency or not.
problem because the
But
rest of the
it's an
game's
version
not
of
that
missions
fast.
stuff, right?
To make
Yeah,
sure
Tractor
that
just
you
banned me,
get
I guess.
some
Cryo
life
Rhino.
into the live stream
Hits
format,
Cryo
some novel
Rhino.
diversity, some interesting
Which card
developments,
hit would
and
hit
to
me
make
the
sure
No
that
most?
it's
way.
not
You can just
Huh?
ask what that Ling do.
Because what we find when we do a list,
I
is
mean,
that
the cards that I enjoy,
grew
they're
and
probably
changed
not
stuff.
going to hit.
It
I think
would
the
be bad for
Tornadin
us
hit
and
was
bad for
kind of
you
like a hit
if what
home
we did
for me,
instead
but
was kill all the new cool
Yeah, I
stuff
know
and you
why,
go back
but-
to whatever the old stuff is.
so
The
the
cryo
quad
bar-
generates a
no,
lot of
cryo is
quad
good
blood
philosophy.
It's really cool.
and a lot of
And
natural.
someday someone's gonna find that.
However,
Someday
allow me,
It's gonna happen.
allow me to
You have to
enable
lie
my
to him.
silly
You have to lie to
builds.
him. You have to lie to him, Hat.
It's cool. It's fun. It's also been
Surprise
Yeah, right
question.
out
What
unhit.
is the quad that
That's
I
kinda
personally
scary.
think should
part
not
of
be
Frostex. Whenever
like-
you're not sure what to throw in, you just throw
Like
in
from the
anything
quads
and
that
then
got
probably
hit
level
or
up
in
pretty
general?
quick.
Because there's a lot of
It's
quads I
not
think
paradigm.
that should probably
We
almost
still
never
expect to
get
see some
banned.
cryo burns.
Chimera
The ones you
which is
love.
even. We still expect
I mean,
to see
like,
some cryo
if
burns.
it's just
But
Chimera,
this
like,
is
that's
to make sure
fine.
that the best thing to do
Also,
isn't
let me
what we've
update
already
the
been
Duel.
doing. And also, if you look real
Rhino,
closely,
true. Trevor, true.
it's just Ela Chicken and Trench
Sure,
Coat.
but like,
It's just a 7 that
Right,
you
nymph
get out there
specifically.
without having to work quite as hard at it. It's a little bit too much. It's a little bit
Like,
too
I don't have to
efficient.
protect
it's not
Eye
on
Wool
the same
anymore.
level as the
Ah.
cards that we're banning, which is why we're not banning it. We still want people to be able to do this,
One,
but you get
two,
one bite at
three.
the apple, and then
I
you
am
get an
sad
option
to come to the
explore new
realization
stuff.
that Blitztrix,
When we look
the
at the
only hit
process,
was Cedar.
Where
most of
else
them are
can
pretty
I
concentrated.
possibly-
I thought they said they were
Self-mill is really
killing,
in the crosshairs.
I guess
like,
if I
we go back
make
to
this
playing
a little
Warcraft,
bit
Crossnuts,
smaller.
the
we have
prior
this
list
one
pre
hit
Eye
to
Wool,
cryo
and that's
burn
still
to
strong.
streamline
If I
that
shrink
and
this a
make it
little bit and I
It's-
focus less
It's-
on the
yeah, I
big
mean, it's
wrap,
still-
I
The
can
slower
hit
game
it a
with
little
the
bit
hits that they're
more
doing, I think so, yeah. I think I
It's
see
still
them
strong.
doing 4 hits
like,
to come.
what is there to hit off the mills?
Shifting gears, let's talk.
Shiver Enjoyers rise
That's
up.
Brawl Blitztrix?
True.
So realistically, I would make this longer.
And this next hit
To
is one that I
duplicate
think
this, I can probably fit
a lot of
fifth
people won't be
line
surprised about,
here.
and that is limiting Frostfall Locagon to one
Okay,
copy.
yeah.
The Aphrodite Locagon
Explain.
deck is one that I
Very
think
happy
Leon
about
on
that.
Suicide Watch.
So I have opinions actually on this,
Future of Illustrals, and
and my take is not a very good take. I am biased towards Phosphor Locagon. So I want them to hit Champ Locagon over the Phosphor Locagon. However, them hitting the Phosphor Locagon is the proper hit because the repeatability of the lock combo only gets strong because every time you summon Locagon with the Phosphor Locagon, assuming you have Champ on the board and you heal, you're able to pop cards in your opponent's field to make you strong. I really like Phosphor Locagon. And I feel sad that it's going, like, it's falling on the blade. Because they allowed the new Locagon to be too strong in conjunction with it. So now any deck that, like, would ever want to possibly use Phosphor Locagon as a potential top end, like, I don't know, like, original water heal. Or like original water, like, Nexus, Lexus. Or even, like, water reanimator. Even though there's like other options in water food water. Suffers because of Champ Locagon, and that makes me a little sad.
in the sense that
It's
you know,
the
we have this
repeatability.
really concise game plan
We'll
deck
be
that is
here when
able
you
to
get
execute
that.
on the thing that it wants to do.
Shouts
Does
to
it with a level
Julian.
of power that can be really fun for players to pilot. But I think the challenge here is the repeatability of it. And
I feel like with
the
Tad
freeness
Puff
of it in a lot
ban,
of
this
ways.
might be too
Tad
harsh
Puff
on the deck.
expedited the process significantly.
Not this
Locking
deck
on-
should die.
Just taking Tad Puff out
I just doesn't.
feel like
I don't
play
know. I
enough
feel like it.
to reduce
You're just playing
the power
Aphoros
of
more
the
than you're playing
strategy.
Lockagon at this
We
point. Like
recognize
it didn't
that
have any
Aphoros,
results at the last
Manaros,
event.
Those cards are very strong. They're
I'm
gonna
kind of
remain
surprised
strong,
that we're just
and I think
gonna.
the top end of Lockagon being
Unless
do
there's like
that.
an Aphros hit here, but yeah, like Aphros is effectively just Tad
I
Puff
think this
2,
does look a little bit
and it's
more
like
balanced.
Yeah.
there's
But it is better to just do Aphoros control, Aphoros beatdown than.
I mean there's the deck I was running at the last event was just 1-1.
You know what I miss most about playing? Yelling, "Hut!" So I got this job. I got your pizza.
Oh, we got ads.
One lock, one lock,
Like,
and it's like yeah, fish parade was enough.
1, 2, 3,
yeah.
4.
Like it's still
Like,
good.
this
Potential
feels like an
four.
overhit.
Doing like 1-1 Lockagon though is like perfectly healthy. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
have
good.
no issue with. I have no issue with them resolving
Out
like
of
the
one,
lock
I
combo
need
once.
two.
It's when the second Frostfall Lockagon hits the board and they do it again and again and again.
feel that that is a cool thing. That is
I do like what they're saying here with like effectively enabling cool things and Aphrodite soulmates. I think that's correct. Like you do have to
Yeah.
incentivize like I think for a lot of times throughout the history of the game, Terrasail time true is that like there is a balance between what's the cool thing or what's the correct thing. And I think you do have to balance, like your players will not gravitate
I
towards
agree.
the
There
cool
was
thing
definitely like
often.
a lot.
They'll do it, but at an extreme detriment to their gameplay,
There was like very
which
cool
feels bad.
stuff.
And then creates this like bad feedback loop, right?
There's very cool stuff in the listos that the concept
it's a
sounds
classic,
really
like,
nice.
why
The
is not- why is
game
Earth
balance,
not the
like
best
weak,
deck?
does
Well,
stuff would be cool.
you know.
I'm very excited.
Wait, I have a playset of Stellar Lock now. That's crazy.
Let's go.
Wait, Yeah, wait.
Yes!
There's no way. Wait, they actually hit Solar Bush.
Oh my fucking God.
Icarus, why?
Okay. This is the card that made Solar the best deck at the start of the game. On top of like Nova Core being strong, in my opinion, this is the strongest. To give y'all who aren't familiar with Alestos an idea of what this card is. This is a non-targeting destruction that if you excavate the top 4 cards of your deck, you can pick a monster with essentially like the same cost or higher. Send it pitch it to the graveyard. Non-targeting destroy an opponent's Alestor. And then because you use the foretell mechanic, you can put the rest of the cards back to your deck in the order of your choice. So, very strong card. So if you pair that with, if y'all remember, I mentioned Windjin, which got Horned in again, you could just fire this off without having to commit an Alestor on the board. Potentially clear their board. And also set up for like future foretell plays. In general, very strong card.
On the field works really well with solar synergy.
This is so
It's not
good.
even that good.
What do you mean slow? This card's crazy!
Talking about me when I'm lying.
Oh my god.
No, it's good. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
very strong, very strong, very strong.
Okay,
We have
okay.
no before. Like we still have like a non-target removal that's committal. This thing is like
Yeah.
this thing was
So-
absurd.
And that's a 2-card combo. Like, that's,
If
yeah.
without this hit, you could just play like a control, like 7-8 removal spell. The solar deck.
Using your solar burst to set up
To Yura's point, damn, I wish class functioned, but this list kind of rocks. Yeah.
This list
I-
is unbelievable.
This list is very good.
Horse
I also
true.
wish.
Horse
that-
time.
Time to play horse. Wait a minute.
We get to play the best version of Solar now.
Let's go horse! Okay, I've been playing horses since horses released.
Me too, me too. True. Hey, Hat. Hat, wait a minute. You're live. How are you doing this? I can see you typing there. Right there. Look at that.
That's crazy. They're literally live.
At which you foretell, we would probably cost it a little higher, right?
I think the foretell depth is actually fine for Solarverse. I do think it was the.
Those are some good
It's just
Honestly, it was the removal more than the
foretell.
foretell. The foretell was cute. It was a really good added bonus.
Solar does have an identity crisis.
Having
right now, but-
both on the quad is
Yeah, haven't
awesome.
gotten to the semi-limit part yet. There can be 2 of me. True, 2 hats.
New sets,
Oh.
new cards come out, I think you'll see a lot.
This is how Draco Ray Drogalis can still win. Up in Flames about to be the most profitable card of all time.
Up in Flames, you know, eventually Up in Flames I think will be limited too.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe that shit no heartbeat.
I think Dimax proved that card is still crazy.
I think it's going to be a really
Um,
welcomed balancing change.
There's a really
Next
fun
card,
Drogalis
I
list
think,
that
is
I built
one
with Up in
that we will
Flames. It
see,
was
people
it was strong.
dancing in the streets over.
Let's
Bring it
Talk
back.
about Eruption.
So, one...
Let's go!
Oh my god. Oh. Okay, I have opinions on this card. I have opinions on this
Pressure a little
card.
bit.
So, when I first started playing
I do not know
Alestos,
if we've gotten more.
Sorry,
cards
Win the
to
Scent.
about any
everyone
card.
used to play a card called Ambrosia,
Eruption's a
which
lot.
is for
Now,
one spirit you can heal 3 spirits. You go plus 2 in health.
Thank you.
But you could pick any 3 spirits you want, so it enables people to play like mixed colored
the game.
decks better.
Is the thing
Like that's the best way I can put it. It feels like they
So I
finally
remember asking
get
one
it.
of my friends, I'm like, well, if everyone plays 3 Ambrosia, why doesn't everyone play 3 Eruption?
Search
Yeah,
for the eruption.
they
get
get
back
it.
to
Like
that.
they.
You
I
can-
don't
And the
know, I
answer
don't
is
know what
because
changed,
Eruption
but I feel
is
like
burn
there's an
yourself for
alignment here.
2
They're
to
banning
burn your
cards
opponent for 3.
The first time meaningfully, they're hitting cards that people
So-
have been complaining about as unfun play patterns for so long. This
So
is-
not a lot
this
of
is
people did
phenomenal.
it
We're so
because,
bad.
like, use the card, because it's a very high
So bad.
investment.
Okay.
It's been so
The other thing
long,
is that
Josh, it's
Eruption has a
good.
second
Eruption
effect.
is so funny.
If your
because it's
opponent
like,
has a fire spirit
again,
on their board, they don't
huge-
have to
the,
take
like
any
the
damage.
philosophical.
So you
through
bring
line,
Eruption
I'd
into like
love
a
to see
fire
it
mirror.
as a,
It's almost
dirty,
pointless.
pretentious liberal, but like
With the exception of like you're trying to use a
second
card
and
called
the third that's the problem.
Packatuga's.
It's like
But I think if you wanted to use Pakatuga's effect to spot
means
removal
that
every
you are
time you
maybe
play a
taking
bug.
9 damage with the crack.
You should just
combo.
pick a different
But you're
Alestra
not
with
then
spot
on the
removal.
subsequent turn.
But
doing that
basically,
again.
people
And so,
don't
like,
like
it's in
this
line
card
with
because
the rest of this.
Alestros is a.
Awesome. You
I
also
knew
don't have
this
to, I don't
card
have to
was
wait and be
strong.
like, how many cards do you have in hand? 7?
Because
and then
Alestros is a
then my opponent goes, oh,
resource-based
how many spirits are you on? I'm like,
but your resource also doubles as your life.
5.
And so when you play a game where your resource doubles as your life, and every card you play is, you know, essentially self-burning yourself from damage. Fundamentally, burn cards are strong. So if someone high rolls in the past, if you had multiple eruptions in your hand,
Okay.
you can have up to 3, right?
It's not a secret. Everyone
That's
ran
9
Discord code. I
damage.
cannot wait for when
And
he
that
wakes up or
doesn't
whatever
seem
he's
like a
doing right
lot,
now,
but 9
to
is
come
almost
back and be like,
half
so what I
of
missed,
20.
and then he sees eruption
And
and just
sure, you're
immediately
probably
just
going to
goes
say,
like,
well, Stan,
"Damn,
it's
this
not
game- I
likely
can't
that
wait to
people
play
are going to
this
see
game
the
again." It's
real
like-
one.
I can't wait for him to see the
However,
Tornadian bad.
They printed cards now that
you know,
search
I
eruption.
can wait for that.
And one that searches eruption really
We don't have to tell him every card. That way, we don't see like the "I was right" come out. I don't want to.
Okay.
And so
Oh, they're saying race to the
when
top
you
still.
can
So
switch
we are
eruption,
relimiting.
it means that your opponent is on a
surprising,
time
frankly.
clock
That
unless
is
they're on fight.
fine.
Your opponent's on a time clock where they will get burned.
I can't wait.
Oh, hey look, Kevin joined.
What was that, Kevin?
Hi, Kevin. Anyway,
All I hear is I can't wait to
so
play this
Kevin
game.
really wanted Tornadin to get
Oh my
banned,
god.
and that's why he came into the
Finally
call.
4 astronauts.
He was really
Oh,
excited.
yes, but, you know,
Really
my God,
excited.
2 years.
Who knew it took the world burning for that to happen, or not burning really?
And so
Equilinx,
these two cards that are
RIP,
happening,
Working Mothers,
Equilinx
Kinleo.
and
Yeah,
Kinleo.
this makes sense.
They tried to unlimit them last
They got
year
Coder in for the negative dimension.
before the emergency ban.
Drowning in
Oh,
buildings.
And say, yeah, I'm gonna run my super cool Hermes tech.
So glad he's alive.
It takes a lot of skill level.
So
Because if you just run into Equalinx at any point and they drop that combo on you, you probably just lose, and that's.
I do like what they're saying here, and that like
I think that these
Equilinx and Kinleo might not be super strong, but are
Basically-
representing like they're boss monsters. Like effectively, it's like you drop them, they live a turn, and then like you
the reason why
Or
these
probably,
cards are like kind of
like
an
it's just
issue
incrementally
is
over.
because on top of Equilinx having a really strong
So I
stat
actually
line,
don't think those decks are gonna miss it too
they
much.
can
like the really
utilize their
challenging design
Nexus
about, like,
mechanics
Nexus
to
effect
push card advantages that other
like,
cards in
you
the
assume
game
that they should
can't
be a
do.
repeatable thing that you
Every
should be able to
turn,
do every turn, but
if
when
you're
they're attached
able
to
to
a removable
Nexus,
piece,
you
it's
can
like,
pop a card
it's,
with
it's the removal
Why?
piece for sure.
every turn if you're
The
able to
Kamala
Nexus,
search,
you
the,
can pop a
The
card.
Exalter Burn, like we have proven that
Kinley.
Nexus is cool.
Frigicub.
and good. Frigicub.
Nexus is cool,
Jacob. Hey,
but
CCS
these
faithful
two
at Christmas
cards do
CCS.
Nexusing better than any other card in the
Oh,
game.
one semi.
A little strange.
Oh,
It's more,
okay.
it's more about sending a message. It does have a little game
More
Sending
about
a
sending a message.
about why we
Had
are
just
sending
pulls
a
it in
message.
there.
Yeah. So
What?
They're
Oh.
semi-limiting Ambrosia.
For this list, and I understand that this is a surprise.
No.
I have a strong
The
opinion
only
on this
deck that is
semi-limit.
at 3 right now is
A
Lockagon.
lot of decks are not running 3 Ambrosias
So-
anymore.
Yeah, this is just a lock hit. We don't need a third lock.
Okay, so hold on.
Some decks are cutting
They're saying that they already know.
This is a card that again may seem a little strange, but what we're
They're
doing
saying
with
that a
this
lot
is-
of decks
is a
that are
few
running
things,
it at
right?
2,
There's
so it's
multiple
fine to
pieces
put
to
it at
this.
2.
One,
They
this is
explained,
us
I
taking a
saw
step
people were
towards
saying they
us
explained the reason why they
tackling
hit
the
this
Omni
to 2.
Suite. We're looking at the
Is
Invos
that
right
they
now,
don't
but
want
this
to
is
encourage
if they're gonna
good
do
stuff
that.
higher,
as we remove Nectar
which
from
rely
the
on
we look at
Ambrosia
these
to be
game plan
able
decks
to
still being
recurse
effective, but the
spirits
speed at
later
which
in
they
the
execute and the
game,
consistency at
so
which
that
they
you don't
execute
have
being
to like
reduced.
make
Horizon
as many
Shadows
difficult
Stonks.
spirit
Becomes
decisions.
more impactful.
If you only
Because
example
the more
run
of those
2
you see,
fire
especially
spirits
in
for your
a,
lava vein,
tight
and you
late game
haven't found
scenario
your
where
one
both
of
players are
lava
digging
vein
for
yet, right?
resources, it can be
You
pretty
could
game
afford to
determinative,
expend those
determinative,
spirits. Take those
in
2
those
spirits
moments.
with damage.
And I also think,
It's also a
And then
deck
later when you
hard
finally
hear
find
about,
lava
you
vein,
know,
if you're in the
this is a
position
very
to
soft
use
hit to Lockagon, right? By
you
reducing
could use
some
Ambrosia
frequency
to
there.
heal 2
But I think the
spirits
main
and play
pillar of
lava
this
live.
is to reduce some of that Alestral Spirit color splashing
And they
kind of
say
the,
they don't want spirit splashing,
ability
and
to
this is
say,
if
you know,
y'all
let's
remember
run
towards
5 or
the
6
start of
different
this week.
elements, And
I
that's
talked
another
about the
that
difference
spirit, because I'll just
between
be able to
fives.
ambrosia
The
it
fives
back.
game
do not
plan
like that.
and
It's
good
tested
stuff
that one extra
piles.
ambrosia makes a big difference. And
People
without
are
using a lot
afraid
these
of
other cards,
fives, and when they
Nectar
say
of the
fives,
Gods
they
and
mean
some of
good
these
stuff
powerful runes
piles.
like the Solar Burst and
Because
so on
they
and so
don't
forth,
like that people
there
just
would
take the
be,
best
a
cards
tendency
in
to
the
just fill
game
that last slot
and
back
then
with
use
ambrosia
them.
again because we're slowing down the game.
I know that sounds
Voted
crazy.
to stop bad players
but
playing it at 3.
People don't like when people solve the format
You shouldn't be playing
We
Ambro
think
at
that's
all.
going to,
See,
Yeah.
with
That's-
This is just
a
a lock
mid-range
hazard. This is
control,
objective, this is a
high-value,
remember back in the
tempo-based
day when we
deck
were like
Okay.
certain players that shall not
that
be named were, like,
essentially
playing
just
Amber at 1, we were like,
relies
they're
on
crazy.
like playing out one dude.
Setting
Setting your back row, using your back row appropriately, and then maybe splashing in one or two aggro
okay.
plays.
I don't.
And
I actually
basically
have
running
probably
like
very
a lot
neutral
of
feelings on
removal,
this because
a
it's
lot
like,
of like
I
limited
think overall
corners.
every element has their quote unquote ambrosia. I do
And all
like
that
an
kind
omni
of
ambrosia
stuff.
because I think the current ambrosias we do have are
The
like do
thing
limit
is,
some deck
not a lot of
design. You
elements
have
like
to run
Soul
Blink, you
saying
have to run
have the
Blink
ability
to
to
enable
push
for their
spirits
deck
naturally.
archetype ambrosias to do.
Slowly, everybody's
Um,
getting more cards that heal.
I'll wax pro it.
But
pro
the
that
amount of
completely,
like,
but,
decks that have
But I think
cards
Ambrosia
that aren't Celestial
is interesting
heal
at the
are
very
few
least,
and
but
far
I don't know.
between. And a lot of these also only heal like
And I thought that
mono
was very
spirit
Yeah.
at the time.
colors,
We're-
which
we're
makes
not gonna
sense,
hit
yeah,
right?
we're gonna
You
be
want
a
to
little
like
quicker
sometimes
here.
encourage mono spirit
All right, we'll just
strategy.
dive into it. Unlimited.
In
we've
my
got that
opinion,
form already.
hitting
That's an easy
ambrosia
one.
to try to
Race
you
to the top coming off the list. I
like
think that's gonna be
discourage
great for
people
Thunder
from
decks to
playing
have
good
that.
Again,
stuff
they're doing it again.
piles really doesn't
second
do
time.
much
It
because
needs
the
a second
kind of
six
players
out.
that will
It does
play the
six.
like version of 5 that is good stuff piles. Those players that will play those decks, and like, I'm pausing because they moved on to the next one. The players that play those decks and excel at them will be able to play with the spirit math and constraints regardless. And I think that is a gameplay style that should be allowed to exist in the game because it's interesting. They're afraid of it being too easy to play, yada 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 yada. But banning ambrosia, in my opinion, ignores the greater problem. If you want people to focus on mono spirit strategies, and you're upset that they're doing these rainbow color / spirit piles, you don't hit the cards that enable the ability to run multiple spirit colors. You should just print better monocolor cards that make people actually want to play monocolor strategies. If you properly support monocolor strategies, those decks will see play, regardless if there's a good stuff pile that like uses 50 million different quote-unquote best cards from different decks. We saw this in the original base set of Celestials, where the two top decks weren't even a 5s format. They were Thunder and Earth Beat. Because Thunder and Earth had good cards that properly supported their strategies. And when you got rid of the cards that made those decks strong, hitting Equilings, hitting Viserys, getting rid of Sparket, the main Thunder Nexuser, those cards slowly saw less and less play. Then you hit Elichit, which enabled both of those strategies. And you really don't see a lot from Earth or Thunder these days. You maybe see Crabs. We saw one top 16 with Champazoo, shout-outs like Yoku. Like, you don't see these strategies playing anymore because the game has evolved past the point where, like, both beat is important anymore. So if you're properly supporting your strategies, people will play a mono spirit strategy. You cannot blame good stuff piles for your lack of ability to properly balance your cards in sets. And here's the thing. With earlier sets and a limited card pool, sometimes it's normal to have a solved format where you have like a select deck where like, yes, this is fundamentally the best deck in the format because we have like 50 cards. Now that the game is much more spread out, you'll see a lot more deck diversity because that's the natural progression of card games. Anybody who is afraid of us going back to a good stuff pile 5s format doesn't believe in Celestial's ability to print good cards for mono spirit strategies. And them hitting stuff like Lava Lift is a step in the right direction because this kind of gameplay is facilitated because they print too many high value cards that are easily splashable, or even if they're not easily splashable, provide such an advantage that it encourages players to run these rainbow decks where they only run 2 fire because it's really worth it to play Lava Lift. And they run the 2 water because they're running 3 tsunami. Tsunami's a good card. And then you see them run all these little, like, you run 3 Earth because you won 2 Viscerous and 1 Earthquake, or you won 4 Earth. And you see all this slash ability because these cards are really good. Even these cards that get limited to 1 are so good that people want to dedicate an entire, like, 10% of their resource pool to be able to run the 1 card. That's a card design problem. That is not a player-based problem.
Alright,
Anyway.
Mistress.
Yay.
Back to the ban list reaction.
Cool, good.
The most silent golf clap from all the community. Like, nice. Nice. Nice.
Unhit Ambrosia, y'all are cowards.
I can finally play my playset of the Kickstarter. full
Let's
arts.
go unlimited
It's gonna be a
Viscerous.
hard, obviously. It's gonna allow those Earth decks another tool to be able to get
This
out of
was
second
a
guys.
really
I think that this
strong
actually does
card
make
in the
it
early
require some
format.
It's like a slight buff to Anti-Titan.
Because when Viscerous runs over a
Was I
guy,
playing
it
this?
casts a
No,
Viscerous
I
from
cut
Dex
those parts.
instead.
Yeah.
And Viscerous has a bonus effect. On top of casting a guy
Stuff,
from
I
Dex,
guess.
That's true.
it gets plus
Yeah.
1 attack for
It's just
every
whenever we're putting
Viscerous
SP
on the
Little Knight
field,
to 1.
including
Okay,
itself.
that is
So it has
change
4
number
attacks,
18 that we
but is
discovered.
functionally,
That's it.
Changes as the
functionally a
That's
5.
There's one
It
thing
becomes a
to say.
6, and if you can protect and establish
Any
2
counter
Visceri,
rooms.
getting the
Every
3rd
card
one just goes
that has
crazy,
less
because
roll
now you have
or
like
invoke.
Damn.
So,
at least 7
Okay.
why
attacks.
is that? Well,
Yeah,
we're
why is
changing
that?
everything else. We got to leave something the same, and we want to see exactly how all of the counter runes that are being played right now perform in a format where the window for interaction is way larger. A lot of these counter runes feel really sharp right now because the game is balanced on a knife's edge. You've got 1, 2.
Wait, no
turns to
hurricane?
respond,
True.
Otherwise, the threat sticks.
So,
You're telling me.
When we
they're
extend
talking
that
about
to a
not
longer
hitting
and
any
longer
back
game,
row.
the
A
individual
lot of
types
people
counter
have
runes will theoretically be
expressed
smaller, and we want to test that out and
that
see.
they want back
Also,
row to be hit.
You already talked about this.
Which I'd
we
like
want to
back.
move away from omni-rune packages in the future. We do
But
have
the
some
thing
in-element
is,
runes
right
that are
now, a
performing,
lot of
one of which
so
has
there's
been called
certain
out by
rules in the
community
game
that's
called
voted right out
omnivores.
as
That means
possibly
regardless of
overperforming.
what
But when
spirit
it's being
you use
used
to
to
play
protect
them,
the frost
any
towers
spirit
that we're
can be
taking
used to
action
play
against,
them.
it's possible
So
that
these
becomes
cards
less
are
impactful.
generic, and a
You
lot
want to
of
talk us
people
through
use
your
them.
logic there?
Yeah,
These
so
cards,
Suite is
right
something
now
that,
in the
you know,
game,
it's foundational
are,
Astrals, right? This is what the game
like
is
they
built
said,
upon, these
foundational.
very strong levels of
In
interaction.
my
That was
opinion,
done
they're
by
very
design on
important.
purpose
They are
to base
low
that, to
bearing
ensure that there
cards
was
because
proper
there's no
interaction for the
replacements
game
for
was
them
fun,
in the
there was
game
ways
now.
to stop your opponent
And
from
when
doing
you
different
see
things, these cards
like
would be
them
powerful.
print
What we
cards that
found is that,
functionally
it's
replace
created
these
a
cards
system
in
where
some
over the last
way,
couple sets that a lot
that's
hasn't
why
changed
cards
there,
like
but I think
Gorgon's
Lightstream was
Gate
a really
is
good
so
step for us in
strong
terms of
because it's
introducing
the
some of
only
these
right now
counter
Gorgon's Gate is a
opened up
low
some
billing
deck
card.
space, gave players
It is
more
the only
opportunity to
card
build
in the
in their
game
element, and
that
you're
can
gonna see
stop
more of
an
that in the
effect
next
on
couple sets,
chain
and that's
from
been
an
a big
Elise.
focus of ours, is how do we introduce new cards that can do
Like
various
any
interaction
effect.
pieces. Maybe take what Gorgons does and piece that out a little bit and give it to a specific
And
element.
so
But until we have
they're
those
talking
pieces in
about
place,
splitting up
it becomes very
Gorgons
difficult
because
for us to
Gorgons
introduce
is just
these tools to the game.
inform
We've
on
tested
like
the game with no
steroids.
Gorgons, we've tested it
Not
with
only is it like
This is some brain
inform
rot,
stop
by
the
the way. I'm so
effect,
sorry,
it makes
Ari.
it so that you can't like
But I
essentially
do know that you're
tribute
being
the
called by the
monster,
grave for
you
Yu-Gi-Oh
can't
thing.
nexus
I've been
to
on
it,
the
you
game for a
can't
while,
hack
so I
with
did
it, it does
read
a
that as
whole bunch of
cockball
stuff.
team gang, and I'm like, that's
And so in the past you
So,
could bait out
sure.
Gorgons
Team
by
Gang.
True.
attacking and sometimes having
counter
the
and sweep right now.
Gorgons
So
stop an
it remains a
attack.
design focus of
But
ours
because they
to
printed
not
more
only
cards
introduce
that
new cards
like
that will allow
interact with
players
the
more
battle
options,
step and have battle
but if we're finding
protection,
that
people
the deck
now
building
lean on
remains
Gorgons
similar,
more
and these
to
are the
stop
default go-to
effects
options,
because
then,
as
you know,
they
there
print
is
more
room for us
game
to
plan
take
drops
cards
and leave
and
my
these
best friend. Trevor
high
is so
impact,
right.
high value combo strategy.
Finally, we
You
can
have to
actually
make
play
sure
the
you have
correct card.
Gorgons with specific
have
choke
the
points
ability to interact
because
with the lesser
these
effects
combo
on cast
decks
or when they're on the field, similar
are
to how
starting
Gorgons
to
can
become
interact. And I
actually
think that's the
impactful.
piece that the game is really missing right now. Is the game has to have some
What in
form
the
of effect
ADHD?
negation, in my
Hello,
opinion.
Paul.
So
We're having
you
a
can't just
very
pull Gorgons
ADHD.
out of the equation.
It's in the
Yeah.
title.
Whiteout is an interesting card. I think you touched on it pretty well in the sense that this is one of those cards that's an in-element card that has a cool way of interaction. Sure, it can be frustrating if you flip your Gorgons and they flip their Whiteout, but again, we think that with the limits to some of the towers and some of the
Okay, I don't agree with this statement. They printed a card called Blizzard Whiteout. And Blizzard Whiteout is kind of like Red Reboot. It's more like a counter trap. But it does more than just be a counter trap. It is a counter trap that says, when your opponent targets a frost celestial you control that's enchanted with frost. This is a frost root, so it's in the frost element. negate that card effect. That's already pretty strong. The bonus text says, and that card cannot be attacked for the rest of the turn. So if you have one removal spell in your hand, which most of them are targeting, outside of the ones in solo, and you target that guy and you try to destroy it, you better either have a second one of targeting destruction, or you have no way to remove that card this turn. Because even if you had a guy that could beat over it, you can't attack him. And the reason why this is kind of an issue is because the emblem in this game, Gorgon's Gaze, targets, as does the majority of other back row. So when back row is the main way to interact with your opponent, and you have Blizzard Whiteout, now Frost can functionally play almost uninterrupted. There's also a card in Frost that searches Blizzard Whiteout. So you can kind of see where this goes. But the idea is that, like, once you establish your board, it doesn't matter. I can go into a whole long rant about the iWooly thing, but they hit iWooly, so I suppose it's slightly better. Blizzard Whiteout is going to be very strong.
Are we in fish format?
Because now that there's game plan decks in a list rules, the reason why cards like Nog is really strong is because everybody's trying to fight to make sure their card effects go through. Whether it's by trying to switch cards out that get rid of back row, whether it's switching cards like Pain or Blizzard which stop your opponent's back row interaction, or it's just like repeating the combo so many times that your opponent just runs out of interaction.
Right now, it's just important that I think we keep this piece the same, but it's going to remain a focus of ours both in design.
You're going to see the game slowly get to the point where,
unique game plan decks to exist, and
in my opinion, as game plan decks get stronger,
a win for everybody.
The meta game within the game.
Okay.
Of the
we made
meta.
it. We have a
it's just how do I build decks?
Yeah, so today
that are guaranteed
when you see this high
to get
feature
that
internet,
combo,
high illustrials players,
to, like,
it should be January 9th when we release this video. That's a Friday.
It is.
This list is effective in 10 days.
This was a
on Monday,
pre-recorded
January
video?
19th.
File your taxes 100% free in the app. If you
Oh,
didn't
you know,
file with
Chad,
us
don't
last
forget to do your
just file with
That is the day
So they're
after
saying that
we
maybe in
allow
America
for
we
regional
should
to
boycott
play the same
taxes.
format and to
I'm
not
kind
have
of
their
down.
testing disrupted. Players have been hard at work in that format, and they deserve
Yeah.
to play what they've been
Yeah.
testing for. But the next premiere on January 24th, new list, new us.
I won't be able
So
to play in
that's when
this
you're going to see it
premiere
in
coming
action.
up
We're
on
really
the
excited to see everyone
I'm
play
a
in
busy
that.
gal. I
Also,
haven't been able
maybe
to
January
play
20th
in any
Casual Tuesday.
premieres in like a
Pretty
month
banger
and a half.
attendance yesterday, and I think
A lot
we're
of
getting
votes
people in the casual. We'll
qualified,
see if
so
we
it's
can break
fine.
it.
Too.
I am missing out on like
to the
format.
next casual this coming Tuesday too.
The, like, mini
You guys do whatever
format
you want, but
created
that's what
by
I'm
these
doing,
guys.
But I understand. Again, I'm not supposed to say this stuff. We're not going to disrupt the Pro Regionals casual night. I'm encouraging you guys to come to that. We hit 32 people. I want to hit 50 people. It's going to be really hype. I also want to mention that we hope and expect that this list will be the list that goes into Worlds. So just want to be clear and upfront there. And that Worlds badges are going on sale this Sunday, by the way.
This
so
is the list that goes into Worlds? Oh.
I'm
Everyone
super
has fun
excited
with
about
that.
that, and I think that this is going to open the door for a lot of things. I mean, I know digesting this myself over the last few days as we've kind of gone through the testing process and had so many conversations about it and really
like
tried to nail things down. I'm more excited to play live stream than I think I've ever been, and I think that I'm seeing potential in so many different strategies and so many different decks that weren't there because they just couldn't keep up. They weren't able to explode as fast as some of these other strategies, and now so many other decks are going to be able to function. You're going to be able
So
to
like
to
here's
put a
the
guy
thing.
in
I know
defense.
people really
You know?
like explosive
I mean, it sounds
strategies,
crazy.
like
You're
it's
gonna be able to
fun
control
and
the
cool
situation
and
not
interesting,
worry about it just
you
getting
know.
off the next turn every single time and not be able to
But
build into
like,
anything.
Can I just go to this link on
Very
the
excited
blog?
for that.
Does that
And,
work?
I think it's going to be very
the
welcome. But as
problem
always,
is that like when
please
you
leave your
have these
thoughts,
explosive
discuss on
strategies,
social media, use our Discord channels, leave a comment on the video. If you love this, let us know. If you think we missed the mark again, then let us know.
when you have
right?
all
This
these
is clearly
explosive
showing that
strategies,
they
you
do
have to
this.
keep
The thing I
in
wanna
mind
highlight the
how
most
many
from
of
this
these
this
They
is
saved
what
the
makes us
Lestrals.
become so
They saved the
explosive that it just
listen to every
swings
complaint
and
that we ever get and pivot on a dime just because one person gets angry. But when we feel and hear the community at large tell
Sounds
us something and
really
we
funny.
miss the mark, we're gonna try to fix it. That's what we're gonna do. We're
And
gonna
I know
try every
this is
time
pretty
because we have the
unusual,
same
Tad. Like, you don't
goal and
normally
objective
see
as you. We
emergency
just want us to
cameras
be the
come
best game we
out.
possibly can have.
You don't normally see
and
card
do
game
that for as
companies
many
listen
people as
to the
possible.
community.
I said it earlier. I recognize it's hard to do that.
But
for
I think that
everybody.
this is
Everyone's got
like
little
a
bit of
proper
different
reaction.
perspective of what they want out of
The
game,
emergency ban
but I think
list
where we're walking away
is
today is a better
proper.
place than we've ever been in terms of what we're headed into, and I hope that you see.
Especially because we won't
our
get
continued
Sunstrike
efforts
for several
to ultimately deliver on.
Even
on
if there's
promises
cards
of
in
the game that
Sunstrike
we can
chat
all
that are
enjoy,
as
we can
fast, if
share,
not
we
like
can be
10
excited
times
to go to
faster
locals
than
for,
Like a Void.
and we can be excited to go to Worlds.
We
and
won't
do that.
have those
And
cards
I'm super
until
stoked about the
Sunstrike
future, and again, this has
comes
been a
out.
great learning
So some of
experience for
these
us
like
as a team
really
as we continue to
strong,
improve our processes,
overly
learn from
fast
our
and
mistakes,
powerful
and keep on
strategies
chugging
do
along
need to be
deliver on
limited
these goals
while
and
we
be the
have
best
the
game we
card
possibly
pool that we
can.
Yeah, and
currently
it
have.
needs to be
Because
emphasized
like
as well what a huge
between
key
the
to
like
this
quote
was
unquote
we
like
really
top
have to make
3
sure
decks
that
or
we thank
whatever, the
all of
gap
our
between like
testers,
the
all of the
best
staff
decks in
that
the
helped
room
out and jumped in,
prior to
everyone
all
that
these
was involved in
bans
discussions,
and like
this
the other
was
decks that
a
are like
really
so
big team effort, and
is
everyone really worked
such
hard to
an
make sure the left was
insane
the best game
amount.
it can be. So, please let us know what you think of the list.
Like, maybe
Also,
the average
let us know
player
what you think
won't
of this
feel the
communication
difference.
format. We're trying to be
But,
more
like, as
transparent
someone who
and
tests with
bring
some of
you
the
up
best
to
players
podcast
in
to
the
make sure that you
I can
understand
tell
where
you
we're coming
that,
from.
like,
If
the
it works for you, let us know. If there's
difference
anything you'd like
in-
to see different next time, let us know. And
The
thanks so
difference
much
in
for joining
speed
us.
and power
We will see you.
Next time I
from
want
a
to
lot
see
of the
Hat
like
pull
higher
the-
tier decks to the decks below is just
Yeah,
Hey,
this
let's
was,
go!
So-
Marvel ass teaser.
That's really funny. That's really funny.
alright.
Michael was right behind me, isn't he?
Sunstrike.
Okay, let me find
Congrats
the
to
graphic
Celestial
thing.
Sunstrike.
Their testing disrupted.
While
Yeah.
we're waiting for the blog post to be
I'm gonna wait for them to start reacting to the blog
Okay.
post.
All
Hello, Tom.
right, hey y'all, that was the ban list.
That
what-
was the
what does everyone
ban
think?
list. Let's
Quick.
go.
Quick 1 through 10. Quick 1 through 10. Chat and
Oh, no,
everyone here, and
not
then
the
we'll go
1
into our
through
thoughts,
10.
opinions.
Oh,
This was
God.
a
Oh, God.
a absolute like fist banger of a list, barn burner, if you will. Jesus Christ. and a half.
My opinions
like
on the
1,000 out of 10.
1,000, Josh.
I think that
I-
I've consistently rated every ban
Huh?
list very lowly. This is like, I don't think that there's much else they could have
I
done.
think it's like an
other than
8 out of 10
specifically
ban
fan
list.
servicing me
I think
wanting
8 out
footage
of
to be on.
10.
Hey,
This is a
listen,
pretty good
down-
ban
I'm
list.
looking at my list of requests. There are three things.
I think there's a lot of
were
cards that they
entirely
didn't cut.
untouched that I wanted them to be.
I
in
don't agree
fan
with the
section.
Konadao, but I think they really should have hit Blizzard Whiteout.
Yeah, like
I think
that
Chains
the
of
only things that
Prometheus is
they really
unfortunately a ticking
were
time bomb.
missed, things that just me individually want gone, not
Exactly.
things that necessarily need to go.
Yeah.
It just confirms the world list. Interesting, because Sunstrike was out for worlds, right? So, what if Sunstrike is toxic as fuck? Possible. I think what they're saying with this is like the list going into worlds is that, so like we don't know the format except for
so-
specifically this, I guess. So it's like
When this
even
video
if Sunstrike is
came
out, similar to how Livestream was, they don't want to like do anything
The next set for
that's
Sunstrike,
like going to change
which would
our
have been
existing
the
testing,
intended set
I
for
guess.
Worlds.
And then we'll just add on.
There's a handful
Livestream on
of
top
reasons
that
why
and
they're
go from there.
pushing
So-
it
or not
back.
Livestream,
But
so
in
Sunstrike.
Alestro's
So it's not sometimes it's not
second,
confirmed.
like,
We actually really don't know. This is the first
major.
part we're getting about World's format is that this will be the
their
ban list,
second
which makes sense.
official
That's how
open,
Kissimmee
Alestro's
but
kissing.
just to kind of
What happened was that they made it the first
Yeah.
event of the format. Hello,
I give
Tooth.
this list an 18 out of 10 for every card that was hit on it.
True.
That's
This black
crazy.
score.
And because 8 is the number of cards that should have been hit many lists ago.
But basically, chat, like, what happened is when
Yeah,
you
I guess
have
these
an event
cards
at the start of
could
the
have gone
like
before,
a major
and are
event
just
at the start
now
of the
being
And it never
addressed.
were. Yeah.
It
which is-
makes
it's
a lot of
nice
the other players
they
that don't
are
have
finally
as
doing,
much
like, the Lava
time
List
to be
ban.
figuring out
Yep.
the game.
Huge.
Yep.
As
So
some of the
happy
other
about that.
competitors feel pretty bad because there's a couple reasons.
I'm also
One,
really glad that Nog
what if they
got
don't
addressed,
have the
too.
cards
Yes,
in order
yeah.
to play the format?
Like Lavalith, Nog,
Like, I know Yu-Gi-Oh! Does a bunch of
Ryvern,
events where they just like
Direction, these
release
are all
cards like
cards
the
that-
week
that probably
before
should have
the
been
live
hit
dance, right?
in the format.
And
they
sure,
released
Yu-Gi-Oh!
it
can do that,
in.
but this is
Like,
a
Carnation was a
Alestro.
powerhouse.
They're fundamentally
in,
different
at
things.
Dallas. Nog
And,
has
like,
always been a card that was going to be problematic.
Not every shop
Ryvern has
stocks
been insane since
Alestros.
Frostfall. Like, These are
It's
all
one
things
thing
that
if
we
you
know
could
to
say,
be
well,
true.
Yu-Gi-Oh players can
They're
just go
calling
to
it
the
the residents of
store,
Tartarus,
or
but
they
they pay
can
rent.
pre-order, yada yada yada.
The
Electro players can
I want a
also
landlord.
pre-order,
who's
right?
your landlord? It's probably
They need
Spark.
But the
representation.
problem is that, like,
First things first.
Yu-Gi-Oh
everyone
has
who's
so
rating this
many
list
players
a
opening
6 or
up
higher
that you could
has reading
recently find
comprehension. I'm just gonna
playsets
tell you
of,
that.
like,
You
They
have
lack-
it.
even
we
secret
lack
wares,
critical
or
thinking.
quarter
You
century
have
secret
critical
wares,
thinking
and time
and you
for
have reading comprehension. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
But because
If you're rating this
Alessio's player
less
base
than
is
that,
so much
you s-
smaller, so
I
much
actually
spread
I really
out,
can't
and
tell
we
you
have a
that.
lot of
Okay, so
international players,
this
it's really hard to guarantee that you'll have
this
every
list
single card
is
you
a
need.
bloodbath on levels that I
And
think is
I suppose
unique
because
to Illustrials.
not
right?
every
Like, the
player
one
has the
thing
ability
logs
to,
up,
like, proxy cards.
Is it? Someone got a link.
Even when they, like,
Gonna-
release the card,
gonna
like,
look
you
at
know
little-
every
little
card in
bit
the
of-
set,
little
you can
link.
look it up on.
Let me
Some players, I guess,
look for
properly
it.
can't do testing
little-
with that
little,
I think if you go to like the
No.
Celestial site and go to like news.
I guess it's a little bit because,
Usually.
like, Alessio's doesn't have a digital
News?
sim like Master.
Yeah,
Not that
yeah.
people are testing for
No.
YCSs in Master. Also because, like,
Page not
there's
found.
not really a lot of
It closed out of 2 tabs.
like, there's something similar to
Hotkey
Dueling
needed
Book,
2
but not
tabs.
really.
Awesome.
Like,
Go back
there's very few
Uh,
alternatives
no, I
to
don't-
having,
I
like,
don't
the
see it.
official cards in hand.
There
Or
we
making
go.
your own
I got-
proxies to be able to
Got
test
some trading card
without
game organized
having
play
any
news. There we
of
go.
the very
Nope,
limited
that's the last one.
No.
Organized play,
So it's a
ban
very
list,
unique thing
flash
to just
news,
select
generic
at this
news,
point.
video directs.
I think maybe in the future, one day,
You all
Alessio's might
is
be able to
Illustrials News
host
generic,
an event at the
latest
start of
news,
the format again.
view
But
all on
I don't
trading
think
card
they
games.
will,
That's
just because
trading
it
card
seems like
games.
the
That's the
majority of
list.
Alessio players prefer having a little bit more time.
I think it would be under.
And arguably, when I went to
under
Kissimmee,
this,
like,
right?
everything was just off of my
Um,
own beliefs and philosophies. And being at the
There it
epicenter
is.
of, like, two major
Ooh, I like this
groups
thumbnail.
in the game.
Shoutouts to
for competitive.
thumbnail artist in this one.
I do get to see two separate types of play. Philosophy.
Ambrosia in the thumbnail's crazy.
Swole, check your DMs. Thank you, Wirtz. Also, everyone say congratulations, Wirtz. By the way, we haven't gotten a chance to say congratulations yet.
Congrats,
But holy, to you and Helen.
Yippee! What's going on,
We'll see you in Vegas.
I mean, we.
Wirtz, you know.
Poor Caleb.
Yeah.
Caleb won't be able to.
Okay, so I guess before we read into this, thoughts on the
Where
video
was I? Right. So at the
format,
start of the
the
format,
work
people
involved,
kind of
just
don't like
general
to
thoughts.
have to
We'll go
guess
and
what
read
other
through this,
players might want.
this blog post together.
Which I suppose is like
I
understandable,
think
but I
that the
guess
way
from
that they
my
did this
perspective,
was really
right,
good.
is that like,
I think
oh,
that
you just gotta
especially
figure
given
it
the
out.
circumstances, they needed to do a long explanation.
You kind of
Yeah,
have to
to
figure
kinda
it out.
hash out,
And
Um,
I appreciate Alessio's taking the
their
time to do this like longer
improvements to
blog post
philosophy rather than
format.
doing like a YouTube. We're sending like a void to Tartar.
Again. But
no, I think it's really appreciated.
Anyway,
like, especially
so
the huge preamble
having
before
like
we even got to the
having
list
the
to,
little
to set everything
podcast
up for like the
prior to the list,
expectations.
I think it's a really good
the
direction
new
for
things that they're going
Alessio's
to
to
do
go.
moving forward as far as like
Because
fan
a lot of
philosophy.
players, when they see like the
Um,
ban list and they don't agree
It's all
with
very
some of the
reassuring
bans,
that something
they
like
feel
the last
uneasy
list won't
because it's
happen
either one
again.
of two things. Either they fundamentally just don't agree with the ban. That means
Yeah,
you can't
yeah.
really reason, right? Or they
Yeah,
don't
that makes
understand the
sense.
thing. And
again, I
that
think
makes
that
sense.
to the core tenets of the last ban list.
Josh!
Right, it was like they were looking at
That's my goal. That's my horse.
resiliency, and then there was a
Again!
secret third thing that
That's why we're sending like a boy to
was
Tartarus. We're cooking him in the
fine,
pizza
but maybe,
right now,
in
right
my
here,
opinion,
right
a
now.
little
Alestos.
still subjective
I
in
don't
terms of
have
like
the idea.
design decisions, because I think that
I don't
it
want
tells
the
us a lot
energy
about
for
what
this.
they define some of these decks as. But overall,
You need a
I
like
think
a
from what
boy
they were
pizza?
saying, like player
Josh, do you
experience,
Do you think like a boy
and
pizza tastes
like
good?
representation, and there was like another like
Do you think
the,
like a boy
the
pizza tastes good?
evaluation criteria they were going off of for this list, I think was
Yeah,
definitely,
shout outs Josh Bean Sword for being in
a lot
chat and being
more
in the
consistent
video in
and
which we're
definitely gave a
reacting
lot
to the
more,
reaction to the ban list.
clarity to the decisions.
What a great way
versus
to
before.
find out the ban.
Comments on the last list were
It
from
kind
Matt
of
and me.
slipped
I
past
think
me
it's
that they
still
hit
good to have.
solar
and I think
boys that make
this is like obviously a huge shout out to you on this one. Even though I know you're probably not going to take credit for this.
Y'all are happy about
It's a
eruption being
good
hit.
thing
We'll
to
just win
introduce
with
just a sort of like philosophical meaning,
Thank you for
regardless
the head tap.
of like, I guess
It's a very
critique
high
of
ADHD
that. Like when
stream.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
We
did
probably
that,
won't do
just to talk
too
about
many of these
contemporaries,
tabs.
well, years ago when they were like, yeah, we're gonna ban the Power 9, right? And that was like a thing that they directly addressed. There were parades in the streets, and they have done that for Genesis a little bit. They've talked about that, and people running the Genesis blog.
Oh, name at bottom.
I think that's something that
Tagline.
every single game, regardless of card game, personally,
I hope
needs to
I'm
be able to
doing
do
well. I hope
effectively is
you're doing
explain the sort of idea behind it. Because even if people aren't on board, I mean, hey, you tried your best, you explained it, and if someone doesn't agree, then
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like, Chad, if you
you
explain your reasoning on the ban list, people will not be upset.
y'all ready to read this blog post?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we're gonna read the blog post
Banned
too. Wonderful.
and restricted list update January 2026.
Oh.
Welcome, casters.
Thank you for
We're
reading.
here with an unplanned update to the Tartarus / banned and restricted list that will be effective January 19th. While our previous update stated that we were targeting a February 2026 window for our next round of changes, the adjustments were made to the format unfortunately had a very different impact from what we were hoping for the livestream competitive format. For those who haven't read the article, link here. To put it plainly, our previous update missed the mark on nearly
With
all
chat, you're
fronts.
gonna
The
go
limits,
into ads.
The limits that were implemented didn't achieve our intended goals of effectively lowering the power level of impacted decks. Frost players were adversely affected only if they were playing pure Morphrost variants, while anyone running Tadpuff or Tadflow found that the 1-of limit was not enough to meaningfully change the deck's strength. The Kinleo and Equilink's unlimits created board situations in which one player couldn't meaningfully escape from the pressure of the incremental advantage. Most significantly, the Lycovoid Champion of Artemis unban warped the deck construction
doing
regardless of whether players were running the card or trying to stop it. Our initial analysis and testing with the ban list led us to the wrong conclusions about the projected shape of the format. Additionally, our understanding of what players liked or didn't like about the livestream format pre-December ban list was flawed and led us to the wrong conclusions. Ultimately, we have to take accountability, and we apologize deeply for the mistakes and challenges we caused. First, that's a very humbling and very insane paragraph. I'm just gonna point that out there. It to speak a little bluntly, it takes some balls, right? I think that's one thing to give credit to on this one, is it absolutely takes some cojones to sit there and be like, yeah, we fucked up. And not only do we fuck up, but like,
I'm glad they're owning up to the fact that players
here's why.
recognize
Here's how it happened. Like,
players
it's a
won't
root cause
have
analysis sort of thing that you don't see very often.
and that they're
that's one
going
thing
to
that a lot of our players and a lot of the community
that
has really appreciated about Illustrals. It's just that sort of transparency. So
to do better. I believe they can do better.
Specifically, this one paragraph right here.
It's still a new
that does like.
You gotta give them a
gangbusters
little bit
numbers
of
in terms of credit.
you know?
I'll say that for me personally.
Absolutely, I really appreciate this.
3,
Yeah.
4.
Now it's time to make things right. Illustrals is committed to as a company to being a player first, and it's not too late to create a healthier gameplay dynamics that better match the vision of what we all want the Illustrals trading card game to be. We've been hard at work monitoring recent event data, observing and testing gameplay, compiling player feedback, and contextualizing the current format with future cards. As a result, today we have the largest banned and restricted list update in the history of Illustrals trading card game. Well, this article will have a streamlined explanation for the rationale behind our changes, effectively just saying that there is a big ban list podcast to check out, for sure. I'm gonna skip past that paragraph. That makes sense. Anything on the preamble to this one, too? I think this is a fairly self-evident sort of idea, going over just the outlining it out. This update has two primary goals. 7 would be pull back overly efficient threats and the cards that enable them. Limit or remove cards that create or compound repetitive game saves. Real quick on this one too, because I think we're gonna kind of go down by this. Do you all think that was accomplished with this list?
Yeah.
And if so, to what extent? I guess
8 can be up here.
Most of the gripes that I have about the format were the repeatable things that, like, you just get into this endless wormhole of the same thing over and over again. And, like, for some decks, it honestly was really boring to play. Also, maybe not even necessarily a problem. But even like the Morphrost things, like, oh, I'm just going Chimera, pitch bad, bring back another Chimera, and do the same thing
Yeah,
over
this
and
is
over
true.
and over
They
and
do
over
the
and over
vicious
again.
cycle of like,
And
this is
that
the
doesn't
most
necessarily
efficient play.
change, but they've made it a lot more difficult to do for Morphrost, even with the Bat Unlimit.
And
The
having that
Locagon stuff,
around
we're
is
not
like,
just doing Locagon after Locagon after Locagon. And a lot of the power cards were addressed.
I think 9.
And I think even for some decks that weren't necessarily
flex spot.
top strategies,
9 is like the flex.
it is felt that like, okay, if we hit these top decks, what are the next issues?
Mhm.
And those were
So that's something to
also
bring up, Chad,
addressed.
is that when you hit like
Um,
certain decks, you have to
It felt like there
consider
was a lot of
what
like
decks are
forethought
going
going
to like,
into
come back
what
out.
could potentially be issues.
So like,
given
if you only hit the
X, Y, or
top
Z
decks,
hits.
and you
And
don't
I
hit
think
the
they've
decks
accomplished
that are like the third strongest
all
deck,
of those
like,
things, the efficient threats.
Yeah,
it creates problems.
I agree. I think that, so kind of to summarize the next couple paragraphs of it, effectively just laying out that there is some philosophy around trying to avoid good stuff pile, and some of these efficient one-cost Celestials and removals, and they were heavily trying to redefine what cards they were. And to kind of Josh's point here, they are trying to address both aspects of like data and also player experience. I think that was maybe like a slight difference before.
Like that is a big thing to point out as well.
Or maybe not difference,
it's
but
like you have to fundamentally realize that.
I think so. I've always said this too, that
it's a hard balance when you balance a game.
That it is very much like threading the eye of a needle, right? Like
you can't just balance solely off of
data.
data.
Doesn't even look like itself anymore. Change the other direction, and you haven't moved the needle quite enough. And so I think that's kind of
because like if you remember when they hit Math Mech and Macedor,
these sort of incremental bandwidth
and they hit
that we've
diameter,
had so far is that it feels really nice. It feels like
I always bring this up as an example, is because they hit diameter based on the data.
Unrecognizable.
It showed that diameter won more games
though,
than
sometimes you can
circuit.
have unintended.
But if you looked at the greater span of
the
reason why diameter had a higher win rate than circular
really forthcoming and really,
is because people would always hit circular with like Ash Blossom or so on the hand trap.
I found myself at a time in my career where
So the players that would have diameter,
I chose Purdue Global.
That's a hard balance.
Either didn't get their circular hit or had diameter after their circular hit.
It might have to happen again.
And that's why, like, part of the reason why diameter had a higher win rate.
Level out.
I think diameter as a ban does affect the deck. Like any ban you make will affect the deck.
Is so back. True.
I'm not saying that these decks that like get hit don't walk away scot-free.
Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that like sometimes
they're deeming problematic cards. A card subject to be
cards
banned if it has
that
a
like
powerful
get
game
hit or
effect
cards that they don't
naturally
think get
drawn,
hit,
and
if they're
highly
not keeping up
powerful
with the
search.
game or even just based off of
These cards are often
philosophy,
unhealthy for the
right?
game, or unhealthy
It will be
pieces
different
that
from what they
cannot
might
be
expect.
modulated in a healthy way.
Like they
Cards
thought
are
that no
banned
one
this
would
way
play
would
like
be
a
marked
void
as
outside
candidates
of Luna,
for
which
an
is why
escape
when
from
they
Tartarus
unhit
title
it, they
card in
said
the
it
future. However,
wasn't
not all
splashy.
cards will receive this
But
title.
people just put
A
like
card
a
is
void
subject
in
to a limit
everything
if it's
because
part
they
of a
can.
game piece that aids healthy
Like
game
what
plans
you
in a
could
singular
expect
card,
the game.
but has too much of a compounding
Which is like
advantage
how
when it
like the
comes to
players will
first
actually play with the
play.
game at large is fundamentally
We expect
different.
players to include cards
And how that
like this in
affects
their
the
strategies
game
as search targets and
It's
should
also
be game
different. Like
defining
some
when drawn,
cards like
naturally over the
don't
course of the
auto
game.
win the game.
A card subject for a semi-limit
But
if
create
it is
either
disproportionately
toxic or
impactful
unenjoyable
only when
play
played
styles.
at
And you
multiple
have to
targets.
keep in
Semi-limits are
mind
the
of
most
that, too.
unusual change we could make, and
Like if
are
there was like a deck
exploring
that
other
took
ways to
20
use
minutes
this
on
tool,
their turn
including Phil's
to facilitate almost an FTK, but it didn't
18
FTK,
cards.
right?
Thoughts on
You would still
Microwave,
hit it, even if it
Tadpole,
didn't
Tadpole.
FTK.
These were
Because you
previous
shouldn't be taking
MVPs,
20 real
and I guess
minutes
we can
to
also
like
talk about,
combo.
Equilinks and
Like
Kilians
having your opponent just
Balance
watch the
if I want
unskippable
Thoughts on
cutscene is like
these?
not enjoyable.
All deserved. It's all.
Even if it didn't
this is what
FTK.
the prior list should have
The
been.
fact that it just takes up like however long to
Yeah,
like do something.
like,
I know this is a very
Tadpole,
extreme
Tadpuff
example.
should have been banned
But
in the
like
first
the
place.
data
It felt
would
like they were too
show,
afraid
right,
to
that
do
that
it,
deck wouldn't win.
as it's felt like they've been historically.
But
And then a champ like Avoid never should
the
have
fact that you waste 20 minutes of
Yeah, never should've
someone's
come back.
time, even if you don't win, is still a
Yeah,
problem.
I think
you know?
to the level that Tadflow, Tadpuff, Like a Void
It's like
is one of those ones
it's
where it's
stuff
like,
you have to address.
again, get what they're trying to do. A little too powerful still. Maybe the cat out of the bag just one more time eventually. I don't know. I think on some level, I agree with the fact that this was maybe that Like a Void was.
We're gonna call
It's
this
not
10
as
through
powerful
12.
as it was still, but
We're gonna call this 10
I'll
through
point
12.
it back to. I'll keep on reusing this line. It's a gatekeep. It's just how tall is your deck? Does your deck have both answers? Can it play with and without? I think that it is format warping and deck building warping, and that's effectively the only thing that I don't even necessarily think this card is that powerful because we have answers in the format, but I do think it is a little too much still. A little too much.
And we have 9,
tap flow,
and
feels bad when
this
you draw them,
bottom
and you can
slot
still
here
search
is
them,
like
and it just
extra
yeah.
space.
Same.
And I think this is a
Woolly
good
Champion of
layout.
Kion and Cedar Soar.
I know
These
y'all
are two
don't
new
know what
ones.
I'm working on with this.
Talking about these ones.
We did talk
I mean,
about these
Iwooly-
bands.
I love this card.
Iwooly needed to
adore
go.
The
Iwooly
Iwooly
needed
stuff,
to
but
go.
the fact that it can go so wide so easily is just way too much.
It's so
way
charged
too
on
much.
legs, and it's not
Yeah.
once per turn. Well, okay,
I'm
I mean,
really
it's
glad
not
you
once
worked on
per.
this card.
Okay,
I think
it
it's
is once per
It
turn.
is just
Pause.
way too
Like,
strong.
there's-
It is once per turn. But it's once per turn per copy. And so the reason why they hit Tad Flow is because hypothetically if you had Iwooly in hand, or if you had an Iwooly on board, you could Iwooly hit Tad Flow and then use Tad Flow's effect to take 500 damage, go into a second Iwooly, and then use the effect again. On top of having a 7-5 stat line, it's really strong. And then if it sticks around, it can do it again next turn. So let's say, okay, you say, I can't get rid of Iwooly, but let me get rid of the other, like, 2 or 3 little guys they have on board that they summoned off of Iwooly. Iwooly can just mill its deck. And then summon more 2 or 3 little guys. As many times as it wants. Or if it hits Cedar Sword, aka Light Sword Wolf. Now you have Iwooly, which is the 7-5. It's likely going to get through whatever card you have in defense. Assuming it's like a 1-drop. And then now you're gonna take 2 to the face because of Cedar Sword. It's a whole thing.
There's not a whole lot of talking about it.
It can
Yeah.
come back as like
Oh,
a
hello,
EXE,
Bam.
you can only bring back
Welcome on.
Kion,
We're having a very
Champs or something like
ADHD
that.
stream.
Yeah,
And
My
it
usual
could be too
streams
strong 'cause
aren't
then you
like
could hit counter
this,
anything
but I
with
have
Iwooly.
stuff I need to
I
work
think that's
on.
kind of the weird part is
I
that,
wanted
and
to
maybe
watch
that-
this
by that
video
time,
that
that's
my
like
friends did.
maybe I don't know.
And
I
we're
think that
watching Duel
Iwooly
Live because
is funny to me in terms of
y'all
I like
probably have no
the
interest
fact,
in
I like what
Alessio's
Iwooly does.
Live.
I like the deck. I think that it is.
But I
very
have an
strong,
interest
very
in
fast,
Alessio's at Live.
But
So enjoy your Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel
it's the second one that
replay.
gets you. I think you can deal with
Ayo,
one,
what?
but
That
the problem is
would
one
be
does get you like infinite advantage,
goat, my
and
goat.
it's the fact that you can cast up to like any amount of the frost. ones.
Actually,
I
that's
think if you did
really
one,
good in Mouse.
there's a possibility where you go Catarant
Because
and
it is
hit
just
another
not
one of Iwooly, but I think at that point it's like I don't know. I think
Anyway.
that there's a lot of layers to this card being strong, and they all would need to be addressed really early. So,
Iwooly is a strong card. I'm glad they hit Cedar
Cedar
Sword.
Soar. Good pick.
Iwooly was far too strong of a card. To be allowed
I will
to
say
be
the one
around,
thing that I like
the
a lot
stat
about
line
this list
alone
is that
already
it
insane.
feels like
the
it's doing a
effect
lot
being
of design
repeatable
decision
crazy.
hits.
The effect itself
I-
already insane.
Like, I lament Tadpuff being hit because I think that Lakagon just. I know, Josh, you're saying it still exists. I think it doesn't exist as a deck after this list. Like, I just think that Lakagon is now Aephros 5s that randomly has a payoff that sucks when your opponent hits it.
I think
I don't
Lakagon
like
is
that
still
conceptually.
around. I think it's just not the Lakagon that people want. I think the flip side is you could still play Lakagon. You
But
just have to
Tadpuff is
play
a card
more
that
into
shouldn't
either
exist. It's just
Formula,
unfortunate
like
that
what are
now
we
a really cool deck that I have enjoyed
So-
playing doesn't do anything, and we know it doesn't do anything because we've
People
already
say
seen
it
not
does
perform at the
nothing,
last
and I
event.
think it's because they got
But
too
overall, I
used to
see
the
a lot of philosophy
pushy,
hits that I
super
agree with.
fast
It just
Lakagon
sucks that it
gameplay.
also
When in
means that some
reality,
decks
like
that
the
are
way
cool
that the
just don't
cards
exist
function,
anymore.
in order to have a payoff as
Yeah.
big as having two boards,
I think that's fair.
board,
I
it
don't
should
know. I
be
think
a
the
deck with a
Tadpuff.
lower like.
I think it's in the same vein, right? It's
Oh,
like
I mean,
when I see.
I'm not gonna
the
tell people how to
philosophical
live their
hits,
lives, but I'm
like
sure
Cedar
there's like
Soar,
reasonable
like
ways.
Tadpuff. It is. I'm actually really
to do
okay
it.
with it because you can read a lot into
It's honestly just
the
OG
type of
foamy
gameplay
into
that
OG foamy.
the
Into
testing
new
team, like, I don't really know how to,
new
like, put
foamy
this,
switch Aphrodite.
objectivity,
And
I
then
guess, on
next
them. It's not
time,
a definitive
switch
statement,
the
but, like,
foamy switch Lakagon.
like in Yu-Gi-Oh, for example.
And like,
for
sure, you
years,
can't fire
people were
off
like,
the
you gotta
combo
hit Sky
right
Strike,
away, but like,
you gotta hit Elblick. You
you
gotta
shouldn't
hit
be able to,
something.
like,
And they would do either
immediately.
light hits or no hits, and to
like
me,
after
people
one
would,
turn,
like, it's back in the day.
go
this
into
again,
an insane.
so at this point,
It's
almost 10
very
years ago, Jesus
unreasonable.
Christ.
If you
But,
have the pieces, I suppose you have it.
like the really easy read
What
that
is to
people
why,
I
like,
think weren't getting was that it is
On
clear
top of part of Greed
that
just being
this is a
strong.
type of gameplay style or type of gameplay deck that they feel like represents the game well, or on some level they like the gameplay loop that it provides. And I think that like they mentioned it here, the Blistrix line is still intact, and I think that's I don't know. I think it's still powerful, it's still very strong.
I think Blistrix needs to
Blizz and
eventually
Lockdown, I
get
think, will
fixed.
still
The reason why
exist
they
in
left
some
Blistrix
way,
alone,
but
it's probably
this
just because
is
they're afraid of
definitely
killing high
hit
end
to those things.
and also because up until I Willy Blistrix
in a
does
way
have
that I
the
think
ability
maybe
to
makes
just
it
not
healthier.
hit them most
Lakagon
correctly.
can no longer
Same
be, I'm
thing
gonna
with,
take a
like,
bunch of
Cedar
damage
Sword
and just
being
randomly swing
hit
down my
as
boss
well.
while also applying pressure. It's like
It makes
you kinda have to do one
Blistrix
or the
like
other.
less consistent.
Because it is much more
Because basically
committal
what you would do is
to-
Blistrix
to
is
go
kind of
well.
like the JD
and in a lot of ways it's worse.
It already
of
was.
Yeah.
It already was after
Blistrix.
the last list,
It-
which is why we saw
it's
it
a
not really
self-mill
perform.
strategy. So
Yeah.
you like mill until
And
you
I
get
think
That's why
a
it's kind of unfortunate
this
that we see such hard
2-drop
hits. Like,
light
it
swan
didn't do
wolf
anything after
a
the last
level 5,
change.
right?
I-
A level
I- I
5
don't think
once
it was
on
just 'cause Like
board,
Avoid
and then
existed.
in Alesto,
To be fair, like
If you
I
have a
went through,
level
like, all, like, the
5,
lock lists that I
so you
could
can either
find,
go into a
and
level
I didn't
into a
like
3-drop, which is essentially
almost
like a
any
level
of them.
7 or
Sorry,
higher.
Soul.
By even
Listen,
attributing
Trevor
2
and I, we
level
threw
4
together,
monsters, so
we were
like
just like,
2
let's
1
run.
drops, right?
Yeah, they're not.
It's like,
Or attributing
So-
1
Fair, but, like,
level
I don't know,
5
like,
monster.
is because
Or a level 4 monster with 2 skills, which makes it functionally equivalent to a level 5.
like
So the
I-
fact that
I
you're
don't
able
know.
to get out Cedar Store, if you can
and a lot
keep it
of
on the
that-
board,
that was
you should
also
be
due
able
to,
to
like,
because
Void,
it
not
has
even
a
just,
6
like, the lock
defense.
stuff.
It's a huge
Have you
challenge.
considered that you're just built different?
I think that is a strong
No.
consideration you need to start
I
making,
don't-
Josh.
Yeah, have
Like,
you,
I hate when
played-
people say that Josh's
No,
opinions
zero
or Josh's decks
self-reflection
weren't
here.
good
The
or
lock
the
of
decks
Void
were
is good.
bad, yada yada yada. Because he's built different, the deck
But
goes
I
I
crazy.
played Lock at locals on Monday, and it felt. I was playing Barrel Boss that
Yeah.
sided into Lockagon, so it's not the same.
Okay.
But when I played the Lockagon deck, part of the deck, it just felt terrible because I was like, I'm just playing 5s. I'm winning with 5s, or I'm like in this uphill battle to try and resolve Lockagon that maybe gets me back in the game. Most of the time it doesn't because they have 3 back row. Like it just Lockagon has been a rough deck to exist after they banned Hurricane and Helios, and then.
I
They
mean,
hit Tadpuff,
if
it's like,
a
okay,
deck
now
is
it's
suffering
even worse.
because they
I
banned the
just don't
cold
buy
wave
that it's fine.
and they banned,
Yeah, I think Gone Fishing
Heavy
is,
Storm.
like,
doesn't
it
that
was
mean
always-
that
it
the
was always,
deck
the
like
strong
clearly
thing the
is
deck could
balanced by
do,
interaction?
and with the explosive back end.
I don't know, chat. Call it a hot take if you want.
And it's like,
I think
I
of a
remember
deck
even in Kissimmee,
when
the hardest
Heavy
parts of Lock
Storm
to deal with was
and
always
Cold Wave
a 5
are
turbo, because like
legal.
every player is prepared.
It's
for
like the best
when
deck in the
Lock
room,
Champ
almost
drops,
uncontested.
You know, do X, do Y, like the binary.
And
sort
then
of like
post those
counters,
cards
I
getting
think kept the
picked.
deck in check in a very good
Is
way.
no longer the
But
strongest deck in
in
the
that
room.
version of the list, Tadpuff was kind of the difference maker, and to shout out to Julian on this one, into seeing that like
Doesn't it mean
you could just wait until your time was right to strike
that you've
with the lock
properly
combo, and that
balanced
was
the
big
deck?
difference. And
Like
I
a lot
think
of people were
in our
citing
current iteration of
multiple
Lock,
back row in
quote-unquote,
order to like counter the
fish
deck.
stuff, the best thing to do is
And
is
in a
next to
game
Day
with
Process.
siding, I suppose
It's
that's like
to
to be
gain
expected.
advantage to play
right?
back row. It's not to
It's
do
to be expected that your
in fact.
opponent
A lock
is
was
going to
often- is
side
oftentimes
into
too
stuff
committal,
that
but-
counters you.
Exactly.
And you
And I
kind
think
of have to
that's-
anticipate that if you're
it's
playing the
like
best
that.
deck in
it's
the
a set of
room,
payoff that I think
people
is
are
weird,
building their
for
decks
something
in
like
order
this.
to
It's really funny
challenge you.
because they talk about.
I'm not
trying
trying to say that
remove 5
Lakagon
good
should have
stuff
died in
decks,
a
but, like,
ditch or
that is what
something,
Aphrodite
like-
is now. Is it's a 5 good stuff deck.
Like,
It's just, like, a
fundamentally,
water 5 good stuff, and they
that's
like
kind of-
designed it to be that way.
I think it
And
maybe
that's why I think it's kind of weird about this.
like
AI is
fundamental. Oh
transforming
my god,
customer
no, there's
service, and the leader is
advertising.
Finn. We win in all the benchmarks, and the
I think maybe the other thing is
Like,
to
does that
push
make sense,
the
Chad?
other
Do you
unintended
think
thing
there's
is
any
to push
legs to
other
that?
players to different types of water 2-drop strategies,
I think there's
or
like
to other types of water strategies that weren't just default.
I think
No,
that
just
the
put Chronodile
argument
list and
that
it's disgusting.
Yeah,
Like,
Chronodile.
it is basically
with
A
ugly.
deck-
It looks almost identical.
Caprigal.
seeing
Yeah, why
a
Caprigal, I don't know.
decrease in success
Jovelin, like you have
Oh, Solid,
upon
this is how
banning
Solid gets no way.
unironically
Heavy
true.
Storm.
I played the side
And the
coastal
banning
from the last
Cold
list, it was
Wave.
awesome.
like
No, I think that's fair. It's
sure you can make the argument that like
I
other
personally don't
decks
have a problem with it, 'cause I
also
do
like
think that there is
didn't do
an
as well
argument
when
to
they
be made
banned
that
those
Lock-
cards. It's like, well, have you ever
Lock
considered that maybe it's
was
because like
and is this sort of like
those decks are strong
weird
when they
beast
go
where
off
it is
uninterrupted?
just really good, but also
Right.
really bad. And again, goes into
The
like
decks
Dragon
are
and Needle
strong
thing
when
where
they
it's
go
like,
off uninterrupted.
What are
And that
we
kind of
incentivizing our players to
gameplay
do?
is unhealthy sometimes.
And Hurricane
I
isn't
don't
a tool I think we can really have back necessarily. I mean, it might be.
Yeah.
I
People
don't know.
might
Again,
call me a
limiting
hater or
countermeasures also
something,
have
but
to
like
be
I think
the
there's just
other
far
part of
too
it, where
much
it's
like
multi-layered thing with the fish.
the reason why it matters in Celestials more than it does with
Yeah, I don't
Duel
know. Pseudosaur good hit. I think Pseudosaur good
is
hit.
because the only interaction you have in Celestials
Tornadin.
is that there's no hand trap.
Tile form.
There's no
Coming
like
out.
imp from hand, there's no Dominus
Neat.
Impulse, there's no Ash Blossom. You
That's
really
fine,
make
card's gone.
endboard monsters that can like target
Yeah.
and negate the there's no
I think
quick
it's,
effects on Celestials that
I think it's good.
can't
It's just
function
good.
without,
it's just
like-
good.
condition.
Solar is far.
A win effect,
Like,
like
Solar's
when
still
your
probably
opponent
one of the
activates
best
a
decks after
card,
this list.
that's not a quick
But I'm glad
effect,
that they
that's a
Turn the power
conditional
down on
effect.
that deck a little bit.
And the closest thing to a quick effect would be
100%,
like setting up
1000%
some
Champ
kind
of
of
Ares.
combo.
I think Champ of
In
Ares
order
would be
to
cool.
trigger
I
your
think it'd be
card
like
off of a
the-
siege
like a cool
effect
Tornadin
beyond next
with a bunch of armor.
on
Neat.
your opponent's turn. And that still requires you to have back.
But I think
Like the only interaction
this
you
card ticking
have with your
time
opponent
bomb.
in Celestials is back.
Which
is why Heavy Swarm is
I
strong.
think that Winjin into whatever
And
the
I
next
think
Tornadin
if
is
your
cool.
deck is meta
It
and
definitely
everyone's
gives
siding
Foretell
back or
and
forward
those
and
type of
it's
strategies
seeing
something
less
that, like,
success. I think that's
work.
normal.
Once again, it's werepup issue.
I call me
where
crazy. People say that
Winjin,
Lockagon is dead,
unless
it's
a
not
tile
good
form,
anymore.
unless there's
It's
like another version of it eventually, will just say you cannot
there are
print a
other
broken
decks
Tornadin.
outside of Lockagon
That's kind of another thing that this is signaling.
that
where it's
either
like,
won't
you
play
got,
or
like,
likely
Winjin is
saw
another-
less success
another card that's going to be
because
like
they
that.
were equally
Again,
weak
I imagine there's
to
going
the
to be some
side
combo
deck
in the
cards
future that's
that
unintentional,
Lockagon
but it's like
sets up,
you
right?
you can get multiple Winjin out in a turn, and then
And no one
multiple Tornadin,
complained.
It's going to be like the snowball effect.
No one's complaining about the
Yeah.
fact that like up
But
until
Nimblesaur
recently
has
no one
seen
wanted to
Snowball.
like
Listen,
maybe
Nimblesaur
they
goat.
don't share the same opinion.
Shout out to
I
Nexon.
didn't even want to touch Draco Ray.
Lava
I
Lake.
wanted to play
Hit.
Draco Ray, but I said I couldn't because everyone's running Sport Food
This
because
one.
of
Get outta
Lockagon.
here.
It's like
Should've
playing
been
certain
banned.
graveyard decks. We know that everyone's on Bestial.
I find it's so
You know,
strange
like-
that like
Saying, oh, I can't play like
Lava
my
was a
dank
ton of-
rogue deck
not like a
that like does
ton
this
of
effect
play,
because everybody
before
is
everybody
on
started
like
playing Chains of Prometheus,
well,
and then
okay,
everybody
close
was
that. Everyone's
reminded
on
how good
like
this card was because they were already playing the Fire Spirits.
if everyone's playing like
Classic new toy syndrome.
ghost
Yeah.
spell.
This is
You
definitely
probably
a card
don't
that
want to play a
falls
deck
out of favor, and
that
then people
has
are like,
graveyard effect.
wait, yeah, I'm comfortable by Spirit
Wait a
Path.
minute. That's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
And like I know that's kind of like
That's
a
always been problem
maybe a
with Lavalith, is the
hyperbole
same
and
problem that I think I have with
oversimplification.
Vertilith.
Basically, I'm just
I think
trying to
the
justify
defensive
that, like,
cards that or cards that have
I
defensive
don't
effects,
think
I think
there's
can or
anything
should be a
wrong
little more
with what
offensively
happened
heavy
with Lockagon.
to balance out the fact that they're not very like
I think if
like,
what happened to
offensively
Lockagon's playstyle you don't
statted, I guess.
enjoy.
Lavalith
I'm
just
sorry
reads,
that the
I
deck
can hit
has
over,
changed
and this is
from
no
this
joke,
like I have an
90%
auto
of the
win
cards in the
button
game and also
to
remove back row. That
I
is kind
don't
of
have
the
an auto win
over-tuning
button.
of a card like this to me, and there's a lot of cards in Lestrals that are like
and
this, where
sure,
it says
sometimes
like,
you can resolve
I can hit over
Lockagon
a
combo and like
sizable majority of
Right.
Lestrals in the game on
Well,
stats
gaming.
alone to represent a threat
It's
and to even
different.
represent more removal. Like, how many times do we sit there with a 5 and go,
Right.
I'm going to hit over your Lestral?
Lockagon is a
And
very
that
complicated
takes out a back
situation
row.
because
So now
on
that
top of
Lestral's
the
got
deck
back
being
row.
able
Well,
to
that's
like
that's the
consistently
nuance.
get
Every
off the
card is
combo,
P-Gust.
which requires like tap puff or do it
And
uninterrupted.
Lavalith is like
requires,
P-Gust on
Helios.
On
Cherry
Mega
and Rye,
Steroids.
which is like a trap card version of Cold Wave,
So,
which by the way only
I think it's
affects
even
your
less the fact that,
opponent.
like,
they
there's
printed Cold Wave but
every single
better.
thing about
Okay?
Lava is just
They
really
printed
good
Cold
with it.
Wave, but it's a trap
And
card.
to me, it's both
And you
like
can still activate
a
your
boss
spell in trap,
celestial
but your opponent can't.
and a really cool card. Unfortunately, I do love Lava.
Really strong card.
All the lists are
And
sick.
Heavy Hurricane is just Heavy Storm. Like, the fact that the deck saw so much success when it could play uninterrupted, to the point where we're like completely blowout
Neck of the
game,
Gods.
shows that like the deck was too consistent, it was too high power, and probably a little bit too fast.
But it is what it is.
They got rid of those
Yeah.
cards, and it was still seeing success.
I like this one.
The deck was still
I was
too
hesitant,
fast for the
honestly, to say
format.
that this was
They took
one
out
that I would
Cat
like right
Buff, which
now.
made
It's
the
definitely
deck
ticking
fast.
time
In
bomb.
my opinion, the
but,
deck is still strong.
but good stuff.
Now people are upset because they feel like they
Honestly, it's
can't
probably less of a
facilitate
problem
the same
when
level of
the
gameplay.
faster
It's like,
decks get
well,
brought down a peg, but like I don't
I
want to
think
wait
you
and
still
find out.
can.
It's better to just have
it's
it
just
go.
not the gameplay
Yeah.
style that like
Agreed,
you
agreed.
want. People don't want to
Limits
have to
up
play
all
the deck
bands.
slower because they're so
Good
used to
bands.
playing.
I think.
fast.
Is there anything that they missed band-wise?
I don't know what else to tell you, Chad.
Yeah, Chronodile. Chronodile massively
In order
will
to
actually be a
balance
very
the
good
deck,
deck, and I think that Farrageist
they
should have gone
brought
it
down
just
this-
because I hate
the
that card.
deck. And you're still not
Like,
happy with
personal
like a
bias against
flood
Farrageist
strategy,
aside, which I
which
do
is
think it will be a
still
very strong
super
deck, and I
fast
think that it
gameplay,
is
in my opinion.
something that
Compared
we will
to
see crop
older
up a
lists.
lot, and it will be very unfun to play against. And
Maybe you
very
don't
strong.
like mid-range
Chronodile is
control,
something that I just threw together a list
which
for.
is
It is
kind of like what the
basically
deck
unchanged from how I've
has a
been
little
playing
bit
it.
become. Maybe
and
I don't like
it
the
is-
mid-range
it is
control that the
disgusting.
deck has
Like, it
become
just exists
unlockable.
as
Like,
it always has been.
it's
and
kind
we're
of the only
less
other
easy to
direction
deal with
the
it.
deck can go.
Like,
Unless
Locking
you
Gun
want
was
to
the
play
biggest- was
hyper
one of the biggest things that
defensively.
dealt well
But
with
guess
it,
what? They don't want to
because
play
you
hyper
can
defensively.
stop them by
There's at least
turboing
3 other
faster
strategies they
than
could do to
Chronodile
enable
could.
Lockagon. But they're playing the
It's-
quote-unquote
I
best
think that it's
version of it.
problematic that we
You
still
can't have your
Chronodile
cake
out.
and eat it, alright, chat? You can't have your super
Yeah.
strong tempo
We
engine
just
and
cannot
expect to
have
still be able to
unpredictable-
have super
stop
fast
printing
game. Like, there
them,
has
stop
to be some
printing
kind of
them. Do
balance.
not make cards
If you're playing a
unaffected. It's
tempo
such a bad
engine,
idea.
I think it's very weird, right? Because like
there's clear weaknesses to
I
that
both-
engine in order
maybe
to
just
balance it.
it's just
I'm sorry
that
that you
I
can't
think
feel like you
some
can completely blow
of
out
the
your
boss
opponent in one
celestials,
turn with
they are
Lockagon, but like,
disproportionately good.
I doubt that that was ever really their intent,
where
to
in
be
the
able
game
to like
states
blow
where
out your
Chronodile's good,
opponent
it is
and then continually
is
repeat
insane.
the
Yeah,
board
simply
over
print
and
more
over and
non-target
over
removal.
again.
And that's
because of
also
how
true. Like
difficult
Chronodile
it
maybe just gets worse
board.
in that regard.
If y'all
but,
don't like how to play Fizz, play Water
It's
Reanimator,
just Novacore,
play
right?
Water Nexus, play
Novacore, it's
Chrono.
the Hermes
You
stuff.
have other
the
options.
Hermes
You just
stuff.
don't like the
Yeah,
options because you
there's,
think that
um,
it's bad.
It's
But if you
just,
stick with the
fine
concept
sec,
long
right?
enough,
There's
you can figure out how to
another-
play that in a way that
Technically,
makes
this
up
one
for the
level, which is
weaknesses
just
of the deck.
not
But
gonna
you
happen
don't want
realistically.
to because either you don't want to invest enough time into it or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
You think it's not good.
Let's go
That's on you.
first.
I'm sorry that your deck got hit, but I'm
Yeah,
also sorry
I
that
don't
you
know.
don't.
I
want
am
to
always a proponent of Thing
And if you
good
don't want to
if
play the deck
Thing
anymore,
has
that's
a
fine too.
reasonable,
Don't play the deck anymore.
Um,
But it's not like they did like a
curve to
terrible
getting it
choice
out.
in order to
and that's
properly
it's always gonna be
balance
cost
the deck.
opportunity there.
Oh my
I
God,
think
it's
that you're right that
easy.
on some level there is it might be too
And it
easy
happens
still.
like that in every class.
and I don't know if that's
Some
under
decks get hit. And now, like, the strategy is fundamentally different than how it used to.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think that's kind
Because
of the thing.
Lockagon had
that
nothing
maybe it was
else
too
that
powerful in that
made
regard.
its
I don't
speed
know.
go fast.
Maybe the
outside
Tad
of
Puff
Puff.
limit and Tad Puff hit
The rest of the
helps,
Lockagon deck plays exclusively
it's
defensively.
Still a case of
outside of
counter
Fizz.
runes still be
And so
be-
you're
be
playing the
crazy.
Fizz because you want to keep up in tempo, because now
once
you
again,
can't just
like,
free
once you
jump
get
scare
the
your opponent and
destruct-
say,
the-
well, I have
the
no
boss
board,
out,
it's fine,
your
I'll just
defensive
build it right
measures
now.
become a lot
When
more
almost no other deck in the
powerful.
game can
It's
do
that's
that
part
without
of
like a
multiplayer,
high level
I think
investment.
problem, but I don't know. Also, good night, Cobalt.
pop
Good
it
at
out.
5
Good
a.m.
night, Cobalt.
Good night,
Oh my
Cobalt.
What are you
God.
doing?
Go bed.
I know.
Hey, listen, I was the same way. I was up till 6.
So I'm
last
going
night.
off on this
It's
one.
crazy.
That's my belief, that's my
Damn.
philosophy. I'm not the
All
creator
right.
of the
What
card.
was
So
I
if
doing?
Alyssa wants to walk back
Alright,
one
limited
out, I'm going to
to
tell him how to build deck.
Lichen form.
I think
moving
anybody who
back to
has like
unlit.
issues with what's going on
I
with
like the
Lock,
swap.
Phenomenal swap.
Yeah. I
I'm
think I would've
sorry,
still
but
liked
you're just
that
going to either have
still.
to adapt to the current Octagon, or you're gonna have to find a different deck.
I think that Bato.
And sure,
Bat at
some
3,
people
I
have
think, feels
favorite
more
decks,
necessary
and
as a
sometimes
result
those
of,
decks get hit, and you just don't have anything else to
like,
like.
if we are keeping the
There's
infra
not
stuff
much
around,
you can really do
we
with
still
them.
need like
I'm someone who
another
has
deck in
over
the format
35
that can
unique
go
decks
wide
in
quickly.
Massive. We're talking about the like in here, and I think this
Yeah.
is proper
As
because
they're doing.
one of our should be allowed to play the
outside my
game
window.
by style strategy.
Classic.
Yeah.
And
It's-
Morphos that
I
is
also had,
like what
a-
makes
I had a much
the
bigger
newer
problem with, like,
Morphos
the
cards cool
splashability
in
Morphrost and everything than I did with the actual Morphrost deck.
True.
because Morphos
Like,
that allows you
As soon
to
as they attack
pull
low,
your
but like
Morphos
they didn't hit like
from
in
the grave.
initially, it's like, oh, cool, we just play the Morphrost package in Blizz now.
And so hitting
Yeah.
Lycan is really important because
I
the
think
issue with the
one thing
Morphos
about
package is
the
that
Lycan, like
it was
the
very
Lycan
splashable
form,
in other
bat
boss
form,
decks because you could
Chimera
just
of it all is that
play.
Chimera does tie the deck together
You could
in a way
just
that
play
it does
three
give
like
like a very
and you could just
accessible
only switch
threat
Chimera
to
and Bat.
Morphrost, where it
And why
feels
that's
like
important is
before there
because
was some,
Chimera and Bat alone is enough to
player
set up
expression,
for you
I'll say
to
that you
flood
kinda
your
had
board with a
to-
bunch of 5
you kind of had to do.
which is exactly
enable
what
the
these
deck to
people were
be,
complaining about.
good,
Oh no, we don't
right?
like
You had
5
to
strategy. We don't like
engineer
good stuff.
game states. Josh
Chimera
leveled
like
these
in
older
the
game states
package is
to
essentially
say,
just the
"Wow, this
good
deck is
stuff
broken."
pile of
But it was a
fun.
very good like risk reward. Like if
But
you're
no
willing
one
to
was
put,
focusing on it because
God,
Lockagon
what
was
the-
so.
Bro,
sus.
goddamn.
I didn't think that take was that bad.
Hey, whatever that was.
They're sending the strike team
Bye
out.
live.
And
Holy.
no one was paying attention to this little splash
Oh, God.
package because
Well,
they were focusing on
anyways,
other
they banned
problematic
Lava and the
parts.
streets are rioting. So, for no other reason, of course. The thing
This is the proper hit.
with Chimera that ties it all together is I
Because
think
there's other
this
cards in the
sort
game
of,
that
again,
allow you to
repeatable
look for
big
like
body that
informed fun.
answers a lot of things in the format.
Plus,
I think
is a
unfortunately I would
strategy
love
that
to see
heavily-
Chimera be less stat
heavily
and
plays
also
around
do our
on the
laundry,
warplay.
but maybe
Another reason why
Lycan
Frost
form
is so strong
reducing
is because
the,
right now in Celestials there's no cards that your opponent has
amount of times
that can
happens
interact with your
is
Underworld.
nice. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
So outside
per
of
se.
hitting what's on board,
You
there's
just go
no
Harpoon,
like
and then into
Skullmeister, there's no
Lycan,
DB
search
Pull, there's no like
Chimera number 1 or Chimera number 2.
shufflers.
If
your opponent sends
I don't know,
something to the graveyard, it just gets
it
to
just
do
slows
whatever
down the
it
deck a
does
little
in the
bit.
graveyard,
Say that.
and there's nothing you can do to stop it. For the most part.
Vern.
Except for maybe like 2 or 3 cards in the game. But for the most part, once something's in the graveyard, if it has an effect when it's sent to the graveyard, that thing's always going
I'll be
on.
like, yo, you have anything to add to that? I'll be like, yeah, I think it's if we just look at the number. It's like, yep, awesome.
Gotta be at least 10,000.
Yeah.
How long do we have? We have another hour in this part? There's no way we're making it an hour in this part.
It's really.
Dude, you are backing it up over there. Please tell me someone is oiled up.
Sometimes when they keep on going, it's really funny. But yeah, every afternoon, once
Jesus
a
Christ.
day. I'm saying.
Took putting reverse Terry too seriously. They kept it reversed.
Cryovern.
I don't know if we're gonna
Also,
make
this
it the
is
whole
like
hour,
Both a matters doesn't matter hit / limit.
We did actually get through the
Look at
actual
that.
ban
like
list.
it.
Now
I
we're
think
just
it matters.
listening to
Yeah.
their reaction.
It matters,
Yeah.
but like it doesn't matter to me. I don't know. It feels like we're just not gonna see people play this card at all. Which is fine by me.
I'm fine with like the 1x7.
I like it in the actual gameplay, but in terms of
Cryo
deck
1
building,
and
I-
Cryo
it's-
Link
it's
was
still
another
some Tazbot
package
stuff.
that
It's like,
it was less
it
splashable
sucks
because they
I
need
can
a
I
high
can agree with
frost
it
invest.
in like the
Wait,
concept.
Frost continues
I-
to be a deck
I look at like
and
I
an
don't
element
know.
that
I
is
feel like
really
this
strong.
this just sucks.
So if you can
It just
play
means
any
you
deck
can't play
that
this stuff
dedicates
anymore.
itself to at least 7 to 8
This is
frost
definitely
hits.
this hit was sponsored by
Playing
Big Rhino.
Cryo.
Big Rhino paid Celestial staff to do this.
Playing Cryo
I'll say that.
is
That they said there's a 2-drop here that y'all have been ignoring. Yeah, I think that this is a weird. I
I think it's a good
because it is
preventative
in
hit
line with everything
because
else. It is a Cryovern.
Frost does have far too many
I do like how it gives
aggros.
Frost a thing to do. I think the thing
And
that
it doesn't
always comes to
completely
me
kill
about
the
this engine
concept of
before was
Cryo 1 and
commitment.
Cryo Link.
I think legitimately, and
There are
how,
probably like
Dynamax
decks
was
if someone
playing it
wants
before
to
too.
play
You can
like
play like a small Cryling splash
if you
want to
play,
and then
like,
all of a sudden you have a 7 that you can drop
actual Cryo Scorch, which is
this
the sword
is
essentially Cryo Link. It's
a
not like an ice charm.
it requires a
Anybody
little
who
bit
actually wants to
more
play
thought
Cryo
that doesn't necessarily
Cryo Scorch
punish
can.
I think deck building in a way
because you only have
Frost
one
is still
Cryo
very
Link.
good. Frost still has a lot of
And,
tools, but it does
like
mean
Swole
that you
was
don't
saying,
get a
it's
lot of
fine
this sort of
in the grand scheme of things because
like-
like Cryo Link as a 1-drop is just kind
like
of
you can
really-
deal with one Cryovern, a second one just is just a number.
Filing plays around like every
I think
single
that
back
game
row in the
saves that.
game except
in my opinion.
It's the
but
second one that gets you.
It really
is
is.
pretty
It's the
quick.
second and third one in some cases.
one of them being
Um,
Gorgon's case, which
Like I
Gorgon's
don't know.
hits everything.
Like Josh, like I think when you're like, was it not finals against 6, but it was semifinals, right? There was a time where.
And the
where
other
I
one
think
being
you could have really
Candle
handled
Response,
one Cryovern, but then 6
which
had the
will
second one,
start
and it was
it
like,
from ascending.
yeah, it would legitimately. I was like, oh no, Josh has this.
But
for
because
one.
it happens
It-
every turn,
like,
you
2
just
was-
keep your
I
filing
think
I
until
could
the
have easily
next
dealt
one.
with the one.
And then unless they have
Cryovern that killed
another
it.
Yeah,
Candle,
was it the second
they
Argo
kill
set or
your
something like that?
filing. Or they have another Gorgon.
I had shield set, so I was able to deal with
It's just gonna
the
become
one Cryovern attacking.
Yeah.
I think I had like a Chivalror in hand, so I could ascend over. Like if I protected one of my guys.
Yeah.
Force
but,
is one of those things.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Shout out Triple Vern. That's what I'm saying. Triple Vern is awesome. That was really cool. It's cool to see these things occur.
So I think it's going
It's
to
just thinking
create
of
an
the
interesting
implications.
meta. I think it does
Usually
stop
it's,
a little
insane.
bit of high-end frost,
Move on to Lock.
but like this still
OG
plays
Lock.
great.
Thoughts?
The OG Lock.
I'm still happy
I'm
with it.
sad about it, but I understand though.
I
I wanted them to
like
hit
it.
Champ Lock.
Yeah.
It really feels way too harsh on the deck. Ambro plus Tadpuff plus 1 Lockagon. It didn't have results. They didn't hit the cards that were having results. This is also
I don't
the
think they
most
needed
popular
to hit
deck,
Amble,
so they
but
just
I
took
guess
a
they hit
shit ton of
Amble from
people's,
a different
like,
reason.
deck they've been playing
It is
for
still
years
like
and said
inadvertently
it
a lock.
is entirely unplayable. You have to just play 5's beatdown now, and I feel like that is the wrong design direction, and it's contrary to everything else they've said in this list. Like, I would have really liked to see like Aphoros getting hit as opposed to Lockagon.
Also,
That
like
also
Aphoros is not
a
getting
Lockagon deck
hit
probably,
because
so I
like
don't know.
it's
It felt like it was
not
a fine
too
place with
dominant
Tap Up at
of a
1,
strategy.
honestly. It didn't
Like,
do a whole lot.
Warforce only needs a
Yeah,
light
And I know that the
hit
lists weren't
because
great, but like in
of
practice,
the
on
like
my
quote
end, it
unquote
has not
top
felt
decks,
phenomenal.
Warforce and Fish
Yeah, I
are
think this
still
is like a
very
really.
touchable.
I think it
Like
is a
having
kind of
slightly more low
two
to
for
the
one, where it's
ground
like they
dominant
ban Tadpuff
strategies.
and it points the deck
Having
to
those be
being
your
fish,
tempo, aggro,
fish
and
deck,
mid-range control decks
and then
are fine.
they hit this
Because
Lockagon.
game plan decks will
I
still
think
be
to
able to
make
keep
that
up with it.
philosophy in line with the rest of the deck, saying that like if you're going to pull the trigger on your
That's
game
fine.
plan on your win condition, you should only be able to do it once, and I think it's still in line. I do think though it does point the deck to just being fish, and then maybe you have a splash of like a 1/1 Lockagon high end. So you know, turns out the penthouse was correct.
What?
But
When do we
think,
say 1-to-1
I don't know.
ratio?
For me, I think that's fine.
Oh,
Lockagon
wait. Yeah, that's exactly what
commitment on it was winning the game, but I always felt like I was never safe to do so anyways. Like I think that's kind of the weird
But,
part about this list, or about the hit, is that
This
even
goes
if I
back
wanted
to
run
like
multiple copies
people
in the
upset with the
deck,
lock hits.
I only ever felt safe doing it once,
Like
because you're right.
Lockagon,
most
because
time
they
the
want like a
opponent would have
high
multiple
power
back
strategy
row,
explosive combo.
or be holding a PTA, would be holding a dense
And
fog
those just
for
don't
the time that I-
extremely those fundamentally just
shotgun
don't
the
exist in the
champ
list.
lock.
So it's like
So
too fast for the
it's a little bit funky, but
This is also a deck
The,
that
like, closest
aggressively
thing would
loses
be,
to a
like,
silver
Babel.
bullet card.
Huh.
So if your opponent ever, it's like you now have this really shitty mind game you have to play where it's like, okay, are they on Lockagon? Do I side in the silver bullet? Is it worth it? Which maybe is a benefit to lock players. Is you still play all the Lockagon stuff and just say
and
my
like
opponent
to
will
the
not
point
side
of
in
silver
full fruit
bullet, like people are
because they
dedicating like
gambling on hitting like
6 cards in their
meaningful card.
side deck to hitting.
But I think that like, I'm best friends with like the Lockagon guy. I feel really fucking bad for him. His favorite deck just is unplayable now, and that really sucks. Because
That does suck
I
for the
don't think it
Lockagon
needed to be hit this hard.
that's fair.
There's not
I
much
also
you
feel
can
bad
really
he had a
like.
championship under his
do.
belt.
This is a suicide with 3 bullets to the back of the head right now. Like it is
That's
insane
crazy.
what happened to my girl.
Yeah, Lockagon. I think this one might be the most like multi-layered one
Right.
for it, because it
It's-
does.
it's a
talk
really
about, like,
weird
a deck that is ultimately both fair and then sometimes a little too powerful. I think it being
I don't like
Zero
the
saying
hint,
in
but
practice,
exists.
like still performing extremely well. I can believe that.
But
still.
I also think part of this is like a quality of life.
It's just good. It's a good engine.
I think the people
It's
who
kinda
enjoy
hard.
Locagon
Locagon's a
like
hard deck to
Locagon.
balance because it is both extremely fair.
And the people who don't
and
enjoy
good.
playing
it's
into
like
Locagon
it's like almost
really
your
don't
perfect
like
deck
playing.
where it has all the tools to perform very well at almost any level, and then also it has these very like
Yeah,
very
in my opinion,
counterable,
I think
like,
good
offensive pushes. It
Locagon
has
players
very
can still see
counterable
success
stuff it can
with
do.
the
So
deck.
I think this one is difficult, but it's it's
It will
it's
really
interesting.
depend
I'd
on
be
what their
curious to know
opponent
if this
has in the
comes off
side deck that will
eventually, just
determine
to,
the
like,
entire
maybe
map.
rise the power level up a little bit, maybe in Sunstrike.
Yeah, I think
I do think the deck has a lot.
one thing that I
You just
worry
have to,
about
like,
for
play
the
a
team that tests the list is how many like competitive players they have on the team. This is something that they've never disclosed anything about it. We've just known that one exists since like mid to early last year, I think. But
So I know we're discussing
I
like
don't know,
the
this
ban
feels
list
like
scheme. We don't know
competent player
anything about the
testing
ban list.
with this deck is
We
gonna
don't
get
know
washed
who
9
the
times
ban
out of
list
10,
players
pun
are.
intended, because a competent player knows how to beat Locagon,
And so
and under
people
this
are
list, I just
worried
think that a competent player annihilates Locagon every single time. He just
that
doesn't have
the
enough
hits
gas, doesn't
on
have enough
Lock are
resources.
too strong
You're just playing Aphoros,
because
basically.
the average like
And
player
if that's what's winning
maybe
you the
can't
game,
like,
then why are you playing the Locagon stuff? Like, it doesn't add anything meaningful anymore.
Yeah, there's
maybe it might not see
I think it's
as
interesting.
success
I would be
into
curious to
being
know how
able to
Lockdown
be
still
locked on
fares in
even
the
when
upcoming
properly signing into it. They're worried that like
Outperforming
good
everyone
players
else
will be able to
starts with outperforming yourself.
what is
premiere,
Interesting.
honestly.
by any.
So yeah, I don't know.
We're gonna have to see how this
Solar
shakes
Burst
out. A
is-
thing
is
that
hard
happens
here
in a
on
lot
this.
of games too, Chad, is there was sometimes a big like
Good.
disparity
It's
between
probably-
how
it's
to
just in line
balance
with the
a
rest of
deck
the
for
removal.
like the
That's
highest
not
level
as
of
conditionally
play.
heavy as something like
and
Erase
balance
the Top. I
something
think
for,
Race
like,
Top as a
casual
removal
level
is
play.
so conditionally strong, similarly to like Poseidon's Fury, that a lot of things have to go right for that card to be good and live. Solar Burst is just a sort of
Solar
like-
Burst getting hit makes sense.
I think
it's just too
it's
strong
just in
of a
line with the
card,
rest of it.
and
I don't know if
it's
I don't know if this makes Solar
I
significantly
think
weaker. I think
Solar's
it does.
still fine even
Doesn't Tarajan?
without it.
Yeah.
but it makes
It's still
Solar.
strong.
It has a little bit
Yeah,
less
I think Solar's still
removal,
strong. Like Novacore is still crazy.
but
I
think Solar is like
but I think Novacore is still.
Royal Is Royal back on the menu?
I think so. I think Royal Auto's underexplored as like a preventative tool that's easily outable, but it
I think
makes
the big thing is it was outable because of removal, right? And there just isn't removal at the same degree anymore.
yeah. Well, and if everyone's kind of skewing back towards like Fish and 5 style gameplay, Royal Auto.
so.
Yeah.
Royal Auto was struggling a lot
So I like
because of the
like it.
popularity of Locagon. Royal Auto's effect
The
is kind of like a
only thing I
semi-conditional,
don't
like
like about this card
not
being
battle
hit,
fader.
and
I
it's something
don't
that,
think there's a good
like,
way to explain
is kind of a problem is that
But
Solar
TLDR, if you attack
has a lot of
Royal Auto,
small statted
Royal Auto
dudes,
activates
so it was
the
usually
top
using this
3
card
cards of your
to
deck
help
for a
compensate for that.
if there's a Solar Celestial, you
And
add
that I
it to your
think can be
hand,
very
and then you negate the
challenging with
attack.
the deck going forward. Is
So
that
the idea
it's
is
gonna
that
be a lot
like you
more
would
susceptible
make
to
it so
just,
that
like,
it
I'm gonna
can
put a big
survive
body
to the
on board,
next
kind of like it
turn.
always
You can
was.
extend it to
Corvershine,
the
old school
rest of the
Corvershine was a
damage
problem
you
because you could put it in defense, but then your opponent goes Vis, and you're like, oh okay, okay.
And so
Sick.
the
Eruption.
problem is this, when you
to
have
one.
a lot of rune removal
Good.
instead of like guys trying
Good.
to run it over.
Good.
Royal
Makes
Auto
sense.
does nothing because it just gets destroyed.
I'm sorry, I just read this message.
And like
Zero.
when you play it
We're
on the
using Champ
board, it
Kraken
has
to
no
recur
inherent
Locagon?
advantage.
I'm sorry, you were not
until it
playing the
gets-
deck right. Like I'm sorry, I cannot agree with that. That's crazy.
Just gonna-
Pause. I need to read this comment. I need to read this comment. Lock turned into a repeatable explosive game plan to a more control variant, utilizing soulmates and other big water threats like Champ Kraken to recall Locagon and other water tools if needed. I don't agree with that statement. I think anyone playing Quacking better dedicate themselves to Quacking, or they can expect to lose the game.
Fun. I can't one guy. That's crazy, dude. Yeah, that proves everything to me. I'm
That's
sorry.
crazy. I do not
What's
agree
champ
with that.
cracking do?
Champ cracking adds back any water card from your underworld to your hand.
It's a 2 cost that adds back a water card from grave to hand, I think.
That's
So
what
I
it
guess
does.
what's the idea here? That you go ascend
Go
the
lock
champ,
combo, then add it back. Like,
you send the champ cracking, and then you are putting that as like a defensive wall, and then you are consistently firing off lock combo. If lock gets outed or removed, then you just say, cool, I'll champ cracking, do it again.
Oh, that's 0?
that
I
just
mean,
takes so long. You just can't.
look, I'm not
that's-
saying
that's
that you
like a
can't
6-turn
play
setup.
that way, right?
Yeah, I guess like I can
Just
see
saying
Like
lost
that's
to
the thing,
6
chat.
every
Like,
turn.
so Caleb's
I think maybe
reaction
that's
to
true
this
with, like the
comment
fish too. I can see a
is
world
exactly
where
what I'm
that-
talking
where that
about. There's
occurs
other ways
because
to
the
play
fish are strong.
Octagon, and people just won't like.
You're
it.
outing your own fish to do
There's
that.
other ways to
when you
play
could
this
just leave a
deck, and
5
people
up
just
and continue
fundamentally
swinging.
won't enjoy
Yeah,
it because
I
it's
guess
not
that's,
what they're
like-
expecting. Well, it's not.
I guess that's still fine though. Like I
Like,
can
the-
see
The
I can see
Locagon
games
player who
happening a
enjoys the
lot more-
super fast gameplay of
a lot more
Locagon
frequently than
is not gonna want to
but
sit there
I
and
guess
play
it's more of like
control
a-
with cracking.
And
so
to
that's
point
where
of,
the
like, watch those
philosophy is
players
different.
and deck
Because
building,
some
like, who is
people
doing
will
that? I
say,
don't
well,
know.
Locagon's not dead. It just plays different.
Repeatable foamies, yeah,
But
yeah, right.
some
Like
people
foamy,
feel like
foamy Aphrodite,
Locagon
grab foamy,
is
set up for your play, protect the foamy,
the super fast deck
ascend
they love.
cracking. Maybe they don't have
So
PTA.
it's not
like that's
particularly
my thing. Is that I think
semantics
there's a
as
lot
much
of
as it
answers
is
to
a
like
matter of
committal
perception,
2-drops in the format that make it
because some
hard to
people
justify
will say,
cards
well,
like
you
Draking,
can still
cracking,
play
or
Locagon.
like
Yeah.
like
hard.
the thing. Then
Just
But
doesn't
when
provide
people say
advantage on the
Locagon
spot.
the deck,
I just don't
some
see that as being
hardcore
valuable.
lock players
to be
will
fair
say
too, I think this is
the
also
version
with
that
this list in
it-
mind. Part of the issue I was always
So
finding is
this
that
is just like
that players
there's no
could
like winner
always
or right or
outpace stuff
wrong
like
in
that
this
by just holding the
conversation.
PTA.
I think it's
which is
just
one of those like represented cards in the meta.
this
just
is one of those
because, like, Necro Champ was
situations
always
where
in the
like
format.
the expectation between the
And there was
so
always a
some
case to
players
where
will be
again
different.
Cryoburn was a 7. The
So,
stadium runes were also like
If
messing this
Alestros
up. So
as a whole thinks that
I
like
think there's like
Locagon as a card and a deck
I don't know.
concept of
That's
like
difficult. I
playing
do like
around
I do
half
like the
without
cracking
ES
idea,
fine,
and I can see it
therefore
happening
They
more
should
frequently
still
than maybe
playable.
like a
They are correct.
Necrolith, for example. Shout out
However,
to
the
Steve
players who are saying that like
But-
Locagon is like
I don't know.
dead when they mean the
I don't know.
version of Locagon they enjoy.
Yeah, I can.
They're
I can
also
see
not
the, like
wrong.
cook in my brain. And how
I
you play
just
it out.
honestly
I just
lean
think
more
that-
towards the opinion that like
a lot different.
Locagon the card is not dead. I think fundamentally like the game plan isn't like
You would be better off
really
playing any
dead
other deck
either?
at that point because I just don't think that you're generating enough value off of that.
because either
line.
you just play more
I have been thinking
defensively
about
or you
cracking
play
watered by
fish,
a
and
solid
maybe you're
deck.
not happy with
I
like
have been thinking about cracking
not being
Draken
able
a
to
little
play
bit with the
defensively
Poseidon
and
Searcher
playing fish
that got
as an
announced.
option,
I'm-
which I think you could still fit in the
I'm-
deck.
I'm
You're
there a
just
little
mad that you like need to have a body. But if you
Eruption
wanted
6,
to have a body on board,
yeah,
you
this
either play
card,
foamy or you play
again,
wise
just
and
play
land.
patterns wise.
I'm gonna say
I
like,
think it's
well,
good.
it's
The jump
not
scare
the
of
same
punishing
because I
potentially,
can't
like,
just like switch
similar
the
to
card
Locagon,
to
and I
do
think a lot of
the.
other decks. You
I'm
just kind of-
sorry that you
just kind
can't
of
switch the
tank
card to
damage
do
until
the
you're like,
thing.
all right,
That
I
made the
have 3
deck
eruption.
too strong,
I'm going
too
to now
fast.
punish you for playing the game.
And there's
On
no
top
punishment,
of that,
by
too,
the
with
way.
the new
Because with
Spatuga
tap off,
and
you
the
can
new
just
Kraktuga
do the combo whenever you want.
It does make this a very
So.
repeatable
Again, this is a
and
matter of
somewhat
like a difference
frustrating
in
gameplay loop
philosophy.
to play
There's
against.
no right or wrong.
Is it that
Right?
good?
If you want to keep
Not
playing
necessarily,
Alestros,
but
I'm not gonna force
is
any
strong.
hardcore
I think that's also
Locagon
part of it.
fan to really like that type of gameplay to keep playing the game.
yeah.
But this is what
Yeah.
Alestros as a whole has
Yeah,
decided.
non-title,
so
title non-burn eruption coming in.
if you're not a
is kinda cool. I
fan
do like
of
that
that
addition. A non-burn eruption is neat. I really am looking forward to
Like,
seeing
I'm
what that is.
solid.
That'd be kind of cool.
I'm very excited to see because I do really.
That's just
I mean,
not where
my
the
first
game
top was on.
and that's
the
unfortunate. This
Kraken
happens a
Burn.
lot
I
all the
love those
time in
cards.
other card
The
games.
non-burn
This
part of
isn't
it.
just an Alestros thing.
Yeah.
So it'd be
They
cool
don't
to
hate you
see
as an individual.
Kraken
This
do
is just a
something
difference
else.
in like philosophies
Yeah, and I've always
and
thought
values.
stuff like Vesuvatuga could have its time, right? And this is technically
Because
a hit to
Alestros
that,
has
but
their
you know,
own
you have
vision of how
Boltuga.
they
Like,
want
there's
the
ways
game
to
The
still
community
do this and
has their
still
own
be,
vision of how they want
be
it.
right.
The individual player is awesome.
I'm a big fan of this Eruption Stadium rune. Ooh, Eruption Stadium
Oh.
rune would be kind of cool.
Eruption Stadium room
Like
would
that.
be interesting.
Equilings Kinleo. Yeah,
Oh, Equity.
back to 1. Yeah.
Back from whence you
Yeah.
came. Evil.
Yeah. Makes sense. I don't really know if I have much to add on this one. It's just they're strong.
So these were the limitations that this was before
Okay,
the
Ambrosia.
prior ban list prior to this.
This one is
emergency
weird,
ban
right?
list. So they
Like,
just
this
put
one's-
it
this one's
back.
really weird.
They said,
So
okay,
strange,
sorry,
so
we're gonna put them
strange.
back.
This feels like a.
I
this really takes
disagree the
my
most
complaints about Lakagon getting
with
hit
the
and makes them
Ambo
like,
ban.
come on, man.
Like, I know this
Like,
wasn't
we-
to hit
We didn't
Lakagon,
need to do this.
but I
This
also
feels
think
like
they
such
just
an
didn't
empty
need to
threat
do it
to
straight
Omni
up.
Runes. I know that they
Like,
said it to be like, we're not afraid to hit Omni Runes. And hit them meaningfully. This is not a meaningful hit. I've already
Like-
seen a bunch of other people being like, this just doesn't make sense as a hit.
it doesn't
Yeah,
make sense
in
as a hit.
different
Like, heal is
communities
not a
because it's just like,
problem.
People are not playing this at all, or they're playing
And
it at
they're saying
three.
like, oh, we're afraid that people are gonna
yeah,
go
I
back
think
to
that's,
Rainbow
like,
Good Stuff
part of
pile.
playing it not
There's
at
been
all.
like
I think
two
that's like, so
Rainbow
they
Good
say
Stuff
a couple
piles for
things
the
with this,
past
one
like
is just
3
straight
months.
up
Ain't no
a-
one's touching these.
a philosophical
Is
change.
that
It's also-
Skyhawk
it's
my
not gonna
boat,
change
my
it,
voice?
like much
Tundra
of Vector's
Subway Surfers,
strategies.
exactly.
Which is like they're just straight up like saying that, which is a
Exactly,
good recognition.
exactly. Skyhawk,
And it's also
I know
like,
you're
they're
not in
trying
charge of
to
this.
Pull back on color fix.
but I
stuff, which I
think
think
the
was honestly
Ambrosia
very,
ban fundamentally, in my opinion,
is very
is
good thing. I
punishing
think
the
maybe
wrong
2
people.
copies, it could have gone to 1.
They're
and that
afraid
could've
of us
maybe
returning
really
to
curbed
like Rainbow
that,
Good Stuff
uh,
piles. I'm not going to
but
say
maybe
5 because those are
tiptoeing
fundamentally
And
different.
the
things.
Jordans kind of just like
That's on a list
test
if
out the
people play
waters of what
Rainbow
2
Good
would
Stuff
do.
piles.
One
Because if people are playing
Ambrosia,
Rainbow
I
Good
think,
Stuff
would've been
piles, that
my
means y'all aren't
preferred
regulating
kind
the
of way
cards
to really curb
that
this,
are
because a lot of
easily
play patterns that
splashable and
players
provide
were
such
coming up
a
with
high
were,
like advantage
I
that people are
need,
willing
like,
to
I need to-
dedicate like
I need to
10% of their
spirit,
deck space in
manage
their
like a
spirit
water
deck.
spirit or
In
thunder
order just to
spirits
run
for
one
Ragnarok
copy of a
or for,
card. The Lawless
for,
ban is a
like,
step
Cryo
in the
Water
right
Enchanted,
direction
and so
to
it's like,
address this
you would
problem.
only play
But I
two
really think
Ambrosia
that we
because
didn't
if
need to
you-
hit Amber in
sometimes
order to
you
discourage
wouldn't,
that.
you just wouldn't need it.
I think y'all
Other
just need
times
to
you need
put
it,
more
and so you have it
cards
as
that
a backup
encourage
safety
mono
blanket.
spirit color
So
play.
1 copy, I think, would have been a little more effective.
That's just me
at
yapping. I know you
curbing
have
color
no like.
fixing. If that
I
was
know you
like, a
have
little more
no
of a
no
justification
hand.
for doing so, forcing decks
I just
to
think
play things like
fundamentally the hits
Hibernation,
is not
or
possible.
even like Reforge, the Lunar Phase, for
Because,
example.
like,
But
it's not
I think this is,
Ambrosia that lets people
a
play
neat
good
change.
stuff.
I
piles.
like this idea.
I
moving
played
forward,
15s for a month at
personally,
my local,
even if it's not that.
and I
impactful.
didn't
think
see
I
a
do like-
copy
I
of
do like stuff
Ambrosia that
like this.
entire
It's
month.
a neat little thing.
And that was a
Divine
Rainbow
Healing
Good Stuff
through the
pile.
roof, I guess.
I was performing well on a deck that only summons Blue Eyes White Dragon
Well,
as its
you just played
win
that
condition.
third Ambro
Albeit in a
Hermes,
much
right?
slower format.
True. So to
Without
Justin's
the
point,
card that
I
everybody
thought
was
about doing that
playing
inside
like
of
it was the
Tornagens
best card
to
in
get
the
a
game.
guaranteed heal.
It has nothing to do with
So,
Ambrosia.
You play off your
Sure,
runes
it
a
lets
little
more
bit.
people
so
play
bad.
it
Wait.
because it makes the spirit
So that's our
map more
semi-limits.
forgiving if you
And
put Amber at 3.
our limits.
But even then, like
anything really to add there.
the
Like, are
players
they
that
missing
will like
anything as far as
perform
limits
well
and
with the
semi-limits
deck,
goes?
like the players who are good at good stuff pile, in my opinion, should be able to pilot good stuff
Got a craving?
piles well.
Wang it. For as little as $6.99, get wings.
If they
a personal pan
choose to.
pizza.
Without it being like a, oh no,
I don't
like
think so.
everyone's
I think this
playing
is-
the best deck in the
It's
form.
fine.
Because if you're properly making
Yeah.
good cards
Yeah, I
for
think- I
other
think
game plan decks that have mono spirit strategies or like
unlimits.
other spirit
That, talked
strategies,
before,
the best
makes
deck in the
sense.
room is never going to be
Mysteries
good stuff purple
are
or like Rainbow
long-standing,
5. It's going to be
bug-
the best game plan deck in the room.
bug beater. Arcalypse, perhaps? Yes, and true on the unlimit, maybe. Do you think Unc
And
can
like
come
we've
back
seen
to
that time and time again. There's a reason why Flies wasn't the best deck in basic.
Maybe.
It's
I don't
because
know.
Thunder
That
and
seems
North
so
had
scary.
proper support for their
Josh,
strategy.
nope.
So much support that they were like literally like the uncontested
Arcalypse
best
not
deck.
really fun. Yeah, okay. There's a
And
lot
as more
less
like
decks
good
that can
generic
play
cards
around
get
it now, which is
printed,
why
like,
I'm advocating for an Unc.
Honestly,
unban.
the push
With
towards Rainbow
Thunder
Good stuff
performs,
being
Thunder has been
good is because
performing,
like
so it's
what made
it is just a
Rainbow
straight
Good stuff good is
and
because they were
similarly to
good
Tadpuff
answers
and
to the
Lockagon,
type of
it's
decks
like you
that
just
Thunder
tank
had
damage until you're like,
consistently
alright,
forced
bonk.
people.
And it's like,
And so
ah,
they naturally
of course.
became
So,
like the quote unquote best
I get
cards in like
I think
a
that Arcalypse,
small
you
pool
know,
of cards because
it reminds me a
when
lot
you
of
only have a
Venusaur,
couple
where
cards
it's
and there's
like,
not a lot of
it
game
just
plan.
it just doesn't
Like,
feel good when
it's
when you
natural
get to
for
play
like
it.
older quality
Yeah.
formats being
I think, and I don't know.
You
maybe
have
as a
like
runner,
high
just, like,
value
is
cards, especially in a
fine.
game that's
Because I feel like
resource
whenever I get
based.
unked,
They have
once
high
in
value cards
mid or
like
early
the
game, like okay, I can deal with
quote
this. If I get unked late game, it's like, oh, okay.
I really
Yeah,
don't think we're ever
makes
gonna go
Yeah.
back to a
It's
format
not
where
that-
everybody is
It's not
winning
that feel
good
bad,
stuff.
even getting unked late game.
It's fundamentally,
getting
like-
multiple unked, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That That
So,
kind of
I don't know.
stuff only
I'm
works if
talking
you're
myself out of my
good
own
at
meme, but
managing
it's
the skill.
R.I.P. my goat.
Ambo maybe allows the average
Vis-
player to do
Vis
that
good.
better.
I think Vis could also
like,
be in
those
line
rainbow
with like the
wisdom,
fish
decks
decks.
more giving as a
Um,
concept.
And like,
But once there's other
just
like
kinda giving
actual
us,
game plan
like,
decks and
tools
strategy
for
decks
certain
out
strategies
now,
and
you don't
stuff
have to
like Josh
worry
mentioned
about that.
before. Yeah.
I think we'll be fine.
We're getting on champ next set. That's also true. Also true.
And like,
Yeah,
just because
that's pretty much
MG
it.
won
It's this entire
7
list.
stewards doesn't mean
All
that the
18
game is
changes that talk about
doomed.
Blizzard
It's
Whiteout a
cool
little
if
bit,
MG
which
can
is,
do that.
I think I'm okay with Blizzard Whiteout being still in the format. Even though it's still very strong.
I think it's gonna depend on the
I
player.
mean,
the
I do
decks.
agree.
It's
With
like
what Josh said
honestly,
earlier upon
part of
thinking
the
about it,
reason
like,
why
it's strong, but
people even
there
took
isn't
out
as much that you're
Ambrosia in
meaningfully
the
trying
first
to
place,
protect with
Skyhawk,
Whiteout now.
is because the game got so fast
Yeah.
that Ambrosia didn't matter.
I will be trying to play Catarant still.
Like,
to go
the
into
only reason why you
OG,
have Ambrosia in
you better white
Locagon
out my Catarant, or
is
I will
because
hit a fucking
Locagon is
9.
so expensive
8.
that you want Ambrosia. And because
think
you
this
can
is,
use Ambrosia with
I think
Locagon,
good
it's
list.
not fun.
That's
They
true.
banned Firestorm.
Oh no.
You don't see it being
Alright,
played
then,
in
so-
Souls.
so
You have other
over.
heal options.
Firestorm Vis
Yeah,
is gonna
exactly,
is like one of those
like,
cards.
I think, in my opinion,
yes, was
the
there to
data shows a
facilitate the third Vis. It's such a
misrepresentation
cool, different type
of
of Vis
Ambro's
that I think
impact.
is. I do
because
like
of
from like just a
Locagon.
design perspective,
I
like
think
having something
a lot
that
of
says,
other decks,
I function
when they had
differently,
certain game plan
and so you can just
strategies,
kind of play
they
me
didn't care
in
about
a
playing
different way, so
Ambrosia
maybe
because
eventually
they
it's
needed
like,
to
we
make
get a deck
space
that's
for
playing,
more important
like
cards
Titled
in their
Viscerous
deck.
form,
Whether they were
and
cards
Firestorm
directly
Viscerous,
related
they
to
fit
their
better
game
together.
plan or like
maybe you
the
do still
now
play 2-1.
banned not.
Uh,
Because people
I think
finally
it's- I
realized
think it's,
something I already knew at the
it's
start.
still
The
very
format.
much a,
Their card advantage is really
a card
strong.
that eventually we'll see a little more.
We slow the game
a little
down.
more
I mean, I
but
don't.
not now. Not now.
Not yet.
Not
If
yet.
we slow the game down, we don't want you to
Um,
auto include 3 ammo. I mean, I don't.
Let's see.
I don't even know if
How
like
excited
slowing the
or not
game
excited
down
are
will
we to
result
play
in
this
what
upcoming
you're
format?
thinking. Like this
You're
is
definitely
hitting
irritated
ammo because you
afterwards,
made the
after
game too
s-
fast.
ruminating a little bit. I'm excited.
I think you'll like
but I'm
in my opinion, I
worried
feel
that
like
there's gonna be a
ammo's
lot
being
of,
unjustly
uh,
punished.
Problems we've had from prior formats that are still not solved. And I think that's just a consequence of this is a, we should have been
like he
having
was saying,
some
like
bigger
it's just
lists
stuff
this
from
for a
like
while
other
now.
forms, and like it's not easy to balance a quad game.
I don't know. I'm
And
looking
we
forward
won't
to
know
playing
how
these.
it's
I think
until
that's
it all
really
shakes
solid,
out,
this
right?
format.
Like if y'all are printing
Solar
good
is
cards for
quite
mono
strong
strategy
still.
decks,
I will be trying to figure out Iwoli again.
like
Yeah, it's never been
even
less fun
like
over.
Dionysus,
Ooh, Thunder buff a little bit.
not even every Dionysus list was
Slightly
wanting
slower
3
decks that
ammo.
were just on the.
We back? Are we back? Hello. I'm gonna blow my nose, but are we back? Question mark, are we back? I can't tell if we're still streaming or not.
I don't know. This in a lot of ways does bring up
Testing.
some decks. I think Hermes is really strong. Because Hermes is pretty much unhit. Lunar weaker, but Lunar also was in this boat before where it was just like fine.
We're back? Alright.
Like and Titan is still kind of the same. Let's see.
The sad thing about Luna in the
still
Lestos
strong, but
chat is
still-
that like the best Luna cards just
still
get end up
fine.
being used
Bronto
in
Wisp,
other
true.
decks.
Bronto
We're so
Wisp.
bad.
This is a nerf to Bronto Wisp.
Let's go.
Bronto Wisp is
I'm gonna
fine.
be real. I don't know how back we are.
Fire gets a little bit weaker. I
My
think on
internet's
a-
been cutting out
it's
later
still
into the evening,
good, but on
which
a
is
level
why I
that's, like,
tried to stream earlier
not
tonight,
probably not. as,
and
like,
now it's later in the
performing,
evening,
right?
and it's cutting out.
Like they're no longer going to be able to sneak kills the eruption. The lava.
Well, I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but like I had a longer thing, Skyhawk. I had a very longer, more like.
Which is maybe.
I don't know. I don't think it's
that
more
there's a
succinct.
world-
I don't think it's
sizable world
shorter, but I
players
had a
play
much
Fire,
more like well
but
formulated
also
like
will not be able
little
to just
blurb
like,
as to my
convert
opinion on the ban list.
as easily,
Or like on
because
the
of,
amble hit. And like the
some
whole
of the stuff that
Rainbow
Fire had
5
available to it, like
thing.
Kinleo, multiple.
Because I do
Kinleo,
think that
multiple
like
action,
fives as a concept is
but-
miscategorized
know.
by the greater
Um,
majority of Alestro's players.
I think of a big.
Because I
thing
think
that I'm
Alestro's
thinking about for
players
this
think
is
fives and good
the-
stuff pile is the same
gaps
deck.
between decks,
but
I
they're
think will
not.
feel a lot less large. One of the biggest issues that I was having for
And
the past couple of months now is
my philosophy and
couldn't
draw to the
play
game is
less good
different
decks
than
at
like
locals,
Alestro's
because if your
vision.
opponent was playing
But if you
anything that
print
was
enough
tiered in the
cards,
first
either
place,
one
you
of
just
two things
had no
happens
chance.
to Rainbow.
Like you could
pile.
play versus a not so good Lockagon list
Like
and still get your pussy blown out because
either
like,
Rainbow decks
just
fall into a
can
place of
breathe
like
and win
rogue
the
tier where
game.
only the good
I
players
think
can
that
take
there's a lot
advantage of
less
it because the
that
mono spear
where
strategies like
you don't have Blitztricks that
have
can breathe
real
and win
game
the
plans
game.
and
I will can't
payoffs.
breathe and win the game.
or like the
cetera,
good stuff
cetera. And
pile
so
cards become
you will be able to
popular
play
and strong
janky
enough
shit
for like
a
a
little bit
vast
more
majority
easily,
of
most
players to
likely.
see
And
continual
that's exciting
success
because that's what I
by
enjoy about
folly of
playing
card
card games.
design.
Yeah.
And those two follies
think
are
that's
either
the-
one
I think
because
it's
they're
like a
not
huge winner
supporting
from
their
this
mono spirit strategies enough,
list is
or they're
local
printing too many
communities
easily slash
Yeah.
than anything else.
like
Yeah.
you can
agree with
attempt
that.
to
On the
make
competitive
Rainbow decks
landscape,
unplayable.
This does change.
But I think the
My
solution is just
secret to
print more
confidence?
cards,
That starts at European
not
Maxx
the
Center.
advertise. It's like a thing that gets solved by time.
Changes
It's
people's lives.
something you could adjust with a ban list,
A
but I
little
would
bit
hope
of
that the bans
top
that
decks, I think this
adjusted
does,
for would
like,
get walked
shift certain
back when
things
the game's
around.
more
Big
properly
TBD on
balanced.
what those are. Honestly, I think there's
And
definitely
bullshit
shit.
video essay
But
law. It's like
local
really.
level jank
I'll like
does get
send my
better,
little.
which is nice. I think there's a lot of creative deck building space in Alestrals.
little
You can do a
thing.
lot of really cool things.
Like, copy
And the
paste.
question was always like, why would I be doing this when another deck can just,
I should have just
blow my back out, or
screenshot
can it,
this.
Yeah.
I'm playing this element, it's just objectively better for me to play this other card in this other deck and strategy because it's just the power, the advantage, yada yada.
And
So,
part of this is because of
agree.
Alestral's fault.
yeah.
I feel like this now
Part of why some of
maybe a
these
lot less
rainbow
destruction
decks
heavy.
were like seen
Lockagon was a big
play
proponent of that.
is fundamentally
Blitztricks is a big
because
proponent
of
that.
like
I have a lot
Alestral's
less fear of
design
backrow
on
getting
certain
randomly blown
cards.
up. So shield.
And I'm
which
not
is
trying to say
very good,
Alestrals
is
did
now very
anything
good.
bad. I'm just saying this is the result of what they did.
I think that like
When you print
that
cards like
Chicken and Zeus deck
Earthquake,
that
which
I
had to
top eighted,
get
right?
limited to one.
Yeah.
The most recent event. I
Cool
think that deck.
When Earthquake
It's
is
very
literally
good.
the only target
I
removal
think that
card in the game, other than like
it-
what Race
it
to the Top that
definitely
got
was
printed
playable in the
later.
prior format. Now I think it's
Of
a real
course,
deck
it's
that
going
is
to
worth
see
playing around
play.
with.
Of course,
Yeah.
Earthquake and
I
Cryo
agree.
Blast are going to see play.
I think that
regardless
there's
of
a lot of
what
cards
color
individually
deck
that were
it
allowed
is,
to
because
be-
those are
new El
strong
Diablo,
cards.
Blitztrix still very much
And
playable.
having removal is like
and might
strong
even
in
still be
these
just as
like
cool,
lower
like,
to the ground
converting,
type of gameplay
spiders.
styles
You know, spiders could
that
have its day.
only
Maybe
card
spiders
games
would be
tend
out
to
there.
fall
Like, there's-
into because of card design
I think with
and a
there's
lack
like
of bigger card.
maybe there's an answer there that spiders or decks.
Then
that are, like,
when
more
you have
combat
like,
focused are
if you
still
think
back
about the
because of
cards that
destruction
interact
being a little bit
with
less
Alestral's
strong,
current main
but,
form of removal outside of runes is battle, right?
I don't know.
If you think of
That's
the
maybe my
cards that
worry
interact
a little
with
bit
battle,
is that
PTA
the
kind of
game will
interacts
still
with battle.
probably be
Alter kind of interact. Shield directly
a little
interacts with battle.
too
Organs
combat
directly
focused for
interact
some
with battle.
strategies.
You know what else interacts with battle?
And that will feel
And saw a
frustrating
lot
because
of
some decks
play.
just can't again
Tsunami.
out of 5 effectively.
Tsunami became a
But
really
that's always
strong
been
card
kind of the
because of a
case,
lot of
but we
reasons.
do have just generally
One,
strategies that are
it's
there.
like
Like if your
a
deck can't do
one
that,
of the
then maybe
most
it's not worth
efficient
it.
back
I
row
don't
in
know.
the game. Two,
Argo
it's
stocks
one of the
through the roof.
only back
Argo.
rows that could
Argo.
answer
Bag,
Echoes,
I love
Fire
Argo.
artifact buff actually. Yeah.
which was its own problem.
Fire artifacts back. Bears are so back.
yeah, Bear's
Oh,
back.
wait a minute.
And if you like
Sounds
look
like
at the
this
other
character.
battle protection cards in the game, we didn't
Yeah,
get a
Bear's
new
being
battle
destruction.
protection card
Pandora's
until
Box
like
is still probably gonna be played.
Argo, which was like
So it's
the
you got
good
counters
set.
in the meta.
And Argo immediately
the,
saw like a bunch of play
Fish gets better with Argo, honestly.
because we were still playing like
That's
a
true.
game
That's
with
really
the
fucked up.
battle
but really true.
mannered.
Fire artifact playing fish. Wait,
yeah,
new Hitler just dropped.
yeah.
And like that's
Fish
going to
effect.
change. The meta will
The-
continue to change.
The thing
but,
I think partly why I wanted
if you want to solve the Rainbow's 5
level
issue,
is
I
because
think
this looks
instead of
very
trying to
exciting.
hit
This
the
looks very
about that.
cool. I'm very
You just need to adjust
down
how
to
you
cook
create
and
content.
play and test. This is very exciting in terms of like the jank stuff and gives more,
That's just fine.
a little more breathing room to decks that are a little bit worse. But the same thing still remains that
I'm
counter runes
hopeful
will
for the
be
future of the
determining
game.
factor
I don't think they did
often.
anything wrong with this. I just have strong opinions on
this is something
Amble.
that Hurricane, unfortunately,
Because if
was
the
like a weird
justification
necessary
for
evil,
hitting
which is,
Amble is to
really
try to
not
stop
true,
these
but,
like
again,
rainbow color
fallacy, but
strategies,
it
I don't think
is-
that's the proper response.
You stick your
So
game
that's
plan,
like
your
the
tempo
only
winner,
thing I would have
and then
to
you,
say
you
like
control
influences
space with
my-
counter runes, and
Major
that I think will
quick
still be true.
I think they also should
it
have
is the second
hit
Gorgons
Blizzard
that gets you. It is the shield that when you have only one guy on board, it is the PTA that takes out your big committal.
Also,
ascension
like
value.
PTA Shield and like
it's
Gorgon
Happened to me on Monday 3 times.
are low
It's stuff like
bearing
that
cards.
where it'll
All
be
the
a
eliminating ones are
game-
very low bearing cards.
This
You
list is
can't
exciting for
easily
the Leshul's
replace
portion.
them.
It will
And
be,
if you try to
unfortunately,
replace them by printing a functional replacement
still
in
a
every
game
single
of
element, you run
guns,
back
Gorgons,
into the
and
issue of
balls.
now people
But
are
in the
running
opposite
rainbow
direction.
piles.
Instead of
Because they
Gorgons
want
win, it's Gorgons
like
lose, right?
8 copies of
I think
Gorgon.
the reason that my tone has shifted a little bit on this list is I'm trying to
That's
avoid
why
what
I
always
think
happens
honestly
with
the
Duel
Omni
Lessels,
rules
which
are
is,
kind of okay. as they
it's super
are.
exciting to cook and think about playing a game,
Gorgons becomes
and then you go to
increasingly
play it, and it's like,
problematic
oh, I
when
totally
you print
just did
more
not think
cards
about
that
how the actual
replace what
gameplay was gonna
Gorgons
end up.
does.
That's what happened to me this past Monday. Is it's been
Because
happening on
either
and off with me
now,
for,
whoever
like, a month
has
now,
the negate is
where
going to try to run 6
excited to
copies
play,
of
I
the
cook up this
negate.
list, I'm like,
Or
this
now
is
that you
sick
have
as
a
fuck.
bunch of cards
Then I
like
go to
Real
locals
Madness
and
or like
someone's
Guardian
playing
of
like
Light
just
that replace that replace like the battle step interaction. You lose a way to actually interact with
cooked up some
Gorgons.
shit.
Like
and
part
I
of them
thought,
has like
back blown
Gorgons and
out, I
feel
just didn't
so
play the game.
game ending to game.
And I'm worried
It's
that
because
that's
you
gonna be the
could
same
just
thing
straight up
here,
bait it
that
out
there
in
probably
combat
is just
with
some
like Galaxy.
fairly objectively
Oh.
strong list that's 5s adjacent that you
Not
can
that you
play with
can't
the fish,
still do that, but like
and
fundamentally,
you,
like
you could just get blown the fuck out because
people
they
would
draw
rather lose their
Baggeros
board and
two
save
Baggo, and then you just don't get
Gorgons
to play
to
the game.
silverboard your
Yeah,
opponent's
there's.
game plan
I think
than they would to try to
I
preserve
think
their
there's a
own
level
game
to it
plan. Like,
that is
majority
that
of
is
the
probably a
time.
nice sweet spot.
That's my opinion.
Partly why I liked a lot of the destruction or some of the cards that forced
Because of how the
interactions
meta
more.
had
like
developed
letting
with
things
how
be good
quick the
because I think
game
that makes
was.
counter runes and
Now
some
that we're like
low-bearing
allegedly
cards
back to
a
a
little
like,
bit
lower power,
weaker.
we're gonna have to see
and
how
except
that
for Gorgons, which is I
how
think I'm okay
a
with.
slightly slower
But
format.
yeah, I think
But I
that's,
do
like,
think that this is
my
going
only
to head
concern
into
with
the
this list
direction
overall.
with
But I am really
idea,
excited
which
for it. I think
becomes
this will
just
bring
a
a lot of really
race
cool new
to
things.
see which deck
It'll be a very
can play
wide
the most
pool
amount of
for a
cards
little bit until
uninterrupted.
I think the format
than
kind of shapes out to be some of these stronger engine pieces again.
Which,
that
like,
we have
sure,
come to
I
expect from
suppose that's like
Lustrals.
the natural
And I can
ramification
very
in
much see
any
the case
game
to
where like,
where
the main
some
interaction
decks
point with your opponent
have not been touched
is like
or
some kind of
haven't
like
been
negate. Right?
like hit by this list in a large enough capacity that they'll
There's
probably
no
bubble up.
like good solution to it.
Or they'll perform. Frost is still good.
Yeah, yeah. If you build advantage
Fish is
without anyone
still
stopping
good.
it, you win the game. Exactly.
Earth is not amazing, but
Like no one
it's
played
probably,
Helios'
like,
Chariot
almost where
Ride
it
back
was
when
before.
people were playing like
Sunstrike will shake it up all again. That's
tempo,
true.
mid-range
That's also
control.
true. Yeah, we don't have that much
with,
further
like,
until Sunstrike.
Fives and other
So
stuff.
that is also.
But when
kind
we
of fun to
finally
bring
had
forward in
a
the future.
deck with a real game plan strategy, a la
So
Bab,
I'm down. This list is a good
you
list.
suddenly saw
like
use
it.
of
What would we
Helios'
rate this
Chariot
list out of
Ride because
10?
the payoff of
What's our
ensuring
out of
your
10 score
actual
here?
like game plan going off was
Upon further review, I'm gonna give
such
it
a big
solid 8 out of 10.
advantage
Solid
that
8
you
out of 10?
played
I
cards
think that
like
they did a
that
good
to
job
ensure that you would
hitting
guarantee
the problems.
your game plan.
I just feel like they missed on some of the overall
And so like that's
balance.
what
They got a
happens
lot
when
of,
you like
good
get into
design
game
hits,
plan
but I
territory.
feel like the
Is
overall
it does kind
balance
of become
is
a race to
little
see like which
hit or
game
miss in
plan
some
to
places.
do what. Which like it's not always an end all be all.
I'm still
Not
giving
every
this a
like game plan
9.5.
going off is
This list
going
is
to like
incredible.
inherently win you the game.
I'm with that.
I think in a modern format, like getting the
Yeah.
bear pawn
Are
off
you live?
doesn't
Yeah, we're still live.
always win you the game.
Oh, hi, live stream. Hello.
Oh,
I should
hello.
go back home.
Yo,
On the flip side, like
do you want to
that's why, in my
How long do
opinion,
you have?
Locagon players.
How long do I have for what?
I don't know.
When
lots of
Locagon
opinion
players
mistakes.
complain about the side deck, in my opinion, bear pawn
are we
players
so
don't
back?
complain
So-
about the side deck.
Okay, so yeah. This,
Everyone
this
started
ban list,
siding for bear
high
pawn.
key ADHD is
And people still played it regardless.
gonna bring me back. I'm going to play again. This is
Therefore,
exciting.
It's
I
equally a
think there's
deck
couple of
that
misses,
is,
so for
if
me,
not
this is an
more
8 out of 10
susceptible to
ban list. A
losing
couple of very
post
minor
side
things
than
I think are
Bakugan.
missed, but that's about it.
Not Bakugan. Bear Bond.
I think my biggest one,
Bear
that I think is the
Bond is a
controversial
strategy.
quote-unquote one, I think that Champ Aviolith should have gone to 1 this list.
Champ Aviolith
that's
to
my
1,
one,
that's
like,
crazy.
out there opinion one. That is my out there one.
See it.
Yeah.
I think Champ
It's the
Aviolith
only
can
one
at
that I'm
most
just
go
like,
down
that
to
to
2.
me
I
is a
think
big miss.
I don't think
So I
Clue Maze
think
is that
That
overwhelming.
deck is really good post this list.
No,
and I think putting
didn't
the Champ
didn't
Aviolith
the
to 1 would have been
Bakugan
really
card
nice.
game die or
But
something?
Other than that, I
digress.
think everything else on this list is fucking
Chat.
phenomenal. I lost my voice at pointing out over
Love
the
hanging out with y'all, but
shortage
it's
of
that
fan.
time of
XD.
night where we're going to be
Hey Kevin,
crashing.
are you excited to play versus me on Crocodile a little bit later? You want to test?
Well, so do you know what I was out doing? I probably won't be able to play today because I was out. I went to buy
We're going to be
Switch 2
crashing
with the Pokemon
soon,
Legends ZA
like,
thing.
because
So
of
I'm probably
how it
falling off the face of the earth for a
So
couple of
I
days.
want to send y'all somewhere
But,
like
yeah, after that I'm down
before
to test. But
we
I'm also
crash.
I also have a regional tomorrow, so I'm Yu-Gi-Oh pilled for the next day. But then after that I'm down.
Big news.
Who's live right now?
Hell yeah. Exciting stuff. Very cool. Good list. Very pog. Dude, you have no idea how badly I wanted to tweet.
I
I'm
might
really
send y'all to
happy that the team
Cool.
used their critical thinking. I was so tempted, man.
Oh my god.
I send y'all the Cooley for the evening on Twitch chat.
Gotta be.
We're basically done with the
Not have
video.
never been wrong.
so
Kevin
it's
was
fine.
right. The last
Yeah,
I was
So
right.
I think
the
it's
last
fine
list
to head
sucked,
out.
man.
Not that I don't like
yeah,
hanging out with
Tornadon's on
y'all,
this list,
but
and Eruption.
I just
myself
don't
in a time
like
in
when
my
the
career
stream
where
is
I
constantly
needed to
crashing and
finish
I'm
my
trying to
education.
reconnect.
I
I think
took
it makes
pretty
for a
global-
poor viewer experience.
Yeah,
you know?
bro, Eruption to 1, man. I wanted to cry.
We already
I
crashed like
legitimately
once
wanted to
tonight,
cry.
so
Like it's so good. Like the list is so good.
I don't
It is
want to
so
be
good.
like crashing again.
They did all of the
again.
things correctly. Almost all the things correctly. I don't think there's anything on here. So it's really funny. I guess one that's also like a little bit controversial was I was talking to Hat about this. I think the solar hit wasn't Solar Burst, but was the Guardian of Light. But I know a lot of people won't agree with that one. But the
Yeah, that's-
reason why I
that's very
have that
strange.
opinion.
That's
Well, so the reason for that take, right, is for me, okay, just to clarify, I'm not against the Solar Burst hit. I think it's a perfectly fine hit. I just think if you didn't want to hit Solar Burst and you wanted to leave Solar with like a Foretell tool, right? Because that's like the whole idea behind the deck is that it has the Foretell.
just
option.
print a new Foretell tool.
I liked the idea of hitting Guardian instead of the Solar Burst.
If
because
you want to
hit
give them
Guardian,
another
the
Foretell
biggest,
tool, just
like,
print a new
drawback for
card.
Solar is that it didn't have
Hello,
any sort of
Coolies. Like,
spirit
now we're gonna be
recovery, so,
waiting
like,
out.
if you got it low, if they don't have Guardian, you've won the game. Like,
That's it. He's lost me with this take. He's lost me with this take.
because their deck costs a lot of spirits. So the logic was if you remove that
Think
tool,
of hanging
you
out.
hit how many counter
I'm
runes
sorry
they
for
can
the
play in a
tech
deck that
issues.
already
I don't-
can't play many. So it
I'll
forces
try to
them play
talk to the
very few
landlords
counter runes,
about
so all
it.
your
I don't know if it's going to
on
get
the
addressed.
opposing side of the solar deck will go through for the most
I
part.
don't have the mental energy
and
to think
it
of a great
also
raid
removes
message
their
right
recursion,
now,
and they have
so
to replace it with an objectively worse
say
card, which is
hello
Ambrosia.
to her for me.
You know,
Thank y'all for joining
I
me
can
as I
see it,
catch
but
up
I
on
don't
the
think I
ban
agree.
list.
that's why I had that take. But it's okay.
With
I think
Kevin's
most people
voice.
won't agree with that, which
With
I think is
Hornikin.
reasonable. I think wanting solar
Bye
Burst
bye,
is also
Lovely.
completely reasonable, so I have no problem with it.
Buy
I've been
more
double or
dragons.
triple solar bursted too many times at locals.
And
with my
stay
opponent
tuned
having,
for a lot
like,
of Sand
a 2-drop
Sally
or 3-drop on
activities
board.
in the next month.
They didn't touch resting, huh?
They didn't.
Of
That's what
course
they should've
not. They're not
done
gonna
instead of
test
Ambrosia
resting.
to show
That's
that they're
one of
willing
the
to
best
hit
cards in
Omnis.
the game.
Yeah, I also thought Ambrosia was strange. I saw Ambrosia, I
Right.
was like, this is a weird one.
I hope
I
you
don't
have a
like
nice
that.
rest of your day.
Well, I don't know, right?
Which is
'Cause-
funny.
Evening, wherever you are. Send Kuri all my love. I'll see you all when I see you. Thank you for joining me, Twitch. Thank you for joining me, YouTube. Do take care of yourselves. And just remember that you are in my thoughts. $1 and a raid. Thanks for coming out, folks. And streaming.